Fang Yuan's actions shocked Tao Zhu immensely. Where did this Soul Path Gu Immortal come from? He severely injured a rank 8 Gu Immortal with just one attack. Such imposing demonic might. Even Spectral Soul was merely at this level when he was young. I didn't expect this young man, who looks so delicate, to be so vicious and have such peerless methods. He must have committed many sins, or else why would Southern Border's righteous path attack him on such a scale? Noticing this, Tao Zhu's will became frightened. For the first time, he felt that the pillars of light around him were so glaring. My main body had made this arrangement for the convenience of the inheritor. Oh, who could have expected this situation to happen at the moment the inheritance activated? What did I do to deserve this? Was it easy for my main body to make such a painstaking arrangement? Tao Zhu's will immediately felt lonely and helpless. In this situation, let alone him, a mere will, even his main body would have to stay away from this conflict. The implications were too deep and troublesome. He could not rashly get involved. Tao Zhu's will was frightened, dejectedly curling inside the pillars while mumbling, "Don't look at me, don't look at me." Why would the Gu Immortals have the time or mood to look at him? Fang Yuan had captured the rank 8 Gu Immortal Jun Xinguang in front of everyone. Such terrifying battle strength made the rank 7 Gu Immortals have parched mouths, and even the rank 8s were dazed. How can we defeat such a powerful enemy? If I stake my life and something unexpected happens, what will happen to the clan? Other rank 8s will keep their lives while I will be wasting mine for them. When Fang Yuan was rank 7 and could fight rank 8 with reverse flow protection seal, Southern Border's rank 8 Gu Immortals could accept this level of battle strength. But it was completely different now. Fang Yuan was not only a rank 8 Gu Immortal, he also possessed a mysterious and powerful method that seemed to be a soul path method. And it made a great combination with led soul into dream. Jun Xinguang's example was right in front of them. The Southern Border rank 8 Gu Immortals could also very well fall to Fang Yuan's vicious methods. At the crucial moment, the deep-seated problem for Southern Border's righteous path emerged again. They were forces who had prioritized themselves for too long. A heavy wariness against each other was already ingrained deep in their bones, even if they realized the necessity of an alliance. Faced with a choice at this time, these rank 8 Gu Immortals all felt hesitation. These Southern Border rank 8 Gu Immortals hesitated, but Fang Yuan had no hesitation. He laughed loudly as he turned around and charged towards Wu Yong. "Wu Yong, what did you say earlier? This is my graveyard?" "Ha! I think it is the opposite. This is your graveyard. Come, let's settle the score once and for all." Fang Yuan gave a loud shout, his voice resounding throughout the 5 regional mountain range like thunder. His white robe and hair fluttered in the wind. His demonic aura and surging killing intent shocked the immortals. 3 Chi Chu Yu, Shan Wu Jie, and other rank 8 Gu Immortals looked at Fang Yuan targeting Wu Yong, feeling complicated. They were tense, but also could not help feeling a slight relief as all kinds of thoughts lingered in their minds. Fang Yuan might be powerful, but he was only one man in the end. Moreover, Chi Chu Yu had transacted with Fang Yuan before. In the current Southern Alliance, the alliance leader's position was empty, and Wu Yong was undoubtedly the number one choice for it. If he became the alliance leader, who knew how he would treat the other clans? Southern Border had always been divided. The biggest problem in working together were the mental hurdles and self-interest of the respective Gu Immortals. When 2 tigers fought, one was definitely going to be injured. Whether the injured one was Fang Yuan or Wu Yong, it was beneficial to other clans. Moreover, it could not be said we had not come to aid. Aren't we being hindered by immemorial year beasts? Useless bunch. Wu Yong inwardly cursed when he saw no one coming to his aid. But he did not fear Fang Yuan. Instead, his courage and battle intent were stirred. "Let me see what method you used to capture a rank 8 Gu Immortal." Wu Yong took out Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building and controlled this Immortal Gu house to charge straight at Fang Yuan. Although Fang Yuan had a mysterious Immortal Gu house, it absolutely would not be able to survive a collision with Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building. His eyes flashed with a sinister light as he suddenly changed his direction and flew down. Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building's momentum was too fierce and fast as it missed its target. "Wu Yong, you are safe with the Immortal Gu house to protect you. In that case, how about I kill these rank 7 immortals? Can you save them?" "Ha ha." Fang Yuan laughed madly. "Damn it." Wu Yong quickly changed the direction of Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building and chased after Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan continued. "Wu Yong, you have such a huge ambition. You established the Southern Border Alliance to become its leader, right? Let's see if you will still have the face left to become the alliance leader after I kill these people." Fang Yuan had not actually made any real attacks at Wu Yong, but his words were like blades that stabbed deeply in Wu Yong's heart. Wu Yong had led the Southern Border Immortals to besiege and kill Fang Yuan, on one hand. it was because he had deep hatred towards Fang Yuan. On the other hand, it was to accumulate reputation to pave the road to the position of alliance leader. But if he let Fang Yuan kill these rank 7 Gu immortals while he remained safe inside clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building without being able to do anything to Fang Yuan, his reputation was sure to take a huge hit, and he would be even further from the position of alliance leader. Wu Yong was anxious and furious, almost pacing around in clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building. Although clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building was extremely fast and was rapidly catching up to Fang Yuan had already reached those rank 7 Gu immortals. Persevere. Am I going to die? Not necessarily. There are many Gu immortals here. We still have hope of survival. Fang Yuan had yet to attack, but these rank 7 Gu immortals' morale had already dissipated. They did not have any thought of counterattacking and were only thinking of how to preserve their lives. The scene of Fang Yuan capturing a Central Continent rank 8 Gu immortal was truly horrifying. Go die? Fang Yuan's shout suddenly stopped. At the moment of danger, a dense yellowish-brown radiance suddenly appeared under the southern border immortals and firmly protected them. This was a rank 8 defensive killer move. Fang Yuan, why commit more murders? You kill me, I kill you. This cycle is too pitiful and miserable. You are an outstanding person of this era. Why can't you see through this? Lu Weiyin's figure appeared not far away. You again. Fang Yuan gazed fiercely at Lu Weiyin. Boom. At the next moment, clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building flew over like a meteor and carried with it Wu Yong's intense hatred and anger, heavily collided with Fang Yuan's back. Immortal killer move, reverse flow protection seal. Fang Yuan was completely safe. The attack was reflected back to clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building. But the enormous collision force sent Fang Yuan flying like a cannonball. Wu Yong was suddenly at ease. He had sent Fang Yuan away from these rank 7 Gu immortals, and it would be even more difficult for him to attack these people. But soon, Lu Weiyin's voice reached him. Not good. This is Fang Yuan's plan. He is escaping. Wu Yong's expression immediately turned ashen as he helplessly looked at Fang Yuan smoothly charging into that immortal aperture. The moment he entered, the immortal aperture's entrance loudly closed. Fang Yuan is too crafty. Since he put an ambush here, how could he not have arranged an escape route? He entered the immortal aperture because he must have a way to escape, like fixed immortal travel. Veins popped up on Wu Yong's forehead. He felt extremely stifled. Immortal apertures had always been easy to defend and hard to attack, especially an immortal aperture that had its entrance closed. Naturally, Southern Border's righteous path group could break into this blessed land. But Fang Yuan already had enough time to escape. Wu Yong had gathered such a large team, but still failed. Not only was he unable to harm a single hair of Fang Yuan, a Central Continent rank 8 Gu immortal was captured right in front of everyone. This was simply a kick to Wu Yong's face. What is more insufferable is this guy. Wu Yong's dark gaze stared at Lu Weiyin. He suddenly spoke. Lu Weiyin, why didn't you stop him? Lu Weiyin quickly greeted as he said slowly. I am ashamed. I already used all my strength to protect these Southern Border friends. I truly did not have strength left to obstruct him. Lu Weiyin was instantly swarmed with countless expressions of gratitude from the Southern Border Gu immortals. Wu Yong breathed heavily in anger. His fists were tightly clenched, but he could do nothing to Lu Weiyin. Lu Weiyin had a terrifying background of being Paradise Earth's inheritor and was the competitor who possessed the greatest threat to Wu Yong's dream of taking the alliance leader position. Wu Yong had led the immortals to besiege Fang Yuan, but had left Lu Weiyin behind, so he could more easily accumulate prestige. But the result was, Fang Yuan escaped while Wu Yong gained nothing. His reputation suffered while Lu Weiyin was the complete opposite. Wu Yong's gaze shined sharply as if lightning sparks were flashing inside. After a while, he sighed and let his body relax. The anger on his face completely disappeared while his battle intent soared inwardly. A faint smile appeared on his lips as he clapped, thinking, Fang Yuan, Lu Weiyin, you two are truly something. I lost this round entirely because of you two. Chapter 1627. Ziwei's lingering fear. How could this be? How could this be? When information of the southern border battle reached her, Fairy Ziwei kept on mumbling in perplexity. The vast and bright hall was now filled with doubts. Fang Yuan had not only passed the tribulation, becoming rank 8, he had even laid a trap in the 5 regional mountain range and captured Heavenly Court Gu Immortal Jun Xinguang. Fairy Ziwei already knew of the southern border Gu immortals being captured by Fang Yuan, but she had never imagined the same fate would befall her Heavenly Court so quickly. A Heavenly Court Gu immortal was actually captured alive. How long has it been since this happened? The instant she learned of this news, Fairy Ziwei had subconsciously thought of the impressive battle achievements of multiple demon venerables. Her brows showed her worry, and there was even nervousness. Despite her estimating Fang Yuan highly, his growth had still greatly surpassed her expectations. Ever since Fang Yuan gained reverse flow protection seal, he has been huge trouble. Now that he has become rank 8, along with Xiacha's methods, regardless of using the terrain advantage in the 5 regional mountain range to weaken his enemies, he indeed possesses a threat to Heavenly Court Gu Immortals. Fairy Ziwei heaved a deep sigh. She had already expected such a day, so she had tried all ways to eliminate this danger beforehand. But who could have expected Fang Yuan's progress to be so fast? Fang Yuan's progress is getting faster and faster. It seems like the quantitative change is becoming a qualitative change. But how in the world did he become a rank 8 without any commotion? Fairy Ziwei did not understand. She had always thought Fang Yuan's extremely fast cultivation progress was because he had used time path methods to quicken his immortal aperture's rate of time. But looking back over it, Fairy Ziwei suddenly realized Fang Yuan also had a peerless method that could raise his cultivation level. Then, what is this method? Fairy Ziwei did not continue deducing. Instead, she left the hall and arrived at Spectral Soul's confinement area. The large formation rumbled into motion. After a long while, Fairy Ziwei returned to her hall with a shaken expression. Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu. Sovereign Immortal Aperture. So it was like this. Fairy Ziwei muttered to herself. She was dazed and her soul was shaken. Spectral Soul's ambition shocked her. What made her even more fearful was that Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu had been refined and obtained by Fang Yuan. An intense bitterness emerged in her heart. Spectral Soul had really hidden it too deeply. If not for Fang Yuan revealing clues this time, which made Fairy Ziwei doubtful, and use a specialized soul search, she would still have been in the dark. No wonder Fang Yuan's cultivation speed is so fast. This time, he should have annexed many southern border Gu Immortals' immortal apertures to skip tribulations and become a rank 8. He could activate Xiacha's killer moves and confront other rank 8s head-on. This means he has annexed Xiacha's immortal aperture. Only then would he have enough time path down marks to amplify Xiacha's killer moves. Immortal apertures can only swallow smaller immortal apertures, but the sovereign immortal aperture is special. But devouring Xiacha's rank 8 Grotto-Heaven would require time path great grandmaster attainment. How could Fang Yuan have it? Wait. Suddenly, Fairy Ziwei's expression became extremely unsightly. All kinds of clues merged in her mind and removed her previous bewilderment. Fang Yuan has dream path methods and can raise his attainment level through dream realms. No wonder he entered southern border and plundered dream realms. His time path great grandmaster attainment was definitely gained from dream realms. Gasp. Thinking of this, even Fairy Ziwei, who held a high status and was very experienced, could not help. Taking in a cold breath, Fang Yuan had the sovereign immortal aperture and could devour apertures to skip calamities and tribulations. And the biggest obstacle in devouring apertures was the attainment level of the respective paths. It was extremely difficult to raise attainment level and often required hundreds of years. But Fang Yuan could quickly raise his attainment level through dream realms. Like this, he could create a beneficial cycle. His cultivation speed could rise to a level where it could raise a terrifying wave even in the entire history of human cultivation. No, more accurately, what is terrifying is Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan was only a chess piece of Heaven's will to destroy Spectral Soul's heaven-defying plan. It was just that he escaped Heaven's will's control in the end. Fairy Ziwei felt a chill. Heavenly Court had already confined Spectral Soul, and Fairy Ziwei would also frequently torture and soul search to extract important information from Spectral Soul. But despite this, Fairy Ziwei was feeling deep lingering fear. If Spectral Soul had truly succeeded, he would have great grandmaster attainment level in all paths. With his extreme killing nature, he could continue devouring apertures, and along with Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance's resources, he could totally go straight to rank 8. At this level, Spectral Soul would have pseudo-venerable battle strength. More importantly, when the 5 regions chaotic war starts and dream realms appear everywhere, Spectral Soul might even be able to progress further. His huge ambition could be felt just by looking at Lead's soul into dream. He had already made countless preparations in this aspect. If he truly reached this step, his dominance would be too large. Even the great dream seed Fengjin Huang might have no chance to mature. Fortunately, he was not able to make the breakthrough during the most important juncture. Currently, Fang Yuan is taking his place in this plan, so it is more accurate to say that he did not succeed, but he did not completely fail either. Fairy Ziwei frowned deeply when she thought of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan gave up on those southern border Gu Immortals and instead prioritized capturing Jun Xinguang. His action is similar to me soul searching Spectral Soul. He wants to get the location of Heavenly Court from Jun Xinguang's soul. Oh no, the river of time. The tumultuous river was always flowing. It was so vast that its ends could not be seen. From inside an Immortal Gu house, Fang Yuan quietly looked at the ebb and flow of the river and its countless dazzling ripples. The River of Time. After entering the Immortal Aperture and gaining some free time, Fang Yuan used an Immortal killer move made with fixed Immortal travel to escape the battleground. Not long later, he entered the River of Time. Right now, Jun Xinguang's soul was facing constant soul searching inside his sovereign Immortal Aperture. Know yourself and your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Fang Yuan urgently needed to know what arrangements Heavenly Court had made in the River of Time. I laid an ambush in the 5 regional mountain range and fought a large battle. Although I captured Jun Xinguang, I revealed too much information. Fang Yuan wanted to catch Heavenly Court off guard and not give them enough time to respond, so he directly entered the River of Time in this short time period. This Lu Weiyin is not simple. His action was too timely, saving those southern border rank 7s at the most critical time. He was probably hiding nearby all along. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had a merciful and compassionate nature. He restored peace to the chaotic world and repaired the damage done by Spectral Soul in all 5 regions. In the 5 regions, and especially southern border, among the 10 venerables, his reputation is the highest. As his current inheritor, Lu Weiyin has inherited this reputation as well. This person is going against me, but his true goal does not look to be so simple and is hidden in a layer of fog. Unfortunately, there is no such person in the memories of my previous life. The more he thought, the more Fang Yuan felt his 500 years of memories were not reliable. Naturally, there was also the possibility that the butterfly effect of his rebirth had spread until it involved Lu Weiyin. Fang Yuan slightly shook his head, forgetting about Lu Weiyin for the moment, and thought of Tao Zhu's inheritance. He felt a huge regret. Tao Zhu's true inheritance was definitely related to the 5 regions' regional walls. The 5 regions' regional walls would disappear without a trace in the future, and the 5 regions would merge into one. Tao Zhu's research in crossing the regional walls would look like a joke. But think about it carefully. Tao Zhu could construct the 5 regional mountain range. Couldn't this method of imitating the regional walls be used to defend oneself? Especially for Fang Yuan, fighting in regional walls was extremely advantageous. It is a pity, a true pity. The situation did not allow me to take this inheritance. I had missed this true inheritance of Tao Zhu by a hair's breadth. Fang Yuan's wisdom path attainment was not low. He had a strong premonition that missing this chance to obtain Tao Zhu's inheritance was a severe loss to him. Tao Zhu's true inheritance. If this was months ago, Fang Yuan might be able to use the southern border Gu immortals to exchange for this inheritance. But now, the southern border captives that he had were already annexed. He had already killed the hostages. These southern border Gu immortals were all rank 7 Gu immortal experts, while Xiacha had rank 8 cultivation level. The sovereign immortal aperture annexed them as well as the immortal aperture blessed lands and city well. Fang Yuan's cultivation level rose rapidly. He went from rank 7 to rank 8, skipping the final rank 7 Grand Tribulation. Fang Yuan originally planned to continue capturing southern border Gu immortals in the 5 regional mountain range before extorting them. But because of Lu Weiyin, Fang Yuan's plan was disrupted. Not only did his cultivation level rise, because the sovereign immortal aperture could annex his enemies perfectly, Fang Yuan's Dao marks also rose in huge numbers. Using perceivable Dao Immortal Gu to check them, Fang Yuan's current Dao mark accumulation was extremely deep. He originally had very little time path Dao marks, almost at the bottom, but it had emerged to become his number 1 path, having 73,000 Dao marks. Almost all of it was Xiacha's contribution. He had truly become wealthy from one single robbery. With so many time path Dao marks, Fang Yuan's time path killer moves could be amplified by 74 times. Along with the rank 8 Gu spring and summer, his battle strength was extremely high now. Within the 5 regional mountain range, he managed to block the attacks of many Gu immortals at once. Of course, he had made use of the territorial advantage of the 5 regional walls trait. The southern border Gu immortals could not work together well and conflicted with each other. The second was water path Dao marks, reaching 60,000. He had a lot of water path accumulations. Fang Yuan had killed lone immortals Zhou Li, Wu Yihai, Yu Chan, and others, while many of the Eastern Sea lone immortals in City Well were also water path cultivators. Third was transformation path, having 50,000. It was originally first place, but had fallen to third place now. Fourth was soul path at 30,000. The immortal aperture's own Dao marks, as well as the yellow spring ghost martial statue, earthly calamity, and green lightning divine martial statue, heavenly tribulation, along with other accumulations, added up to 29,000. The remaining hundreds were obtained from Fang Yuan's soul cultivation. According to Spectral Soul's true inheritance, after million man soul, 10 million man soul, 100 million man soul, and Desolate Soul. After reaching Desolate Soul, there would be 1,000 Tao marks on the soul. Next were Ice and Snow Path, Rule Path, Metal Path, Wood Path, Fire Path, Wind Path, and other common paths. They had about 20,000. After that were Dark Path, Light Path, Strength Path, Chi Path, Luck Path, Sound Path, Bloodlight, and others, being around 10,000. And finally, Food Path, Phantom Path, and others were in the thousands and hundreds category. Next, the Dream Realms. Fang Yuan had already explored all of his dream realms in these few months. All of his different paths had grown to certain extents. The highest was still Refinement Path at Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster Attainment level. Second were Theft Path and Time Path at Great Grandmaster level. Third were Blood Path, Strength Path, Star Path, Wisdom Path, and others. They were all at Grandmaster level. Rule Path and Soul Path also entered this category. The paths below that will not be explained in detail. Unlike Tao marks, attainment level was harder to raise as it got higher. The ones with the most evident growth were Time Path, Soul Path, and Rule Path. Other than Tao marks and Dream Realms, Fang Yuan's development of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture had also risen greatly due to his annexing of Immortal Apertures. It had reached 15% development. And worth noting was that in Xia Cha's Immortal Aperture, Fang Yuan found a year essence pool. This way, Fang Yuan's Sovereign Immortal Aperture had 2-year essence pools. Other than these, Fang Yuan's greatest gains were 2 things. One was Luo Pasil. Fang Yuan had always been trying to create this immortal killer move. He only succeeded recently. The other was an incomplete Immortal Gu house. Fang Yuan had wanted to build his own Immortal Gu house long ago, so that He Lu Lan, by Ning Bing, and the rest could fight in battle with him. To create this Immortal Gu house, Fang Yuan took reference from Secluded Residence, Cloud City, Dark Flow Giant City, Profound Ice House, Unbreakable Iron Fortress, Blood River Chariot, Nightmare Castle, Green Wave Pavilion, Weaving Cocoon Manor, Golden Altar, Regret Pool, Sacred Feather City, Baihe Palace, and other Immortal Gu houses, while the skeleton of the design was based on Graceful Chaotic Dual Stage. Several months ago, while extorting Southern Border's Righteous Path to exchange Gu for Gu, Fang Yuan obtained many crucial Immortal Gu that allowed him to create the skeleton. This Immortal Gu house was created by Fang Yuan himself. It was unprecedented. Because he needed to enter the River of Time, it mainly used Time Path Immortal Gu. It had a comprehensive range of abilities and most excelled in concealment. Even though it was only a skeleton now, it had great battle strength in the 5 regional mountain range. Ying Wuxie and the rest relied on this to cooperate with Fang Yuan, successfully capturing Jun Xinguang. In the River of Time, waves rose and fell, water splattered everywhere, creating beautiful rainbow light. Fang Yuan rode in the incomplete Immortal Gu house as he traveled slowly in the river. The rank 6 Time Path clone had already emerged from the Sovereign Immortal Aperture, standing beside him as he shut his eyes, sensing internally. Red Lotus Demon Venerable had left behind many true inheritances scattered in the River of Time. Spring Autumn Cicada was the key to finding them. But the River of Time was extremely huge. In order to find the several stone Lotus Islands, other than luck, he also needed lots of time and energy to explore. It would be best if we could find a Red Lotus true inheritance in this exploration of the River of Time. But most importantly, we need to test Heavenly Court's arrangements and catch them off guard. If possible, we need to destroy their arrangements. Fang Yuan thought as he searched Jun Xinguang's soul in the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Jun Xinguang's soul originally had Light Path Tao marks to protect it, but after Fang Yuan's Luo Pasil struck, the defense was destroyed. At the same time, Jun Xinguang's soul was injured. He was on the verge of death. Precisely so, after Ying Wuxie used Lead Soul into Dream, Jun Xinguang was directly hit and fell asleep. The condition to use Lead Soul into Dream Killer move was to sense the soul and compare the strength between the enemy's soul and the user to determine the success. Being able to deal such damage to a rank 8 Gu Immortal, it showed how powerful Luo Pasil was. However, compared to Reverse Flow Protection Seal, and seeing how Fang Yuan used Luo Pa Valley as the core of this move, it was not very surprising that it had such power. Right now, Jun Xinguang's soul was extremely weak. He could not defend against Fang Yuan's method. Information was obtained by Fang Yuan continuously. What arrangements did Heavenly Court make? Jun Xinguang must know about them. A moment later, Fang Yuan's brows eased as he found something. Oh, Time Path Immortal Gu House Present and Past Pavilion. He had just thought of this when the water in front of him rose up. A huge pavilion was riding the waves and approaching. This pavilion was not covered on all 4 sides. It was very simplistic. The cover was made of yellow grass. The pillars were gray-white rocks that were not polished. There was a folding screen Sup 1/Sup in the pavilion. It was the most elegant decoration in there. 4 Gu Immortals stood in the pavilion. They all had rank 7 cultivation level. Looking at Fang Yuan's incomplete Immortal Gu house, their eyes flashed with a dangerous light. This present and past pavilion is a pure time path Immortal Gu house. It can inspect the past and present. It is best at investigation. Heavenly Court placed it here. The moment I entered, they noticed. Amazing, amazing. Fang Yuan's heart sank a little, but he praised on the surface, explaining to Ying Wuxie and the rest. Ying Wuxie, by Ning Bing, and the rest frowned lightly, or had dark gazes. They understood something. Fang Yuan's incomplete Immortal Gu house was best at concealing traces. To think that present and past pavilion would be able to find them. This was like their advantage getting countered. Even before fighting, they had gotten into a passive situation. Present and past pavilion got to Fang Yuan and the rest before stopping, staying 1,000 steps away from the incomplete Immortal Gu house. Someone spoke coldly from within the pavilion. Central Continent's 4 Xunzi are here to guard the river. Demon, don't think of advancing. A person behind him said, that's right, you'll have to step over our corpses if you want to pass. 4 Xunzi. Fang Yuan directly soul-searched Jun Xinguang and quickly got the information of these 4 people. It turned out that these 4 were Time Path Gu Immortals. They were quadruplets, found by Spirit Butterfly Valley when they were young and specially nurtured. They comprised 3 older brothers and 1 younger sister. They were Shang Xunzi, Zhong Xunzi, Xia Xunzi, and Sung Guizi respectively. Chapter 1629. Great Power of Time Path. According to Jun Xinguang's information, the 4 Xunzi had the same rank 7 cultivation level. They had a combination technique with extraordinary power. Even against rank 8 Gu Immortals, they could contest against them. Of course, they were only able to fight with that one move. After a few rounds, they would definitely lose to the rank 8 Gu Immortal. They were not like the past Fang Yuan or Feng Jiu Gu with battle strength that could rival rank 8s. Even so, they were quite impressive. After nurturing the 4 Xunzi, they had been kept hidden by Spirit Butterfly Valley. They were not easily deployed. Heavenly Court wants to make arrangements in the River of Time. Spirit Butterfly Valley had to comply. For Xunzi, 4 time path experts with great cooperation, they are indeed the best candidates to control present and past pavilion. Fang Yuan frowned slightly. The 4 Xunzi and present and past pavilion were not out of his expectations. Rank 8 Gu Immortals that were also time path were very rare. Heavenly Court originally had Lord Huang Shi, but he had died in the River of Time last time after Fang Yuan made use of the Stone Lotus Island. In order to deal with Fang Yuan and obstruct him in the River of Time, they had to choose people who were rank 7 time path Gu Immortals, unless more antiques woke up from Heavenly Court's immortal graveyard. What made Fang Yuan more concerned was that other than present and past pavilion, Heavenly Court also had another time path Immortal Gu house, Eternal Yacht. Present and past pavilion excels at investigation. It is nearby, so it was the first to obstruct me. I cannot stay here. Once the 4 Xunzi delay long enough, Eternal Yacht would arrive to help it. It will be disadvantageous for me to face 2 enemies at once. Heavenly Court had a huge advantage in this. Even though they did not have time path rank 8s, they had members of other paths, along with 2 Immortal Gu houses, present and past pavilion and Eternal Yacht. In contrast, Fang Yuan only had 1 incomplete Immortal Gu house, even though he became rank 8. He Lu Lan, by Ning Bing, and the rest were very weak. Fang Yuan immediately opened his Immortal Aperture's entrance, letting out a second batch of Immemorial Year Beasts. He had used the first batch of Immemorial Year Beasts in the 5 regional mountain range. They were injured or killed by Southern Border's righteous path. Fang Yuan did not manage to retrieve them. But it did not matter. Fang Yuan had a second batch. After annexing Xia Cha's Immortal Aperture, Fang Yuan obtained a second year essence pool. There were 2 Immemorial Year Beasts inside. Furthermore, throughout the months, Fang Yuan had been using Immemorial Year Beast fishing formation to lure Immemorial Year Beasts to him, before capturing them inside the Year Essence pool. Thus, Fang Yuan obtained 2 batches of Immemorial Year Beasts. The second batch had a total of 9 Immemorial Year Beasts. The only flaw was that Fang Yuan did not manage to collect all 12 types of Immemorial Year Beasts to form the Ancient Battle Formation. He had tried to collect them during this period, but when he actually tried, he realized that getting a full set was very hard to achieve. He got the most number of Immemorial Year Chickens, because recently, the River of Time was producing this type of Year Beasts 1. In Fang Yuan's second batch of Immemorial Year Beasts, he had 5 chickens, more than half of the entire group. 9 Immemorial Year Beasts roared as they charged towards present and past pavilion. Inside present and past pavilion, the 4 Xunzi had grim expressions. They activated present and past pavilion's power together. Pew! A huge wave that was 10 meters tall crashed towards the 9 Immemorial Year Beasts. Immemorial Year Beasts were beasts that belonged in the River of Time. present and past pavilion's waves could not obstruct their movement. Instantly, they charged through the obstacle, creating countless splashes as they approached present and past pavilion. The surface of present and past pavilion shined with brilliant light. The light shot up like a huge pillar. Swish, swish, swish. Waves came after waves. They were like moving walls that could attack or defend, constantly crashing into the immemorial year beasts. At Fang Yuan's will, the immemorial year beasts were instructed by him to cooperate. They shot out like an arrow, going past many walls of waves and reaching present and past pavilion. But all of a sudden, the four Xunzi shouted as the folding screen in present and past pavilion turned into misty green fog. The green fog flew into the battlefield as the immemorial year beasts got affected. Their speed fell as if they had landed in a marsh. The green fog settled and fused into the water of the river of time, turning the surface of the water in this area jade green. Present and past pavilion shook intensely. The huge pillar of light faded and turned into green sparkles that enveloped the surroundings. The sound of crashing waves became even louder and more imposing. They were many times larger than before, 30 meters tall now. Not just that, tens of spirals formed on the surface of the river of time. They became excellent traps to restrain the immemorial year beasts. The 9 immemorial year beasts were originally gathered together, but after the obstruction of the waves, their formation broke apart as they fell into their own respective battles. At once, present and past pavilions stood at the center and controlled the situation. Fang Yuan's immemorial year beasts were all at a disadvantage. The four Xunzi's expressions relaxed. Shang Xunzi let out a breath of air. We finally got past the initial period. This demon did not break through. Sun Guozi smiled. Present and past pavilion has control of the situation now. Even though Fang Yuan has many immemorial year beasts, he cannot gather them. He is not a threat. That's right. Xia Xunzi stroked his beard. Even though present and past pavilion is not his match anyway, as long as we can stall until eternal yacht arrives, by then our strength will surpass him. We will be able to win. Zhang Xunzi had a deep gaze. The demon is crafty. We cannot be careless. Let's play safe. He had just spoken when the immemorial year monkey closest to present and past pavilion suddenly jumped up and used an immortal killer move. It held a huge fan in its hands as it waved towards the front. Rank 8 immortal killer move, Summer Fan. Instantly, intense winds whipped, sweeping away everything. The entire battlefield became dark and gloomy. The huge waves resembling thick walls that were in front of the immemorial year monkey completely broke apart and collapsed due to Summer Fan. The immemorial year monkey snickered as it dived down. In present and past pavilion, the four Xunzi were shocked. They noticed that Fang Yuan was disguised as the immemorial year monkey. That demon has joined the battle. Impossible. We have the investigative killer move from Lady Ziwei. We can expose familiar face. How did he manage to deceive us? Fang Yuan sneered internally. He had spent the last few months to its fullest, using all of his time and energy without any waste. He had naturally modified familiar face. Fang Yuan finally got to the four Xunzi. Present and past pavilion burst out with brilliant light once again, while Fang Yuan relied on the immemorial year monkey's tough physique to punch with its strong fists. But present and past pavilion remained unmoving despite a loud sound. It is useless. Right now, present and past pavilion is anchored here in the river of time. How can you move it? Sun Guozi said with a nervous tone. Is that so? Fang Yuan's eyes shined with brilliant light. He used immortal killer move Spring Scissors at the next moment. Clip, clip. Spring Scissors cut continuously. Present and past pavilion was able to defend itself initially, but soon, the brilliant light on it was unable to last as Spring Scissors cut away a corner of the roof after 5 to 6 snips. This is a rank 8-time path killer move, but how can it be so powerful? Even present and past pavilion cannot match it? How can this be? The four Xunzi were frantic. Fang Yuan's eyes were filled with cold, flickering lightning. He originally had over 70,000 time path down marks. It was at rank 8 level. Now that he became an immemorial year monkey, his transformation path down marks also turned into time path down marks, adding another 50,000. Thus, he had over 120,000 time path down marks now. Ordinary rank 7 Gu immortals would only have less than 30,000 down marks. 120,000 down marks was not common for rank 8 Gu immortals. They normally would have to pass one myriad tribulation to get such an accumulation. He could amplify any time path killer move by 120 times its power, and Fang Yuan was already using 2 rank 8 immortal killer moves. Even though present and past pavilion had the territorial advantage, Fang Yuan's killer move was also boosted by the environment of the river of time. Thus, his time path battle strength soared to the extent that even present and past pavilion could not endure his attacks. Fang Yuan's two killer moves forced present and past Pavilion back time and time again. The four Xunzi tried to keep their stability in present and past Pavilion, while attacking sometimes, but Fang Yuan did not even need defensive killer moves like Winter Coat. With just the immemorial year monkey's body, he could endure them. Hold on. A huge yacht was riding the waves, approaching them from afar. Several Gu immortals were shouting and having nervous expressions. Eternal yacht was nearby. Too late. Fang Yuan snickered. He waved the summer fan and whipped up some tornadoes. Present and past Pavilion was shaking from the impact. It was about to collapse. Spring scissors flew towards it and snipped again. A pillar in present and past Pavilion broke as it collapsed entirely. Fang Yuan laughed loudly as he jumped above present and past Pavilion, stomping with his huge immemorial year monkey feet. Boom. The whole of present and past Pavilion broke apart into pieces. The four Xunzi were either dead or injured. They were all kicked into the river of time. Fang Yuan and the incomplete Immortal Gu house left with ease. When Eternal Yacht arrived, it was already too late. The Gu immortals in the yacht hesitated. Should they save the four Xunzi or chase after Fang Yuan? 1. Cough, cough. Shang Xunzi sprawled on the deck of Eternal Yacht as he coughed. He had drunk a lot of water. He was drenched. Beside him, Xia Xunzi had already fainted. His injuries were severe. His situation was not looking good. Rank 8 Gu Immortal Qing Yu walked over and looked at Shang Xunzi calmly. The other two have been swept away by the river of time. We cannot find them. Shang Xunzi breathed roughly for a while. He forcibly stood up, taking a glance at Xia Xunzi before speaking with a pale expression. They have already died. That demon Fang Yuan is very powerful. How is the salvaging of present and past Pavilion going? The four Xunzi were siblings with deep kinship, but right now, Shang Xunzi was more concerned about present and past Pavilion. He did not pay attention to the dying Xia Xunzi, nor did he display anger or sadness. Qing Yi smiled. The core Immortal Gu have not been destroyed. We have recovered all of them. That's good. Shang Xunzi let out a breath of air, his expression easing. Qing Yi nodded. I have already prepared the room for you. Shang Xunzi. Thank you. I will go and revive my siblings now. It turned out that these quadruplets, with their very close bloodline, managed to create a unique killer move. Even if 3 of them died, as long as 1 remained, they could use the killer move to rapidly revive the other 3. Precisely so, Shang Xunzi did not feel any sadness. A moment later, the 4 Xunzi returned to the deck with no injuries, entering battle once again. 4 Fang Yuan's second batch of immemorial year beasts were surrounding Eternal Yacht, attacking from all sides, desperately drawing their attention. The river water was turbulent. Sounds of waves crashing could be heard by Fang Yuan. Right now, he had returned to his original appearance. He entered the incomplete Immortal Gu house to rest. With this incomplete Immortal Gu house, Fang Yuan had a base. It was very useful. Eternal Yacht did not chase us. After leaving the battlefield for a while, Fang Yuan relaxed his mind slightly. The speed of the incomplete Immortal Gu house could not match Eternal Yacht. Its specialty was in concealing its traces when moving. With present and past Pavilion around, the incomplete Immortal Gu house could not move stealthily. But Eternal Yacht could not detect the incomplete Immortal Gu house. Otherwise, why would it not pursue him with such an advantage in speed? We are temporarily safe. Ing Wu Xie breathed out deeply, feeling some lingering fear. It was quite dangerous earlier. Indeed, if sect leader did not destroy present and past Pavilion, we might have fallen into a tough battle and would not be able to escape. Fairy Miao Yin smiled. Bai Ningbing was silent at the side. He Lulan looked outside the Immortal Gu house, at the grand river of time. Fang Yuan's time path clone was frowning with his eyes shut. He was trying to track the islands, but his vital Gu spring Autumn Cicada had no reactions. In fact, according to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's deduction, the higher spring Autumn Cicada's rank was, the larger the range of its detection to find Red Lotus true inheritance. Fang Yuan's spring Autumn Cicada was only rank 6, even though he had many Immortal Gu recipes. Fang Yuan's multiple attempts at refining it ended in failure. It was regrettable, but Fang Yuan had done his best already. For the last few months, he had put in all his effort to cultivate Soul Path, explore dream realms, modify killer moves, extort Southern Border's righteous path, plot for the overall situation, defend against deductions, annex immortal apertures, and so on. He had expended his time and energy. It was already a miracle that he could squeeze out some time to refine Spring Autumn Cicada. But the real miracle did not happen. Fang Yuan's refinement attempts failed. Even though Spring Autumn Cicada is rank 6, I have already made up for the flaws in other aspects. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with deep confidence. He had planned deeply before entering the river of time. Fang Yuan had already used luck path methods like burning soul bursting luck. He had only stopped after reaching the limit. In this vast river of time, finding 1 or 2 stone lotus islands was purely dependent on luck. Roar! The river water suddenly became turbulent as sounds of beast growls entered their ears. There are 2 immemorial year beasts fighting ahead. After inspecting it, Xiao alerted. Looking at it closely, these 2 immemorial year beasts had already fought for some time. They were near their limit. Fang Yuan laughed. Wasn't this the work of luck path? He flew out of the incomplete Immortal Gu house and activated Familiar Face, becoming a part of the river water as he blended into the river of time. Comment next. He opened a trace of his Immortal Aperture's entrance and activated the Immemorial Year Beast Fishing Formation. The 2 Immemorial Year Beasts detected the delicacy. Their movement stopped. They charged towards Fang Yuan like they were competing in a race. They did not find any enemies, but they sensed a tributary of the river of time under the river water. The immemorial year beasts did not think much. They charged into this tributary of the river of time. This was naturally Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. If it were in the past, Fang Yuan would not dare to lure these immemorial year beasts. They would cause huge destruction to the sovereign immortal aperture if they went in. But now, times were different. Fang Yuan had year essence pools, 2 in fact. The year essence pools were connected to the tributary of the river of time like huge dams. The immemorial year beasts were lured by the formation, following the tributary of the river of time until they rushed into the dam, becoming trapped. Fang Yuan smiled heartily as he stopped the transformation killer move. He flew back into the incomplete Immortal Gu house. Those 2 immemorial year monkeys were trapped in the year essence pools. They could not find any food and sensed something amiss. But how could they return to the river of time now? Fang Yuan used his enslavement path methods and quickly subdued these 2 immemorial year beasts. The incomplete Immortal Gu house moved stealthily as it searched for a stone lotus island. Fang Yuan met many year beasts along the way. He took in all of them, luring them into the year essence pools and subduing them. Soon, Fang Yuan's number of immemorial year beasts rose to 6, and even more ancient and desolate level year beasts. Other than year beasts, there were other life forms like day beasts, month beasts, or dark web spiders in the river of time. Fang Yuan had chosen to ignore them all. The use of the year essence pools was amply displayed here. With Fang Yuan could lure immemorial year beasts while keeping sovereign immortal aperture very safe. Without their restriction, the immemorial year beasts would be able to move along the tributary of the river of time and go to anywhere in the sovereign immortal aperture, because the tributary was present all over the whole sovereign immortal aperture. Wait. After moving for a while, Fang Yuan's time path clone opened his eyes, bursting with bright light. He seemed to have found something. The time path clone quickly shut his eyes as he frowned deeply, trying to sense it. Next, he pointed in one direction. There seems to be something there. Autumn Cicada shuddered a little. The time path clone spoke with uncertainty. But this was the only clue. Fang Yuan manipulated the incomplete Immortal Gu house and changed directions, going towards that place. As the distance shortened, Fang Yuan's clone felt increasingly happy. The feeling is getting stronger. Our luck is really not bad. We found it so quickly. A while later, in the vision of Fang Yuan and the rest, a thin layer of fog appeared. The incomplete Immortal Gu house halted for a moment before rushing into the fog with no hesitation. The fog was extraordinary. It could obscure one sense of direction and confuse them, but using the key Autumn Cicada, Fang Yuan's clone could move in the proper direction. The fog got thicker. The river water also moved slower due to its effect. It was not as turbulent as the water outside. Vaguely, the silhouette of an island appeared before Fang Yuan and the rest. Stone Lotus Island. Red Lotus True Inheritance. Xunzi stared wide and shouted loudly. Bai Ningbing and the rest also started to breathe roughly. When the incomplete Immortal Gu house got to the periphery of the Stone Lotus Island, the island shot out a white light that hit the incomplete Immortal Gu house directly. What is going on? Fairy Miao screamed. Oh no, this is a trap. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with a sharp light. It was too late to escape now. The entire incomplete Immortal Gu house shook intensely. It could not resist the strong attacks outside. Demon, I have been waiting for you for a long time. A rank 8 Gu immortal with a tall muscular body appeared on the Stone Lotus Island. At the next moment, his killer move that had been prepared for a while hit the incomplete Immortal Gu house. Boom. The incomplete Immortal Gu house broke apart at once. Chapter 1631. Verdant Sunflame Cloak. Fang Yuan's incomplete Immortal Gu house did not excel in defense. After it was struck, it broke apart. Fang Yuan and the rest quickly defended themselves inside the Immortal Gu house. A huge amount of flames moved like poisonous snakes and burned all of the Gu worms in their way, before they gathered towards Fang Yuan in an encircling movement. Fang Yuan shouted as he used Immortal killer move Winter Coat. His body was immediately covered by a layer of snow-white frost. The frost not only protected him, at this crucial moment, it spread out and protected the Time Path clone, He Lu Lan, Ing Wu Xie, Bai Ning Bing, and the rest. In this regard, Winter Coat was better than Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Because Reverse Flow Protection Seal only defended himself, it could not help others, but Winter Coat was able to affect other people. Winter Coat killer move blocked the Fire Snake's attacks, but at the next moment, the old man on the Stone Lotus Island shouted, "By the power of flames, snakes turn into dragons." Whoosh! The flames burst out with incredible heat. The snakes coiled around each other, turning into a huge flame dragon that was 100 feet long, possessing huge claws and fangs. The bright red flame dragon slashed through Winter Coat before charging at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan wanted to open his Immortal Aperture's entrance to store the Immortals back in his aperture, but this Fire Snake killer move actually had a variation. With the old man's deep experience, Fang Yuan had no time for that. The flame dragon opened its mouth as it soared down from above. Fang Yuan and the rest looked up as their faces were red from the light of the flames. The intense heat felt like it was going to grill them alive. Bai Ning Bing, He Lu Lan, and the rest all revealed looks of despair on their faces. This flame dragon was not an ordinary rank 8 killer move. It had extraordinary power. Even Bai Ning Bing's Bai Xiang killer move could not escape from it. Their only hope was Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's ears, nose, and eyes were bleeding. Winter Coat killer move was broken. Fang Yuan suffered a rank 8 killer move backlash. A large number of Mortal Gu were killed. Thankfully his core Immortal Gu were still alive. They were damaged, but still usable. Fang Yuan was in a difficult situation. The Time Path clone, Bai Ning Bing, He Lu Lan, and the rest were behind him. Their cultivation level was too low. They could not block the flame dragon. If they had the incomplete Immortal Gu house, they could still participate in the fight, but the old man was too perceptive. He destroyed the incomplete Immortal Gu house from the start. If Fang Yuan stayed and protected them, not only did he have no good methods now that Winter Coat was broken, even if he did, it would be too dangerous. Because the other party wanted to force Fang Yuan to fight them. Once he protects them and fights, the old man's plan would succeed. Fang Yuan was almost certain that the other party still had killer moves prepared. Once Fang Yuan fights with the flame dragon, the old man would grasp the tempo of the battle. He would control the battle's flow from now on. Instantly, Fang Yuan made up his mind. He moved out like lightning, dodging the flame dragon. The old man laughed frenziedly. A true demon indeed. Then burned to death. The flame dragon ignored Fang Yuan. It charged down. Fang Yuan snorted coldly. He turned around and attacked the old man. The old man diverted his gaze at Fang Yuan. Seeing that he was approaching, the old man smiled and revealed a sinister expression. Fang Yuan's heart sank. He attacked so that the old man would divert attention to defend himself, but the old man was similarly courageous and did not fear a frontal assault. Most possibly, he still had arrangements on this Stone Lotus Island. He was extremely confident. Fang Yuan stretched out his finger. His hard work over the last few months had not been in vain. Spring Scissors was unleashed and shot towards the old man. The scissors was very sharp, but when it landed on the old man, his hair started to burn as it turned into a flame cloak, protecting him all around and blocking Spring Scissors. Ha ha! I named this move Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. I made it from the inspiration I gained from Verdant Great Sun's flame hair from The Legends of Rinzu. It is my proudest creation. To speak the truth, even though I am a Fire Path Gu Immortal, I am more skilled in defense than offense. Not just Spring Scissors. Even Summer Fan is useless against me. The old man laughed loudly. But at the next moment, the old man's smile faded. It turned out that the flame dragon had returned empty-handed, be it Fang Yuan's Time Path clone, Bai Ning Bing, He Lu Lan, or others, they were still alive. The old man's eyelids twitched. He licked his dry lips as he said darkly, "This is a dream realm?" It turned out that while Fang Yuan dodged the flame dragon, he did not abandon his clone or the other Gu Immortals. He had ordered Ing Wu Xie to self-detonate at the crucial moment. After the 5 regional mountain range, Ing Wu Xie had changed bodies, using a body with the pure dream reality seeker physique again. Precisely because of the dream path Dao marks on the pure dream reality seeker physique, he was able to use lead soul into dream and successfully affect rank 8 Gu Immortal Jun Xinguang. Now that the pure dream reality seeker physique body self-detonated, Ing Wu Xie's soul was trapped in the dream realm. The other immortals were very close to him. They were covered by the dream realm. With the manifestation of the dream realm, all other paths could not affect it. The old man's flame dragon had great power, but against the illusory dream realm, it was useless. Humph, you are truly a scheming demon, but you will die today. The old man stomped his feet. flying up into the sky as the stone lotus island below him scattered into dust and sand. The old man wore a flame cloak as he approached Fang Yuan like a blazing meteor. Spring scissors followed after him as it attacked, but the flames defended against them, and the old man was completely unharmed. Fang Yuan flew backwards as he used Summer Fan. Intense winds blew. The old man's flame cloak was flickering, but it seemed like the fire was growing with the wind, becoming even larger. The old man smiled as he exposed his sharp teeth. How about that? My Verdant Sun Flame Cloak is unparalleled. Have you felt despair yet? Ha ha ha. Like what the old man has said, Summer Fan and Spring Scissors were useless against Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. Not only that, as they got closer, an intense feeling of drunkenness assaulted Fang Yuan. But soon, Fang Yuan used his Wisdom Path killer move and regained clarity in his mind. Verdant Sun Flame Cloak not only contained the extreme profundity of Fire Path, it also mimicked the effects of Human Path and Food Path. As the old man got closer to him, the greater the feeling of drunkenness would be. Fang Yuan tried his best to retreat, wanting to pull some distance from the old man, but against his wishes, the enemy's speed surpassed him by quite a bit. Demon, you are trapped in the formation. Where can you run to? Obediently accept your death, the old man shouted. Earlier, the Stone Lotus Island was merely an illusion. Its true essence was a super time path immortal formation set up in the River of Time. This formation was very powerful. Even Fang Yuan could not notice it. As it activated now, a formation space was created. Fang Yuan was trapped inside, restricting him from using omnidirectional travel, fixed immortal travel, and other similar methods. Fang Yuan had used a time path formation earlier to ambush Southern Border's righteous path. Now, Heavenly Court did the same against Fang Yuan. But Heavenly Court put in much more effort than Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan could not create such a time path formation in the River of Time. With his current strength, he could only create a time path immortal formation near a tributary of the River of Time in the outside world. Even for time path great experts in history, few could create immortal formations inside the River of Time. The person who could achieve this to the limit was Red Lotus Demon Venerable. This person had already surpassed the realms of time path immortal formations. He could directly create artificial secluded domains of heaven and earth, Stone Lotus Islands, to influence segments of the River of Time and take control of it. Heavenly Court had been looking for the Stone Lotus Islands and had yet to find one, but they were not without gains. This time path immortal formation was one of their achievements. The formation restricted Fang Yuan, making him unable to evade or dodge. The old man got closer. Fang Yuan snorted. Instead of retreating, he charged at the old man. The old man was slightly surprised, but he quickly reacted as he waved his hands, sending waves of flames towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had no fear. He rammed forward. The huge flames reversed and went back to attack the old man. It was the Immortal killer move, Reverse Flow Protection Seal. The old man was a little flustered. He defended against his own killer move, but at this moment, Fang Yuan had already arrived in front of him. Fang Yuan was ruthless. He slammed his body into the old man. Reverse Flow Protection Seal against Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. At the next moment, Fang Yuan and the old man both flew backwards. They were nearly evenly matched in this contest. The old man had lost by a slight bit, but soon, his flame cloak burned again as he returned to his peak condition. Reverse Flow Protection Seal was extremely effective against attacks. But Verdant Sun Flame Cloak was a defensive killer move. The reflected damage was quite little. This is Reverse Flow Protection Seal? He found out so quickly. The old man's gaze flickered eerily. It turned out that this time path immortal formation created an isolated inner formation space. There was a core effect. It was that this environment weakened time path. Heavenly Court's original intention was to use this formation to deal with the Stone Lotus Islands of Red Lotus True Inheritance. These islands were artificially created time path secluded domains of heaven and earth. Once the formation encapsulates them, they would be weakened. Precisely so, Fang Yuan's Spring Scissors and Summer Fan killer moves were so ineffective against Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. Verdant Sun Flame Cloak was very powerful indeed. It was the peak creation of Fire Path, and even extended to contain the profundities of Human Path and Food Path. Comment in terms of intricacy, Reverse Flow Protection Seal was very roughly made and straightforward. In contrast, Miri itself comprised both Enslavement Path and Strength Path. It was on par with Verdant Sun Flame Cloak in this aspect. Summer Fan and Spring Scissors were ordinary. They only contained rank 8 Immortal Gu and were amplified by Time Path Dao marks to gain such great power. They could not break Verdant Sun Flame Cloak, but could have caused great damage. Yet in this environment, they had a mild effect. Fang Yuan realized this and daringly dispelled Winter Coat, instead using Reverse Flow Protection Seal to regain his footing in the battle. 2 Immortal killer move, Myriad Dragon. Howl. At once, Myriad dragons flew in a sea of silvery scales, attacking the old man like a tidal wave. After understanding the effect of the time path formation, Fang Yuan gave up on his strongest time path methods. He started to use other methods. In this aspect, Fang Yuan had many useful methods comparatively. The old man snorted, showing no surprise on his face. Before coming here, he had already made ample preparation. He knew about Fang Yuan's myriad dragon killer move. Slippery eels, what can they do to me? The old man stood arrogantly in the sky. Instead of dodging, he watched as the myriad dragons approached him. His verdant sun flame cloak was blazing. His entire body was covered, resembling a huge fireball. The myriad dragons appeared before the old man, but they started to screech weirdly. The sword dragons were all drowsy as they randomly flew around. Their ferocious attacks had been stopped. When each sword dragon's drunkenness got to a certain level, they would start to blaze up with a loud sound. The sword dragons turned into a pile of flames before rapidly vanishing. Looking at the field, the old man was unmoving while the myriad dragons burned to death. Even though there were countless dragons, the moment they got close to the old man, they died. They were of no threat to him. Immortal Killer moved Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk. He finally saw the power of this move. It was both offensive and defensive. It was a counter to Fang Yuan's myriad dragon killer move. Then let's try Luo Pasil. Fang Yuan thought to himself. He had already used familiar face to disguise as a sword dragon. He blended into the army of dragons, getting closer to the old man. Next, he pretended to be drunk as he got closer and unleashed Luo Pasil. Fang Yuan got exposed when the killer move had just activated. Luo Pasil's aura was too great. It could not be hidden. The old man's gaze shot like lightning as he charged at Fang Yuan without fearing Luo Pasil. Boom, boom, boom. The old man attacked Fang Yuan in a frenzy, but reverse flow protection seal kept him safe. Fang Yuan did not speak. He endured the old man's attacks until Luo Pasil was finally ready to strike. The old man was on guard now. The situation was not good for Fang Yuan. Eventually, he barely managed to use Luo Pasil, but it scraped past the old man's shoulder, only half landing. The old man immediately felt a sense of emptiness in his heart. At the same time, the blazing cloak on his back weakened by 40%. This move is amazing, but it cannot break my verdant sun flame cloak. The old man laughed loudly as he retreated, using methods to heal himself. His speed was faster than Fang Yuan. It was hard to land consecutive hits on him. The old man found time to catch a breather despite having the disadvantage. A moment later, his injuries healed mostly and his aura regained its peak state. The verdant sun flame cloak also started to blaze up again. Luo Pasil had terrifying might, but the old man was very alert. He did not give Fang Yuan any more chances. His verdant sun flame cloak's defenses were superb. Fang Yuan could sense that in battle, it was like how his enemies felt when facing reverse flow protection seal. This old man's soul is not his weakness. Even though he only grazed past him, Fang Yuan obtained valuable intel. Luo Pasil was targeted at the enemy's soul, but this old man was an experienced rank 8 Gu Immortal with deep foundations. He did not have any evident weaknesses. His soul's defense was quite tight. Fang Yuan estimated that even if Luo Pasil hit directly, it could not kill the old man in one move. Luo Pasil had to be paired with Lead Soul into Dream to deal with Heavenly Court's rank 8 Gu Immortals. But at the start of the battle, the old man destroyed Fang Yuan's incomplete Immortal Gu house, causing Ying Wu Xie and the rest to slumber in the dream realm. If the incomplete Immortal Gu house was still around, Fang Yuan would have Ying Wu Xie's lead soul into dream to help him. He would have the advantage against this old man. But the old man had ambushed and destroyed the incomplete Immortal Gu house. Not only were Fang Yuan's losses severe, he lost his initiative and was kept on the back foot for a long time. This situation was naturally very dangerous for Fang Yuan. He had fallen into an ambush. He had to escape quickly. Immortal Killer Move, Myriad Dragon. Fang Yuan continued to activate Myriad Dragon as more sword dragons filled this formation space. The old man had the advantage, but he did not relax his mind or become careless. He squinted a little as Fang Yuan hid among the sword dragons again. At this time, should he use an investigative method to find Fang Yuan or eliminate these sword dragons first? If he did not kill Fang Yuan, there would be an endless stream of sword dragons. But the old man had clear awareness, he thought. I'm afraid my investigative method cannot expose familiar face. Fang Yuan is so crafty. He must have other plans. The old man had the initiative now. He spoke arrogantly and wildly, but his mind was extremely calm and composed. He knew that when opponents of his and Fang Yuan's level fight, with such rich battle experience on both sides, even though he had the initiative now and could hold the advantage, if he made a mistake, Fang Yuan would turn the situation around. The old man roared as flames started to burn around, spreading out like a sea of fire. The sword dragons melted in candles within the flame. The old man's decision made Fang Yuan quite troubled. He hesitated for a while before persisting with his tactic. He controlled the myriad dragons to charge at the formation space. This formation was clearly controlled by Central Continent Gu Immortals. Seeing that the myriad dragons were attacking, they wanted to retaliate, but the old man quickly transmitted to them, "Don't move." Fang Yuan has very high time path and wisdom path attainment levels. The more the formation activates, the more flaws he will notice. "I will handle these eels, don't be anxious." The old man did not want to give Fang Yuan any chances. The sea of fire killed the sword dragons at a rapid rate. Fang Yuan smiled coldly. He suddenly appeared in front of the dream realm. Immortal killer move, pure dream reality seeker transformation. He quickly gathered the dream realm and turned the lump of dream realm into a pure dream reality seeker physique body. Oh no, this demon is so scheming. The old man's expression changed. Fang Yuan used many feints and tactics. It was hard to see through his plans after all. Fang Yuan opened a sliver of his immortal aperture's entrance, wanting to send the time path clone, Ing Wuxie's soul, He Lu Lan, and Bai Ningbing inside. But at this moment, the old man screamed angrily behind him. "Demon, forget about it." Boom. A killer move was used, bursting out with immense strength and sound. Fang Yuan felt a chill. He did not need to turn around to know that this move was the old man's strongest offensive method. "I won't make it." Fang Yuan did not have enough time to react. His heart sank to rock bottom. At the crucial moment, he went all out. His time path killer move was used as the time around suddenly became faster. He placed the immortals into the immortal aperture, and at the same time, he felt like a giant had landed a punch on his back. The huge force sent him flying like a cannonball. He lost 15% of reverse flow river's water. The impact made Fang Yuan's head dizzy. He directly spat out a mouthful of blood. He was only able to save a portion of them. Fairy Miao could not be reached. She was still unconscious earlier. After being engulfed in the huge flames, she was burned to ashes. Not a bit of her body remained. Fang Yuan shouted loudly as he used Myriad Dragon, charging around the place, while he started to act and destroy the formation. The old man was a bit nervous now. He started to attack Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan had reverse flow protection seal to defend him. He ignored the old man and only targeted the formation. "Fang Yuan, don't think of getting out. That is merely a delusion." The old man roared as his flames engulfed Fang Yuan. "Ha ha, you are simply struggling at death's door." The old man got behind Fang Yuan and slammed them on his back like two huge tablets. Fang Yuan was sent flying. Fang Yuan was bleeding from all 7 orifices. It was quite a pathetic sight, yet his eyes were still cold as ice. He continued to attack the time path formation. "It is useless. How can you break such an amazing formation? Look at your reverse flow river. It is about to be fully expended." The old man mocked. He attacked with greater intensity. Killing intent surged as he behaved in a frenzied manner. Even though reverse flow river could reflect attacks, the old man also had his Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. He endured the reflected attacks as he continued to expend the reverse flow river water. He was not wrong. Fang Yuan's reverse flow river had gone through many battles. A lot of it was used up already. As he continued to attack, the river water level fell. Fang Yuan's robe also started to become thin and flimsy. Suddenly, Fang Yuan roared as he stopped attacking, preparing Luo Pasil again. The old man's pupils shrunk. His attacks changed. He started to prepare his defenses against Luo Pasil. Fang Yuan completed the preparation as he flicked his palm. Instead of attacking the old man, he shot it towards a corner of the formation. "Guh." With a shocked voice, a rank 7 Gu Immortal controlling the formation was hit by Luo Pasil. He died on the spot. How? The other Central Continent Gu Immortals were also shocked and lost for words. Fang Yuan was able to find a formation core in such a short time and kill the person inside. Luo Pasil was very powerful even against rank 8 Gu Immortals, not to mention these rank 7s. "Quick, that formation core has been destroyed. Quickly move and fix the hole," a Gu Immortal shouted. On the other end, the old man grunted as he attacked Fang Yuan again. Fang Yuan used the extremely depleted reverse flow protection seal to defend himself while attacking the formation himself. With many of his methods used, Heavenly Court's meticulously created time path immortal formation collapsed area by area. It could not hold up against Fang Yuan's unraveling. How can this be? Fang Yuan's speed of deduction was extremely shocking to everyone. "Quick, over there!" someone shouted. A loophole formed in the formation, connecting with the outside world. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. "Bai, you cannot leave." Flames swept over, turning into the old man. He hid the loophole behind himself desperately. The other Central Continent Gu Immortals also let out a sigh of relief. But Fang Yuan shot out like an arrow towards the old man, saying coldly with deep killing intent, "Get lost." The old man snickered. It is useless. You cannot deal with my verdant sun flame cloak. The distance between them shrunk. Central Continent's Gu Immortals quickly changed their formation. Someone shouted, "Block Fang Yuan. We only need 5 breaths of time to change the formation." This is a complete change. It would be 10 times as difficult as before to deduce it afterwards. The old man scoffed. Not just 5 breaths, even if His eyes suddenly widened. His face turned stiff. He looked at Fang Yuan's killer move preparation with deep disbelief. Fang Yuan's aura was completely concealed, not a bit leaked out. He clapped both hands together in front of his chest. Next, his right hand, which was in contact with his left hand, moved. It was like he was trying to pull out something precious, as his right palm slowly clenched into a fist. Afterwards, his left hand was still at the original position, but his tightly clenched right fist was lifted above his chest and shoulder, above his head, until it was fixed right above his head. This move is, the old man no longer smiled. There was nervousness in his eyes and even some fear. Indeed, this was the immortal killer move, 5-finger fist heart sword. Time passed. At the first breath. First finger. Fang Yuan had a cold expression as he raised the thumb of his right hand. From the right fist that he held high in the air, a sword light shot out. Fast, fast, fast. The speed of the sword light was beyond belief. The moment it was shot out, it pierced the old man's forehead. The old man shuddered. The flames on the verdant sun flame cloak on his body weakened by half. Second breath. Second finger. The old man reacted. He roared as the verdant sun flame cloak started blazing again. But the sword light landed again, weakening the verdant sun flame cloak. Third breath. Third finger. The old man's expression turned pale. He wanted to grit his teeth. The verdant sun flame cloak on his back had expanded like a fireball. Earlier it was the size of a horse carriage, but now it was the size of a house. The old man roared. This is the peak condition of my verdant sun flame cloak. Come, your attacks cannot break through. The moment he said that, the sword light landed as the verdant sun flame cloak burst like a balloon. It returned to its former condition. 5-finger fist heart sword got stronger as it progressed. Fourth breath, fourth finger. The old man desperately blocked the fourth sword. His expression was pale. He took a huge step back. Verdant sun flame cloak was like a flickering candle. It was extremely thin now. Fifth breath. Fang Yuan snickered. What cloak? It is laughable. Li Huang, you can start preparing your funeral. It is over. The fifth sword. The old man's heart jumped. His eyes were filled with terror. No. Bo Qing, don't even dream of killing me. The flame blazed. He turned into dozens of figures as he flew in all directions. Fang Yuan ignored him. He flew outside the loophole, escaping into the river of time. He had just flown out when the time path formation changed completely. The earlier loopholes were fixed. It had become whole again, securely locking the formation space inside. But Fang Yuan had already escaped. The time path formation was completely silent inside. The Central Continent Gu Immortals controlling the formation were all dumbfounded. The flame clones dissipated slowly, until only the old man's main body remained. At this moment, his face was flushing red and white. Anger, fear, humiliation, hatred, and killing intent, they filled his heart entirely, turning his expression distorted and filled with terrifying hatred. Suddenly, the old man raised his head and roared. There was no fifth sword. 1. Fang Yuan, you lied. 1. Chapter 1633. Cutting Edge slays enemies. 1. After a tough battle of brains and brawn, Fang Yuan finally got out of Heavenly Court's ambush and escaped into the River of Time. Once he left the formation, Fang Yuan felt the difficulty of using reverse flow protection seal raised by several times. He quickly stopped it and changed to the time path killer move Winter Coat. Immortal killer move, familiar face. At the next moment, Fang Yuan turned into an immemorial year beast. Because he had transformed in the River of Time, transformation path was also greatly suppressed. Even though he managed to use the move, his immortal essence expenditure was tens of times as much as usual. Thankfully, Familiar Face's core was Attitude Gu. It only expended mental energy. Thus, on the whole, Familiar Face used very little immortal essence. Fang Yuan could sustain it. Plop. Fang Yuan turned into an immemorial year snake as he went into the River of Time, slithering away. We are finally out of the encirclement, escaping the time path formation. Fang Yuan felt a little glad. The earlier situation was quite dangerous. The longer it dragged on, the more tight Heavenly Court's defenses would be, and the lower chances Fang Yuan would have of survival. This time, there were 2 reasons why he could escape. Firstly, Fang Yuan had made the time path clone use the Light of Wisdom to break the formation. Because of the Light of Wisdom, Fang Yuan's wisdom path abilities far exceeded Heavenly Court's imagination. He could catch them off guard. Secondly, he used 5-finger fist heart sword. Fang Yuan had rank 8 cultivation level. With his own white lychee immortal essence, he could use Wisdom Sword Immortal Gu. This Immortal Gu was one of the core of Five-Finger Fist Heart Sword to begin with. Thus, Fang Yuan could use the fourth sword of Five-Finger Fist Heart Sword. This was his current limit. To use the fifth sword, he would need other core sword path Immortal Gu. I expended a lot of rank 8 immortal essence. Fang Yuan inspected his immortal aperture. His immortal essence storage had fallen to a dangerous level. Even though Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture had a fast time flow and could accumulate white lychee immortal essence rapidly, he had gone through fierce battles consecutively, especially earlier against the old man Li Huang. He had expended a lot when breaking out of the time path formation. I should escape first. In this situation, Fang Yuan only had one thought. This was the wisest decision. A frontal face-off was the most stupid idea. Fang Yuan, where are you going? An angry growl could be heard behind him. Fang Yuan turned around, and his heart jumped. 3 Immortal Gu houses were chasing after him with threatening auras. The left one was Eternal Yacht. It was tall and rode with the wind. On the deck, rank 8 Gu Immortal Qing Yi, the rank 7 Gu Immortals 4 Xunzi, and others were standing with a righteous aura. The middle one was 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform. It was elegant and grand. The orange roof resembled cranes with their wings spread out. The Immortal Gu house was radiating 3 layers of autumn light. It was quite extraordinary. The right one was Shark Flow Lever. The huge lever was white like jade. A rank 8 Gu Immortal was standing on it. He wore a suit of blue star armor and had a rough appearance. There were 7 huge sharks in front of the lever. They had sharp teeth and were dragging the huge lever ahead. 3 rank 7 Immortal Gu houses, at least 3 rank 8 Gu Immortals, with many rank 7 Gu Immortals. Fang Yuan's heart continued to sink. At this moment, he could see Heavenly Court's huge determination to get rid of him. Even though Fang Yuan became an immemorial year snake, his speed was not fast. With the destruction of the incomplete Immortal Gu house, he could not conceal himself. Both sides continued to shrink in distance. The 3 Immortal Gu houses attacked from afar. Fang Yuan used Autumn Perception Killer Move. His eyes seemed to grow on his back. He managed to evade agilely. If he could not dodge, he would use Winter Coat to endure the attacks forcefully. Winter Coat was amplified in the River of Time, together with Fang Yuan's Time Path Down marks. It displayed incredible defensive power. Even though it was not as amazing as Reverse Flow Protection Seal, it was on par with it here. This cannot go on. The situation was getting worse. Fang Yuan tried to find a solution. Luo Pasil took a long time to activate. In the River of Time, the duration would be even longer, and the overall strength would be weaker. Heavenly Court would be fully on guard against him. He could not rely on Luo Pasil to turn the situation around. Myriad Self, Myriad Dragon, Strength Path, Giant Hand, Emperor Yama, and others, they were the same. Fang Yuan could only rely on Summer Fan, Spring Scissors, and other time path methods. But the 3 Immortal Gu houses after Fang Yuan were strong as fortresses. Spring Scissors and Summer Fan were unable to do anything to them. As they continued to fight, Fang Yuan's immortal essence storage fell continuously. The situation was getting worse. Heavenly Court chased after Fang Yuan with rising morale. Their expressions were very optimistic. Suddenly, at the river ahead, a change occurred. Huge fountains were starting to burst out. Oh no, this is the Sudden Spring River segment. This demon excels in luck path. He has incredible luck. He is very hard to kill. As expected, something occurred here. Follow him, don't let him escape. Heavenly Court side shouted, showing nervous expressions on their faces. Fang Yuan dived into the Sudden Spring River segment. The Sudden Springs were very dangerous. They carried the might of time path. If the scale was large enough, they would definitely be able to take the lives of rank 8 Gu Immortals. In most situations, Fang Yuan would avoid them. But now, this Sudden Spring River segment was his hope of escaping. The immemorial year snakes slithered in the river. Sudden springs erupted around Fang Yuan time and time again, but they were not much of an obstacle for him. Fang Yuan had Luck Inspection Immortal Gu, while the Sovereign Immortal Body had non-conflicting down marks. He could evidently sense that his luck was falling rapidly. Luck Path usually could not be sensed, but at this moment, it displayed its incredible power. Heavenly Court's 3 Immortal Gu houses had a hard time chasing him. The moment they entered the Sudden Spring River segment, Eternal Yacht and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform were hit by Sudden Springs immediately, pushed up forcefully. They spent a lot of effort to dive down. Even Shark Flow Lever was hit. Fang Yuan often encountered rank 6 or 7 level small to mid-sized Sudden Springs, while Heavenly Court faced rank 8 level big Sudden Springs. Even though Fang Yuan met many obstacles and was often obstructed by the Sudden Springs, Heavenly Court's group was more like a bunch of sick people climbing a mountain. Their encounters were clearly contrasted. Heavenly Court's members had dark expressions. They felt deeply vexed, wanting to spit blood in anger. It seems that Fang Gu is not part of the group. Fang Yuan had a realization. In the Battle of Langya, Fang Yuan saw how strong Fang Jiuji's luck was. He could not suppress the latter. If he was here, Heavenly Court would not face such troubles now. Without much danger, Fang Yuan managed to get out of the sudden spring river segment. Behind him, Shark Flow Lever and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform were already far behind. Only Eternal Yacht could barely catch up with him. It had left the sudden spring river segment as well. Without obstacles now, Eternal Yacht's speed rose. It reduced the distance between Fang Yuan and itself. I cannot escape like this. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with lightning. He made up his mind and stopped to face the enemy. Seeing that Fang Yuan was not escaping, Eternal Yacht's Gu Immortals were overjoyed. But soon, they exposed wary expressions full of alertness. Xunzi shouted, "Everyone, be careful. The demon is fighting instead of running. He must have some vicious plans." She had just spoken when Fang Yuan's killer move activated. Immortal killer move, Time Cutting Edge. This move was still rank 7 level, but Fang Yuan's time path down marks amplified it to 100 times of its power. At the same time, it was inside the river of time. Its power rose to nearly rank 8. At once, the leader, rank 8 Gu Immortal Qingyi, sensed a fatal threat. His hair was standing on ends. His heart shrunk as he quickly dodged. But Time Cutting Edge was too fast, even faster than Five-Finger Fist Heart Sword. The moment Fang Yuan used it, it had already reached Qingyi. Eternal Yacht had its defenses, of course, but Time Cutting Edge was thin as paper. It easily penetrated it. Isn't this move lost in history? How can he use it? Am I going to die here? Instantly, Qingyi was filled with shock as he fell into deep despair. Let me. At the dangerous moment, Xunzi jumped out, standing in front of Qingyi. Crack. Xunzi's body shook intensely. She was hit by Time Cutting Edge. Her eyes stared widely as she fell down on the deck. Huff huff. Qingyi breathed roughly. He was covered in sweat, having barely kept his life. Xunzi. Qingyi's expression was pale as he showed a deeply moved expression. The other 3 Xunzi looked at each other with calm expressions. They thought. Xunzi blocked the blade for Qingyi and died for him. It was definitely worth it to gain the favor of this rank 8 Gu Immortal. Lord Qingyi, don't worry about it. We have a unique method to revive our sister. Xunzi smiled and expressed his sincerity. But Qingyi shook his head, showing a grim expression. I can somewhat understand the profundities behind your method. I am afraid it will not work this time. The 3 Xunzi were shocked. They asked, Lord, what do you mean? Please explain it to us. This is Bo Clan's killer move. It had once threatened the whole of Central Continent. It is called Time Cutting Edge. Qingyi said with a complex expression, unable to conceal his fear. What? There is such a move. The 3 Xunzi's expressions changed. They all started to tremble as they became fearful and panicky, no longer as calm as before. No, impossible. Isn't this move gone already? Xunzi shook his head, refusing to believe Qingyi. But the truth is so, stop chasing him. Qingyi breathed in deeply with a pale expression. Lord, the remaining rank 7 Gu Immortals shouted. Fang Yuan was right in front of them. It was a great chance to kill this demon. They would gain an incredible amount of contribution credits. If they let him go, they would definitely be reprimanded and punished. But Qingyi made up his mind. Among the 3 Immortal Gu houses, Eternal Yacht is the fastest but has the weakest defense. You've all seen how Time Cutting Edge could not be blocked. If we pursue him, as long as Fang Yuan kills us one by one, he will gain this Eternal Yacht instead. Plus, even though I have a phantom aperture, you all have a lifetime of accumulation. We cannot give them all to this demon. If at this moment, other than Eternal Yacht, the other Immortal Gu houses were around, Qingyi might pursue him. But right now, if they chased after him, there would not be any chance of victory. Huff! Fang Yuan let out a breath of air and suddenly opened his eyes. This was an underground cave. There were dim flames lighting the walls, creating a natural formation. Even though it was not strong, it could alert him. Fang Yuan was ambushed by Heavenly Court in the River of Time. He had fought desperately for a way out after an intense struggle. After getting away from Qingyi and the rest, Fang Yuan followed the tributary of the River of Time and got to the outside world of Southern Border. Southern Border was the headquarters of Shadow Sect. Purple Mountain True Monarch had set up many eerie fire caves at many locations. Fang Yuan used fixed immortal travel to randomly go into one and rest, recovering from the fight. Even though he had reverse flow protection seal, he was not using it the entire time. He had to rely on Winter Coat. Let alone the battle with Li Huang. Just during his escape, Fang Yuan was hit by the 3 Immortal Gu houses multiple times. His injuries were not light. Fang Yuan inspected his sovereign immortal body before standing up slowly. After a few days of recovery, he had already healed. Most importantly, because the sovereign immortal body had non-conflicting down marks, his healing effects were very effective. His rank 8 white lychee immortal essence had also increased, but it was still in the red zone. Fang Yuan paced around in the cave with his arms behind his back. While considering the situation, his frown got deeper. This time, he had suffered greatly in the River of Time. It was no exaggeration to say that he had barely survived. Fang Yuan did not feel much fear or joy. Such a case was within his expectations. Heavenly Court's foundation was simply too deep. Fang Yuan's growth was simply nothing compared to the long history of Heavenly Court. With such immense foundation, they only had to put in some effort to give Fang Yuan huge problems. The battle in the River of Time was a good affirmation to this. Earlier, Fang Yuan had an advantage against Heavenly Court. It was because he sneak attacked and caught them unprepared. Because he was able to stay hidden, Heavenly Court could not do anything. Fang Yuan had always been exerting all his effort and using all his time to grow stronger and make Heavenly Court's plans fail each time. But as Heavenly Court learned more about Fang Yuan, they placed more emphasis on him. When it finally came to a frontal assault, Fang Yuan's strength was just too little. Heavenly Court was not just strong in foundation. The biggest advantage was their unified mindset. Southern Border's righteous path also had immense strength, but all of the clans were focused on their individual benefits. They could not effectively deal with Fang Yuan. But Heavenly Court had always been pressuring Fang Yuan. If not for his schemes and plots, any other demonic path Gu Immortal would have been captured or killed already. As time passes, Heavenly Court's arrangements in the River of Time would get more elaborate. The chances of getting Red Lotus true inheritance would become slimmer. Against such a strong enemy, what could Fang Yuan do? I have expended almost all of my white lychee immortal essence. Reverse Flow River also has barely any water. Li Huang expended too much of it. I can't use it anymore. Unlike Dang Hun Mountain and Luo Po Valley, which had rank 9 killer move orderly well and could be repaired using landscape as before rapidly, Reverse Flow River was very different. Fang Yuan did not lack the methods to restore it, but any method would incur huge costs. For the foreseeable future, Fang Yuan would not be able to use his Reverse Flow Protection Seal anymore. Even without Reverse Flow Protection Seal, Fang Yuan had gotten to rank 8 and obtained Xiacha's methods. On the whole, his strength had still risen by quite a lot. But this time, I exposed too many methods. Immemorial Year Beasts, Spring Scissors, Summer Fan, and other killer moves were exposed. They were part of Fang Yuan's plan. But the reveal of Time Cutting Edge was truly a shame. There was no choice. In that battle, if Fang Yuan did not use this method, he might have died already. But I am not without gains. Fang Yuan also managed to probe Heavenly Court's foundation. They had a mysterious method to cause the resonance of Spring Autumn Cicada. Fang Yuan had not expected this. But now, thinking about it, Fang Yuan could understand that the time path formation in ambush was not targeted at him, but Red Lotus True Inheritance instead. And Spring Autumn Cicada was the key to opening Red Lotus True Inheritance. How could Heavenly Court not research Red Lotus True Inheritance using Spring Autumn Cicada as the starting point? Even though they could not refine Spring Autumn Cicada, they could mimic it to a great extent. Li Huang, Qingyi, new rank 8 Gu Immortals showed up. Heavenly Court ruled Central Continent and could take in rank 8 Gu Immortals from the 10 great ancient sects as new members. From time to time, a few experienced experts would wake up from the Immortal Graveyard. Having been created since the remote antiquity era, all the way until now, nobody knew how deep Heavenly Court's foundation truly was. Precisely with such foundations, during the 500 years of Fang Yuan's previous life, Heavenly Court ruled Central Continent and fought against 4 other regions. For a long time, they held the advantage, and even many super clans were destroyed. Perhaps because of this, even though Spectral Soul managed to defy heaven, he did not dare to attack Heavenly Court directly. He continued to lurk and infiltrate it slowly. And those 3 Immortal Gu houses, no, the one I destroyed earlier did not lose many Immortal Gu. Even if they were destroyed, Heavenly Court could still refine it. I am afraid that next time, I will have to face 4 or more Immortal Gu houses. Rank 8 Time Path Gu Immortals were not easily found, even for Heavenly Court. But Time Path Immortal Gu houses could be assembled using parts of other Immortal Gu houses, or using Immortal Gu that various Gu Immortals had in their possession or inventory. After assembling these Time Path Immortal Gu houses, Heavenly Court could place a large number of Gu Immortals from different paths inside, allowing them to seal off the entire River of Time. Any plan of luring the enemy away would not work. Heavenly Court was the #1 Grotto-Heaven in the 5 regions. There was no concerns over its safety. Even if Fang Yuan attacked Heavenly Court directly, not only would he be unable to find the entrance, even if he got in, he would incur Heavenly Court's wrath. A few rank 8 great experts from the Immortal Graveyard could wake up and take his life. And if Fang Yuan attacked the 10 great ancient sects, he would not be able to topple Heavenly Court's rule either, and it was extremely risky to do so. After all, they had the wisdom path, great expert Fairy Ziwei. Fang Yuan's gaze was cold as ice. He knew clearly that to find Red Lotus true inheritance, he would need to face off against Heavenly Court. The more defenses Heavenly Court placed in the River of Time, the more important Red Lotus true inheritance was, and the greater Fang Yuan's hope to destroy Fate Gu rested in it. I need to be fast. Heavenly Court had all sorts of methods. They might find Red Lotus true inheritance before him. Thus, he needed to get past their layers of defense into the Stone Lotus Island before Heavenly Court succeeds, and obtain the most crucial things left by Red Lotus Demon Venerable. As for what they were, Fang Yuan had no idea. Even Heavenly Court might not know. Guarding the River of Time was an open scheme by Heavenly Court, because they had the tactical advantage. They were not afraid that Fang Yuan would not come. Fate Gu was about to recover. Fang Yuan needed to get past Heavenly Court and obtain Red Lotus true inheritance to have a chance of destroying Fate. Even if he had to take huge risks, even if he had to risk his life, even though there was an ambush, he had to go. There are no special tactics or shortcuts. I need to raise my strength and continue to grow, surpassing Heavenly Court's defenses to break through these obstacles and obtain Red Lotus true inheritance. Once Fang Yuan achieves this goal, he would have the qualification and ability to continue challenging Heavenly Court. Chapter 1635, Logistics inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Mini Western Desert. All the surroundings were covered in a snow-white color. Fang Yuan's time path clone traveled here as he grabbed a handful of sand, looking at it. The sand particles were all clear as crystal or ice, having a feeling of coldness in them. Right now, the skies were bright and sunny. Mini Western Desert was quite a warm place, but this desert was very cool and refreshing. Fang Yuan's clone put a bit of snow-white sand into his mouth. After his saliva came into contact, it melted and gave off a salty taste. This was salt sand. In human history, salt sand had a very long story. 1,000,000 years ago, during the Olden Antiquity era, even though humans created Heavenly Court, the other 4 regions were still filled with strong variant human forces. They enslaved and suppressed humanity. In Western Desert, there was a human city. It was ostracized and suppressed by the variant humans. The variant humans joined up and pretended to be bandits, robbing all of the caravans that tried to head to the human city. As time passed, the human city lacked essential resources and was slowly unable to survive. The human city lord feared for the safety of his people. He had to seek help from a variant human group, marrying his beloved daughter to them in exchange for peace. The city lord's daughter knew what was more important. For the sake of the humans in the city, she sacrificed herself. The group soon set off from the city, escorted by the human city lord himself. While traveling in the desert, they met an old man who had fainted. The old man was heavily injured and was on the verge of death. His entire body was covered in abscesses. The smell was repulsive. The city lord saw that he was a human. He quickly saved him and gave the old man some clean water. The old man woke up slowly. He said to the city lord, "O city lord, since you saved me, why don't you provide me some more help? Give me your robe and steed so that I can leave on my own." The city lord's subordinates started to laugh. The clothes were so precious. How could they give them to such a lowly beggar? But the city lord waved his hand. The value of a robe cannot match a person's life. I have other clothes with me. You can have this. But my steed can only be ridden by a strong Gu master. If I give it to you, I will be causing you harm. Saying so, the city lord gave his robe as well as a large amount of water and food to the old man. Next, the city lord ordered his men to bring over a mild-tempered camel to the old man. The old man sighed deeply. "City lord, I have long heard of your kind reputation. It is truly not a lie. Since you want to do a good deed, why don't you help me fully? The abscesses on my back have been troubling me for years. Only a virgin girl who is born in the Yin year, Yin month, and Yin day 1 can heal me by using her mouth to burst them." Just as the old man said that, the city lord's subordinates started to rebuke in anger. They wanted to kill this old man. The city lord was a little angry, because everyone knew that his daughter was a virgin girl born in the Yin year, Yin month, and Yin day. The city lord said, "Old man, stop making fun of me. Even though I am a city lord, I am also a pitiful father. I love my daughter, but I have no choice but to send her to the vicious feathermen and let her become their slave concubine. Father, if my sacrifice can save the entire city, I will accept that fate." At this time, the city lord's daughter arrived. The clamor had drawn her attention. She understood the situation from the description of others. She walked towards the old man as she nodded. "Old sir, let me see your abscesses. You are willing to heal my injury?" The old man asked. "Yes. Even though I am the city lord's daughter, and everyone says I am of noble blood, how noble can I truly be?" The city lord's daughter smiled bitterly. Only when the entire human race is noble can our statuses truly rise. I have no hope left. I am going to be a slave concubine of the variant humans. In that case, why shouldn't I save you? We humans are too weak now. The recovery of one person is better than nothing. The city lord and the others heard her words and felt very moved. They did not stop her. The abscesses on the old man's back were ugly and disgusting. They were filled with pus and had an overbearing smell. People would want to puke upon seeing them. The city lord's daughter was slightly dazed, but she held in her disgust and used her teeth to burst the abscesses on the old man's back. Once they burst, a white-silver liquid flowed out. The liquid landed on the desert and emitted a thick, fragrant smell, making the caravan group feel refreshed mentally. The old man's body vanished. Only his voice was left. He said, "O city lord, you are a person worthy of my help. Humans cannot just rely on Gu immortals. You Gu masters are the hope of the future. I will entrust this desert to you. Make good use of it." The city lord and the rest realized at this moment the old man was a human Gu immortal. They quickly knelt on the ground. And this desert was changed by the white-silver liquid, becoming the snow-white salt sand. After obtaining this huge desert, the city lord sold the salt sand as edible salt. He did not lack revenue and managed to revive his city, becoming stronger in time. Currently, salt sand was no longer a unique product of Western Desert. It was available in all 5 regions. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture had salt sand too. He had obtained it from annexing a southern border Gu immortal's immortal aperture. After inspecting it, Fang Yuan's clone gained a deeper understanding of the desert. He returned in satisfaction. Right now in Treasure Yellow Heaven, Heavenly Court has started to sell silver dragonfish. They must have gotten the method to produce it from spectral soul. In time, golden dragonfish will also appear in the market. Fang Yuan's dragonfish business was feeling a huge impact. In the short term, because he had obtained immense market share, his dragonfish still provided huge profits. But he definitely would gradually lose his profits to Heavenly Court. But it was not a problem. After annexing the southern border immortals, the sovereign immortal aperture had gained over 10 blessed lands, and even a Grotto-Heaven. Forget about salt sand. It was an ordinary Gu material. But he gained a lot of immortal material resources. There were at least 5 to 6 resource points that could match the dragonfish business. Xiacha Grotto-Heaven's year essence pool was one of them. Thus, Fang Yuan was still earning a lot of profits. His immortal essence stones were accumulating at a faster pace than before. Due to his development in the past, he did not lack any food production for the feeding of his immortal Gu. Even though he obtained some immortal Gu as loot from battle, he also obtained the respective Gu immortals' immortal apertures. He completely moved their resource points over to himself. The feeding of immortal Gu still has some flaws, but that is not an issue. The Time Path clone looked at the Salt Sand Desert one last time before using fixed immortal travel. This Salt Sand Desert was the second last resource point that he visited. At the next moment, Fang Yuan's clone went to Citywell. Inside Citywell, there was already a sizable group of hairy men. These hairy men were obtained from the immortal apertures of the southern border Gu immortals. Almost all of them had a certain number of hairy men raised to refine mortal Gu. Hairy man slaves were the most popular ones in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Fang Yuan gathered the hairy men in all these immortal apertures and placed them into Citywell to live. Currently, raising hairy men was most helpful to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan gave some Dream Path Gu recipes as well as cultivation methods to these hairy men. Their task was to enter their own dream realms and gather Dream Path materials to refine Dream Path Mortal Gu for Fang Yuan's use. Fang Yuan's Unravel Dream Killer move expended a lot of Dream Path Mortal Gu. Earlier, Fang Yuan was exploring dream realms and used up all of his accumulated Dream Path Mortal Gu. If not for these hairy men refining Dream Path Mortal Gu to replenish his supply, Fang Yuan might not have been able to explore all of his dream realms. Fang Yuan's clone came to city well as the sky turned dark. Even though there was no sun or moon, it seemed to be evening currently. After Fang Yuan became rank 8, the Blessed Land became a Grotto-Heaven. It had astronomical changes now. Because the sovereign immortal aperture had a lot of time path resources, the changes was very precise, almost like the 5 regions. Fang Yuan's clone was about to find out the situation of the hairy men when his body froze. A bright light flashed across his eyes. The main body has already found the location of the 5 Xiong's seal. Fang Yuan rested in his eerie fire cave for a while before leaving and going to White Heaven. His immortal aperture was well operated. The logistics were clear and orderly. He did not need to waste time in recuperating. His immortal essence storage rose continuously. He did not want to waste time. He headed to White Heaven immediately. Right now, the 5 Xiong seal was opening. The ancient bet was undergoing again. Chapter 1636. Demon King. Immemorial White Heaven. A tall gatehouse suddenly emerged in the sky that was originally empty. The gatehouse had a tall roof and 2 statues at the side of the gate. There was a huge plaque above the gate, writing the words, 5 Xiong's bed entrance. The entire gatehouse seemed to be made of bronze. It radiated a majestic aura. Initially, it was only a phantom image, but as time passed, it became solid and clearer. Qi clan had 6 Gu immortals in total. They were all standing outside the gatehouse now, waiting for it to materialize entirely. The leader was an old Gu immortal. He had a thin body but strong spirits. His eyes radiated with brilliance. He stood up straight, like a spear. He was Qi clan's first supreme elder Qi Fa. On his left was Qi clan's second supreme elder Qi Kai. He stroked his beard as he said, I have experienced many openings of the seal, but this time, I feel very impatient. I almost cannot wait. Third supreme elder Qi Jin laughed. This bet has been going on for thousands of years. We are finally going to end it today. As descendants of Qi clan, we can proudly face our ancestors. We are the eventual victors of this bet. As they spoke, the gatehouse formed fully. A huge area of clouds gathered to hold up this gatehouse. The door started to shine in 5 colors, representing the strength of the 5 Xiong's. First, red light shined down, causing the clouds to turn bright red. This was Shui Xiong's Shui clan. Because they cultivated blood path, they had been wiped out. Thus, after the red light shined around the place, it faded away. Next was yellow light. It was Qi Xiong's Qi clan. Even though they had descendants, because they lived in the immortal apertures of their ancestors and did not work hard, they were living like livestock. Not a single Gu immortal emerged from among them. Next, a brown light appeared. Ni Xiong's Ni clan had Gu immortals in the past. Even though the numbers were small, they were all elites. Especially Ni Air, someone deduced that his refinement path attainment level was at the point of quasi-supreme grandmaster. He was the one who fused immortal Gu into the bloodline of Ni clan members. He wanted to assist his descendants, but right now, Ni clan's villages were controlled by Qi clan. They could not win. One after the brown light came white light. Our turn. Qi Kai became very alert. He could not wait anymore. Let's go, Qi Fa said with a firm tone. He led the 4 Gu immortals behind him as they went to the gatehouse, bathing in the white light. The white light flickered for a moment as it got stronger, sweeping around the 5 Qi clan Gu immortals' bodies as it returned to its original intensity, continuing to shine. But Qi clan's Gu immortals were all here already. Without any additional descendant of Qi Xiong, the white light faded away. There was a white light spiraling above the heads of the 5 Qi clan Gu immortals. They had passed the test of the 5 Xiong seal. They were qualified to enter for the bet. Bai clan is the last one. Qi Jin spoke, unable to conceal his nervousness. Qi clan's Gu immortals were all above the clouds. They had not entered the door yet. They were alert and looked around. They knew of the existence of Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing had inherited by Xiong Grotto-Heaven. She even learned the immortal killer move by Xiong, displaying great power in a few battles. Heavenly Court had exposed intel on Fang Yuan that involved the Shadow Sect members as well. Even though Bai Ningbing was not part of Shadow Sect, her information was also exposed. Even though Qi clan was secluded and did not mix with the circles of Gu immortals, they still had their collection of information regarding the outside world. Blue light shined for a while, but nobody showed up. It was about to weaken and fade away. Qi Kai let out a breath of air. Good, Bai Ningbing did not show up. Our Qi Kai will definitely win. He had just spoken when 2 figures approached at a rapid speed. In the blink of an eye, they arrived in front of the gatehouse. Qi clan's Gu immortals looked over and saw a boy and a girl. The girl had silvery hair that flowed down to her waist. Her pale blue dragon eyes emitting a cold aura to the outside world. Her skin was white as snow. Her expression was cold. Her beauty was simply divine. And the most eye-catching thing was the pair of small coral-like dragon horns on her forehead. Seeing this female immortal, Qi clan's Gu immortals all thought of a name, Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing came after all. Damn it. Who is that beside her? Qi Jin first noticed Bai Ningbing before turning his gaze towards the other Gu immortal. This Gu immortal was a young man with similarly long hair that was black and smooth. He had a sharp and tall nose. His face was extremely exquisite. His eyes were deep like the abyss, resembling the darkness that existed since the beginning of time, able to devour anything in its way. Seeing this young-looking Gu immortal, Qi Jin shook like he had been hit by lightning. His heart turned cold. He gulped as he said in a hoarse voice with great difficulty, Fang Yuan. He was already the most composed one. The Qi clan Gu immortals around him were shaking. Their legs were trembling as they had sweat pouring down their foreheads. Bai Ningbing was Fang Yuan's henchman. The 5 regions Gu immortals knew that. If Bai Ningbing appeared and participated in the 5 Xiong's bet, Fang Yuan was likely to come too. Qi clan had known this and were mentally prepared for it before coming here. However, when Fang Yuan truly appeared in front of them, they found that their mental preparations were all in vain. Fear, panic, chaos, all sorts of emotions filled their hearts. They felt like they had fallen into an icy river. This was Fang Yuan. He had been reborn using spring Autumn Cicada, refining an immortal Gu on Three Kings Mountain as immortal, snatching Hu immortal blessed land from the central continent 10 great ancient sections. He went to northern plains and destroyed 88 true Yang building. Nobody knew how great his gains were. He inherited a true inheritance of thieving heaven and cooperated with Lang blessed land and the other variant humans, becoming a traitor of humans. He disguised as Wu Yihai and deceived Wu Yong like a fool. During the Dream Realm battle, he toyed with the entire righteous path of Southern Border and became the leader of Shadow Sect. Southern Border's righteous path chased after him, and Heavenly Court hunted him, but he remained free and got stronger and stronger. At the regional wall, he fought against the rank 8 Gu Immortal Thunder Ghost True Monarch as a rank 7 and pummeled her, leading to a fall in Heavenly Court's reputation. When Lang blessed land was invaded by Heavenly Court, he stole fixed immortal travel and left freely. Several months ago, he ambushed Southern Border's righteous path and kidnapped many Southern Border Gu immortals, extorting all the super forces. Not long ago, Heavenly Court had distributed the intel and treasure Yellow Heaven. The battle in the River of Time had been exposed. The entire world of the 5 regions was shocked. Fang Yuan had become a rank 8 Gu immortal silently, obtaining killer moves like Spring Scissors, Summer Fan, and 5-Finger Fist Heart Sword. Most amazingly, he even had the long-lost method, Time Cutting Edge. Seeing that his intel was exposed, Fang Yuan returned the favor and exposed all of Heavenly Court's methods as well. The Gu immortal world was in a huge commotion. Heavenly Court's foundation and methods were shocking. But the scarier thing was, Fang Yuan managed to escape regardless. Heavenly Court had set up a super time path formation in the River of Time. There were multiple rank 8s and many immortal Gu houses, but they could not do anything to Fang Yuan. Even though Fang Yuan lost, in fact running away like a dog, after this battle was exposed, his reputation soared and left a deep impression in everyone's hearts, not only because of his schemes and ferocity, but also due to his opponent being Heavenly Court. It was created since the remote antiquity era. Heavenly Court, which had 3 million years of history and had withstood the multiple invasions of various demon venerables, the #1 human force created since the beginning of human history. After so long, this Heavenly Court could actually do nothing to a demonic path Gu immortal? This was a really rarely seen situation. Even throughout the entire history of Heavenly Court, it was rarely seen. Countless Gu immortals and super forces were watching, waiting to see how Heavenly Court would capture Fang Yuan. How long could Fang Yuan really last? Because of all these emotions, Fang Yuan's reputation was at its peak. Rank 7 Fang Yuan could resist rank 8. Rank 8 Fang Yuan was the king of demonic immortals, shaking the world. When he had grown like a shooting star, the speed was simply unthinkable. This meteor was currently like the blazing sun. He was bright and dazzling. Countless people could not even look up at him. Demon King Fang Yuan. One Qi clan's Gu immortals started trembling even more fiercely. Fang Yuan's mere entrance had already intimidated all these people. His demonic might was unstoppable. Chapter 1637. He cheated. One everyone, don't panic. Qi Fa said in a dry voice. His tall body was like a bamboo in the wind, wavering slightly. Nobody laughed. Qi clan had 3 rank 7 and 2 rank 6 Gu immortals. They were not Fang Yuan's match even if they joined up. They were meat on the chopping block. They were completely defenseless. After Qi Fa spoke, he mustered his courage and continued. We have already obtained the acknowledgement of the gatehouse. We can explore that Grotto-Heaven. We are also protected by the gatehouse. If Fang Yuan wants to kill us, he will need to pass the gatehouse. But if he destroys it, he will break the rules of the bed and would not reach the other side. Qi Fa's words calmed everyone down. Fang Yuan looked at Qi Fa with slight surprise as he smiled, praising. He is quite smart. Qi Fa's words were said to Qi clan's Gu immortals, but was also meant for Fang Yuan. Qi clan was able to become the eventual winner of the 5 Xiang's bed. It was not without reason. These last years, Qi clan had developed while suppressing or enslaving the other 4 clans. They also kept a low profile and hid themselves deeply. Even Southern Border's righteous path did not know or attempt to find the 5 Xiang's treasure. This was due to Qi clan's abilities. But no matter how amazing they were, against Fang Yuan, they were doomed to fail. Fang Yuan's smile was terrifying in their eyes. His pearly white teeth were like sharp daggers aiming at them. Fang Yuan took a look at Qi clan's Gu immortals before looking over at Bai Ningbing. Both of them had already negotiated earlier. Bai Ningbing nodded at Fang Yuan before flying towards the gatehouse. Qi clan's Gu immortals were slightly stirred, but they could do nothing but watch. Once Bai Ningbing entered the blue light, this icy light shook for a moment before stabilizing. Fang Yuan nodded to himself. He was afraid earlier that Bai Ningbing's Dragonman status would affect it. After all, Dragonmen were variant humans and were not traditional humans. But now, it seemed that the gatehouse only cared about Bai Ningbing's bloodline, regardless of her status as human or variant human. After a few breaths of time, Bai Ningbing gained the acknowledgement of the gatehouse and was sent up into the clouds by a formless and mild force. Qi Clan's Gu immortals had flickering gazes. They all showed a look of regret. It seems that Bai Ningbing is not under Fang Yuan's enslavement. Otherwise, the gatehouse would not acknowledge her. It is a pity. Damn it, Bai Ningbing was allowed to enter the world beyond the gatehouse too. Bai Ningbing was found by old man Yanshi last time, but she was never enslaved. All they did was cooperate. After joining Fang Yuan, Bai Ningbing was not targeted by Fang Yuan's enslavement methods either. This was all due to this gatehouse. Bai Ningbing landed on the cloud and inspected the area before saying to Fang Yuan, getting onto the clouds would be the same as getting the gatehouse's acknowledgement. Gu immortals cannot fight each other here. Okay. A bright light flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes. Seeing his following actions, Qi Clan's Gu immortals all gasped in shock. Fang Yuan actually flew towards the blue light. The blue light flickered for a moment before stabilizing. Even though Fang Yuan was in his original appearance, he had activated Immortal Killer move Familiar Face already. He had modified this move, adding in blood path Immortal Gu to disguise his own bloodline. Initially, he had used this against Wu Clan, disguising as Wu Yihai and mixing into the righteous path. But before Fang Yuan got happy, the 4 other lights appeared on the gatehouse. These 4 lights represented the power of the other 4 Yongs. Fang Yuan was slightly surprised. Earlier, he had allowed Bai Ningbing to enter first in order to inspect the blue light. After he flew in, he managed to deceive the blue light, but to think that the other 4 Yongs unleashed their power. Boom. The gatehouse shook. Fang Yuan was pushed out of the light by a strong force. Familiar Face cannot deceive it. Fang Yuan's heart shook slightly. Heaven surveying 5 Yongs. This strong force that had once taken leadership of Southern Border's Gu immortal world had displayed its immense power. Qi Clan's Gu immortals all sighed in huge relief. Great joy appeared on their faces. Fang Yuan's actions were simply too shocking, but this result was the best for them. So close, Fang Yuan could not get in. We have hope. This way, Fang Yuan is kept outside. We only need to deal with Bai Ningbing. Her Bai Xiang killer move is troublesome, but our Qi Xiang true inheritance is not weak either. Fang Yuan focused as he looked at the gatehouse. Indeed, he had underestimated the gatehouse. Or rather, Shadow Sect and Bai Ningbing's information was not sufficient regarding this gatehouse. To deceive it, Familiar Face was not enough. Fang Yuan did not want Bai Ningbing to explore it alone. She was unreliable, and even if she was reliable, she could not deal with Qi Clan's Gu immortals alone. Even though Fang Yuan had encountered an obstacle earlier, his determination to get in had not wavered. Qi Xiang, Bai Xiang, Shui Xiang, and I Xiang, Qi Xiang. These are the heaven-surveying 5 Xiangs. This gatehouse was created by all 5 of them. Their power was fused into one. Fang Yuan went into rapid contemplation. Qi Xiang, Bai Xiang, Shui Xiang, and I Xiang, and Qi Xiang. They were in Qi Path, Ice Path, Blood Path, Earth Path, and Food Path respectively. One Fang Yuan had high attainment in Blood Path and Earth Path. He was confident. In terms of Food Path, even though his attainment level was not high, Fang Yuan had Spectral Soul's true inheritance. It contained the original Food Path inheritance in this world. With such a foundation, Fang Yuan had an immensely deep amount of information to work with. His Qi Path and Ice Path attainment levels were very low. But Ice Path was not a problem. He had Bai Ningbing's Bai Xiang true inheritance that was used to deceive the blue light already. So, my only obstacle is Qi Xiang's power. Divine brilliance flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes. Fang Yuan did not have Qi Path attainment level or sufficient Qi Path inheritances, because it was already on the decline for a long time. No issue. I have the light of wisdom. Fang Yuan wanted to use the light of wisdom to force his way through. Qi Clan's Gu immortals conversed. What is he doing? He seems to be deducing. Didn't Heavenly Court announce it? This demon has very extraordinary wisdom path methods. It is useless. How can he deduce the 5 Xiang's arrangements in such a short time? Qi Clan's Gu immortals were very confident about this. They had tried to break the power of the 5 Xiang's long ago, but they had no success. This was the failure of generations of Gu immortals that had tried time and time again. They had failed too many times against the 5 Xiang seal. How could Fang Yuan possibly succeed? Or maybe Fang Yuan's wisdom path methods are above us. But he is simply dreaming if he wants to deduce it now. This difficulty is like deducing an unknown immortal killer move that he has just seen for the first time in battle. He needs to deduce and unravel it. He is too naive. Qi Fa shook his head as he said that. His courage appeared again. His fear was fading. Boom. At the next moment, Fang Yuan attacked the gatehouse. The gate shook intensely. The expressions of Qi Clan's Gu immortals also changed. This. The demon attacked. He actually attacked the gatehouse. He wants to destroy the teleportation entrance. Does he not want to enter? He failed the deduction, so he got angry instead. Bam bam bam. As Fang Yuan attacked fiercely, the entire gatehouse started to shake. Qi Clan's Gu immortals also shook as their footing became unstable. They were like candles in the wind. Shock and fear was shown on their faces. Some even began to tremble. Once the gatehouse gets destroyed, they would lose their protection. It would be up to Fang Yuan whether he wants to kill or capture them. It must hold against him. Qi Clan's Gu immortals were all praying in their hearts. Fang Yuan gradually stopped attacking. Qi Clan's Gu immortals breathed roughly. They were all wet with sweat. The feeling of almost dying was too terrible. They had never been so nervous. But eventually, the gatehouse still remained standing. The demon did not succeed. Great. Qi Jin cheered, while the other Qi Clan Gu immortals had joyful expressions on their faces. Fang Yuan glanced at them as he showed a mocking smile. Oh? Why do you think I stopped? Saying so, he activated an immortal killer move. There was no flashy light or commotion. His entire body's aura underwent a profound and mystical change. Next, Fang Yuan landed and bathed in the blue light, easily gaining its acknowledgement and landing beside Bai Ningbing. Qi Clan's Gu immortals were all dumbfounded. Some opened their mouths and froze like statues. Shock was expressed on their faces. Some beliefs in their minds had been completely shattered by Fang Yuan's success. This demon actually succeeded. This must be a dream. How can this be? How could he succeed in such a short period of time? Qi Clan's Gu immortals felt incredibly confused before a strong cold feeling entered their hearts. Fang Yuan's battle strength was ridiculously high, but his wisdom path attainment was even beyond the understanding of the Qi Clan Gu immortals. Such a monster made even Heavenly Court without options. How could they deal with him? Gatehouse. Oh, ancestor. This Fang Yuan is an outsider. He cheated. Qi Kai screamed. His face was full of fear and also anger. But the gatehouse was silent. The 5 Xiang seals started to gather power. Soon, a strong aura emerged from the gatehouse as 5 lights started to shine brightly. Qi Clan's Gu immortals saw this as their faces turned to despair. They knew that the gatehouse had activated not because it exposed Fang Yuan's identity, but because the teleportation was beginning. Chapter 1638. Ultimate treasure of the bet. The glaring light faded gradually. Fang Yuan looked around. The environment had changed. He was already inside the small world past the gatehouse. Bai Ningbing was beside him. Their distance was the same as before the teleportation. Suddenly, Bai Ningbing's expression changed. Mysterious information was transmitted into her mind. She looked at Fang Yuan, seeing that he was completely expressionless. She hesitated for a moment before saying, "This is a public Grotto-Heaven. The heaven surveying 5 Xiangs had once donated a portion of their Grotto-Heavens each to form this place. The entire Grotto-Heaven has 5 segments. They are not directly connected to each other. Only the most central mountain range is shared among the 5. The treasure of this bet is at the center of the Grotto-Heaven. As long as a Gu immortal is acknowledged by the gatehouse and is teleported inside here, they can go after the treasure. Along the way, the heaven surveying 5 Xiangs have also set up some resources. Stronger experts can try to take them away, but it is recommended that they do not take everything, so as to allow the resources to grow again in the future." Bai Ningbing obtained this information, but Fang Yuan did not. It seems that even though I used the light of wisdom to deduce a killer move and disguise my identity, it was too roughly made in a rush. Fang Yuan had a deep gaze as he looked afar. This means that we are very far from Qi Clan's Gu immortals, and our areas are not connected. After disguising as a Bai Xiang descendant, I can only move about in this Bai Xiang Grotto-Heaven region. Fang Yuan wanted to try using fixed immortal travel, but he did not know the appearance of Qi Xiang's territory. He had once killed Qi Clan's Qi Zai, but this person only became a Gu immortal in the last 1,000 years. He did not enter this place, or have any memories of it. According to my experience of getting past that gatehouse's inspection, this place has a very strict level of defense. Space path methods are likely to be restricted. I am afraid that even if I use fixed immortal travel, there is a low possibility of success. Fang Yuan looked at the situation now. Soon, he made up his mind. Let's go to the center. The entire public Grotto-Heaven had 5 areas. They were all connected to the center, which contained the ultimate treasure of this bet. In that case, Fang Yuan would directly target it. He did not need to find Qi Clan's Gu immortals. Not only would he waste time, he might not be able to find them after all. Once they got to the mountain range, they would meet Qi Clan's Gu immortals anyway. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing flew rapidly, crossing mountains and valleys. Bai Xiang cultivated ice and snow path. This area was contributed by Bai Xiang Grotto-Heaven. Thus, even though there were mountains and valleys here, they were covered in thick snow. It was a field of white. "Look there," Bai Ningbing suddenly said. She was looking at a mountain. It was extremely steep and dangerous. At the peak, there were 100 ice mirror snow lotuses growing. This was a rank 6 immortal material containing ice path and wood path Dao marks. Near the snow lotus, there were many snow monsters and even desolate level snow monsters. If anyone went there and wanted to get the ice mirror snow lotuses, these snow monsters would stop them. In fact, Fang Yuan had discovered it long ago. He only took a glance before flying away with Bai Ningbing. Even though these desolate level snow monsters were not his match, Fang Yuan did not want to waste time here. He headed straight for the center of the public Grotto-Heaven. Ice mirror snow lotus, 100 years profound ice, 1,000 years profound ice, mystical frost water, heaven craft divine jade. Along the way, Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing saw many resource points. Even though they were small to mid-sized resource points, they had plentiful storage. The deeper they went, the more valuable the resource points in the Grotto-Heaven. Of course, the beasts or plants defending them were also increasingly stronger. The 5 Xiangs had specially created this arrangement to test their descendants. Even though Fang Yuan's current strength was enough to sweep through everything, he ignored these small benefits in front of him. His mind was completely on the center of the mountain range. Howling of beasts could be heard continuously as they emerged from the valleys to attack Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. They were jade frost antelopes. The large ones were huge like palaces, the small ones were the size of 3 houses. Their eyes were fully jade green in color without irises. Their horns curled upwards. Even without wings, they could float and travel in the air. Each time they jumped, their hooves would emit white frost that would produce a clear chiming sound. These jade frost antelopes appeared very peculiarly. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing's expressions quickly changed. Fang Yuan snorted as he waved his hand, grabbing a fan that appeared out of nowhere. Immortal killer move, Summer Fan. Whoosh. Summer Fan whipped up strong winds that turned into tornadoes. They resembled winds, but were actually filled with Time Path's power. The beasts that approached with a great momentum were engulfed by the winds and rapidly died. Their corpses fell from the sky like dumplings, crashing onto the snow and creating loud noises. This large group of jade frost antelopes died in an instant. Not just that, Fang Yuan's fan also caused the snow mountain below him to crumble, creating a huge crater filled with rocks. Fang Yuan flew down rapidly, slamming down as the rocks scattered. He looked at a huge rock wall and inspected the aura on it, his expression turning cold. There was a Gu formation here that Fang Yuan destroyed. It had the style of Qi Path. It seems that the restriction of 5 independent regions cannot restrict those Gu immortals from Qi clan. Fang Yuan said to Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing nodded. Understandable. They have already been coming here so many times. They must have a deep understanding of the place. A lot of the 5 Xiangs restrictions cannot stop them anymore. This also means that our journey is not going to be smooth. Fang Yuan smiled coldly. Qi clan's Gu immortals are trying to obstruct us. They must be trying to delay for time to obtain the treasure first. We will not stay here. We will move rapidly. The two continued to fly. Along the way, as Bai Ningbing had expected, many beast groups obstructed them. But these beast groups were all slaughtered easily by Fang Yuan's methods. They could barely delay his advancement. Fang Yuan's methods are truly terrifying. Our beast tides are simply thin as paper. No, he is simply killing them like killing ants. This is too scary. They are coming. They are near the central mountain range. Don't panic. There is a layer of defense at the mountain range. There is an immemorial desolate beast there. 3. The defenses were broken through. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing are arriving. Qi clan's Gu immortals continued to converse. The atmosphere was tense. When Fang Yuan arrived, Qi clan's Gu immortals were all panicking. Their nervousness could be felt from afar. The area that stored the treasure was very obvious. Fang Yuan could see it the moment he entered the central mountain range. At the peak of the highest mountain, there was a palace. It was decorated in the same style as the gatehouse. This was an Immortal Gu house. Fang Yuan successfully got into the Immortal Gu house. He saw that at the center of the hall, there were 5 Qi clan Gu immortals sitting around the ultimate treasure. Next, his gaze turned towards the treasure of the bet. This mysterious treasure was a white crane. This white crane has 1 leg. It was covered in snow-white feathers that had no dust or dirt on it. Its long beak was red in color. Its wings were tucked in as its eyes were shut tight. Fang Yuan's brows furrowed rapidly. He could tell that this white crane was extraordinary. It was not a real living being. It was also not an Immortal Gu, yet it emitted a rank 9 aura. Amazing. Fang Yuan laughed. So the ultimate treasure of the bet is a rank 9 killer move. Fang Yuan's laughter made the Qi clan Gu immortals shudder. They were fearful and also furious. Qi clan had painstakingly protected this ultimate treasure of the 5 Xiangs bet. but an outsider was here now trying to take it. Qi clan has already treated the treasure as their possession. Fang Yuan wanted to take it. It meant that the great animosity between Qi clan and Fang Yuan was unresolvable. Fang Yuan's gaze was cold. He did not speak. He pointed his finger as a sword light flew out, attacking a Qi clan Gu immortal. The 5 Qi clan Gu immortals had instilled their wills into the white crane killer move. They did not move and allowed the sword light to approach them. At the crucial moment, the 5 lights of the hall shined as the sword light was dispelled soundlessly. As expected, Fang Yuan felt no surprise. This hall could gather the power of the entire public Grotto-Heaven. It was also the place where the 5 Xiang seal was the strongest. With this power overseeing the area, Fang Yuan and Qi clan's Gu immortals could not fight each other. Of course, Fang Yuan could act forcefully, but he had to suppress the heaven-surveying 5 Xiang's power. He would also cause great damage to the entire public Grotto-Heaven. No wonder Qi clan's Gu immortals are not moving. But since they have the qualification to refine this ultimate treasure, so can I. Bai Ningbing had her own thoughts. She got close to the killer move. Next, she mimicked the 5 Gu immortals from Qi clan as she sent her own will into it. The 5 Qi clan Gu immortals had nervous expressions while Bai Ningbing's body shook. She shouted to Fang Yuan, "Hurry up!" Even without her reminder, Fang Yuan had already arrived beside her. He instilled his will into the killer move as he understood the entire situation. At the same time, some information originating from Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable also entered his mind. People of the future, I am Ben Jie's son, also known as Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. When exploring the immemorial White Heaven, I by chance found a mysterious existence. It was like the heavenly spirit of a Grotto-Heaven. It was incredibly agile. I only managed to capture it after spending a lot of effort. After researching it, I found that it was incredibly profound. It involved the deepest mysteries of this world. It corresponded with the details in the latter half of The Legends of Renzu. I temporarily named it the natural heavenly spirit. It could not be brought out of White Heaven or placed into one's Grotto-Heaven. It was filled with heaven's will that was constantly replenished at all times. Even I could not use my human will to refine it forcefully. After thinking long and hard, I found a solution. I forcefully condensed it and created an immortal killer move. I called it Heaven Form. Heaven Form. Fang Yuan was surprised, but soon understood what happened. Everything was clear now. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable was an otherworldly demon. He was skilled in Space Path and created Theft Path. He also had great ability in Refinement Path. His entire life was dedicated to finding a way to leave the Gu Master World and return to his homeland. He was the richest Venerable. He searched for immortal materials all around the world and refined many immortal Gu. He had also traveled the most, having explored almost the entire 5 regions and 2 heavens. One day when exploring White Heaven, he by chance found a mystical existence. After searching on it, he named it Natural Heavenly Spirit. Even with his demon venerable strength, he could not refine the natural heavenly spirit. It was not hard to understand this. According to Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's words, this natural heavenly spirit could not be brought out of immemorial White Heaven, and inside White Heaven, it was replenished by heaven's will endlessly. When Gu immortals refine immortal Gu, they have to use their own will to get rid of the wild will in the immortal Gu, eventually refining it into their tool. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable wanted to refine the natural heavenly spirit. Even though the steps were different, in essence, it was the same. The Demon Venerable's will was strong, but against the natural heavenly spirit filled with heaven's will, that was constantly replenished, he could not succeed. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable failed, but was not dejected. Man was the spirit of all living beings. He found a method that was to combine the heavenly spirit with other Gu worms to form a rank 9 immortal killer move. This made Fang Yuan think of the ghostly concealment killer move that he had. It was also a rank 9 killer move. It was paired with divine concealment. Even though Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had used it long ago, these 2 moves still remained until now. This seemed to be a specialty of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. The problem was, even if Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable found a way to turn the natural heavenly spirit into a rank 9 immortal killer move Heaven Form, he could not manipulate or use it, because he did not manage to refine the natural heavenly spirit. But this was part of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's plan. He knew that he could not refine the natural heavenly spirit in a short period of time. Therefore, he turned the heavenly spirit into an immortal killer move. This way, the natural heavenly spirit would be replenished with heaven's will at a far lower rate. After Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable created Heaven Form, he did not use it. Before he vanished mysteriously, he left behind many Thieving Heaven true inheritances. He did not forget Heaven Form either. Heaven Form killer move has not been truly refined. I cannot complete it alone. It needs a long period of time and generations of wills to cleanse. One day, it will be truly refined by a Gu Immortal. By then, it would be usable. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable also said that even though he left this killer move behind, it could not be controlled and was not a Thieving Heaven true inheritance. It needed more work from people in the future. It was only half a Thieving Heaven true inheritance. Fang Yuan could deduce the future developments himself. One day, when the heaven-surveying 5 Xiangs explored immemorial White Heaven, they happened to find this half-Thieving Heaven true inheritance. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had said it clearly already. This rank 9 killer move could only be used by one person, because all 5 Xiangs wanted it. They argued and did not manage to come to a consensus. Due to their internal conflict, their group fell apart. The 5 Xiangs tried, but just the 5 of them could not refine this killer move. Eventually, they set up the bet and agreed to use this to decide the owner of the immortal killer move. Time passed mercilessly. Countless events occurred throughout the ages. Eventually, the 5 Xiangs died. Generations of Gu immortal descendants of the 5 Xiangs appeared and disappeared. Until today, Qi clan obtained the decisive advantage, and after years of hard work by their predecessors, they were finally about to succeed. But Fang Yuan interfered. It was understandable why the Qi clan Gu immortals were so furious and filled with hatred. Since the first generation of the 5 Xiangs, they had worked so hard throughout the ages, their efforts were finally about to bear fruit. And now, he was here to snatch it away. How shameless. Too despicable. These emotions were the fuel that Qi clan was using to face Fang Yuan at the moment. Fang Yuan was only a rank 8 Gu immortal. They believed that as long as they obtained a rank 9 killer move, they would be able to defeat Fang Yuan, or at least, make him wary of their battle strength. They would be able to negotiate. Fang Yuan came to Bai Ningbing's side as he instilled his will into the Heaven Form killer move. Inside the Heaven Form killer move, there was a lump of stubborn Heaven's will that remained steady as a fortress, having the greatest defense. Below this Heaven's will fortress were countless wills. A vast sea of wills. The bet had been undergone time and time again. A large number of Gu immortals had left their wills behind. There were strong rank 8 Gu immortals like the 5 Xiangs. There were also rank 7 elites like Ni clan's Gu immortal and Air. Such an accumulation was not strange. But what made Fang Yuan surprised was that these wills were not moving. They seemed dead like rocks, staying completely still. Only these newly entered wills were moving around like dragons, fighting above the sea of wills. 3 of the 5 Gu immortal wills of Qi clan went to deal with Bai Ningbing's will. The remaining 2 attacked the Heaven's Will Fortress at the top. That is the central area of the killer move Heaven Form. Whoever refines it will become the owner of Heaven Form. Demon Fang Yuan's will also came in. Persevere. We cannot relax now. We are about to succeed. This is the hard work of our Qi clan after countless years. For this moment, we have sacrificed too much. We cannot let the outsider Fang Yuan win. The Qi clan Gu immortals conversed. They spurred each other on. Their morale was at its peak. Actually, they had no other choice. Fang Yuan's ruthless nature was known to all. If they did not manage to refine this rank 9 killer move, they would definitely end up in pitiful states. Without hesitation, Fang Yuan's will charged up. His will gathered into a lump and moved like a soaring dragon. The wills of 3 Qi clan Gu immortals cooperated, but they could not resist Fang Yuan's fierce assault. They were retreating continuously. They were just Qi path Gu immortals after all, while Fang Yuan had a huge advantage in this aspect. Persevere. Regardless of the price we have to pay, we need to stall for time. Quickly attack and take down the central control area. As long as we can obtain this killer move, we might be able to kill this Supreme Demon King and eradicate him for good. We might be able to obtain a large number of venerable true inheritances. Even if we cannot stop him, we need to expend his will so that he cannot take down the Heaven's Will Fortress at the top. Qi clan's Gu immortals were all standing together, resisting Fang Yuan desperately and courageously while feeling anxiety, fear, and panic. Fang Yuan frowned. He found that his will could not be instilled endlessly. After reaching a certain amount, he could not send any more. Furthermore, when his will was instilled, his main body could only watch as the wills fought. Thus, his vast number of wisdom path methods could not work here. Heaven Form was rank 9, while Fang Yuan's wisdom path methods were just rank 8 at best. Even if they could affect the killer move Heaven Form, Fang Yuan did not want to try them. If he triggered the counterattack of the killer move, that would be a problem. Even if there was no counterattack, destroying Heaven Form would also make him lose the greatest treasure here. Qi clan's Gu immortals needed Heaven Form to deal with Fang Yuan and protect themselves. Fang Yuan also wanted Heaven Form greatly, because he needed more strength to deal with the obstacles from Heavenly Court in the River of Time. Thus, both sides had to compete using the most basic form of attacking through their wills. In this regard, Fang Yuan was deeply experienced. After suffering at the hands of Miao, he had practiced tirelessly to remove this weakness. It was his advantage now. Qi Clan's Gu Immortals were not Fang Yuan's match, but they had strength in numbers. Their cumulative will was much greater than Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. As time passed, Fang Yuan's advantage grew, but he could not turn this advantage into victory. The Qi Clan Gu Immortals were resisting him stubbornly. They were outperforming themselves. In fact, Fang Yuan still had one worry left. It was Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing had once backstabbed him. She was an unstable element in this situation. But thankfully, the Heaven's Will Fortress at the top was very strong and did not waver. No matter how Qi Clan's Gu Immortals attacked it, there were no traces of it breaking down. Fang Yuan started to feel troubled. At this rate, even if he got past or destroyed the Qi Clan Gu Immortals' wills, he might not have enough will left to deal with the Heaven's Will at the center. Time and again, Qi Clan's wills retreated while Fang Yuan's will moved like a dragon, coiling around Qi Clan's wills, encircling them. Qi Clan's wills were shocked. If Fang Yuan destroyed their encircled wills, they would be in deeper trouble. They would not be able to stop Fang Yuan from leaving. Thus, the wills that had just dispersed gathered together again as they charged at Fang Yuan. Bai Ningbing, block them. Fang Yuan rapidly ordered. Bai Ningbing's will was like an ice wall. It stabbed into the battlefield, but it defended Qi Clan's wills as it started to attack Fang Yuan. Qi Clan's wills were greatly shocked. At the crucial moment, Bai Ningbing had betrayed him. Fang Yuan's will was caught off guard by Bai Ningbing. He was very angry. Qi Clan's wills observed for a moment and became very happy. They attacked Fang Yuan from another direction. Fang Yuan's will continued to reduce in size. He had to give up on taking down Qi Clan's wills. Bai Ningbing, you traitor, I will not forgive you. Fang Yuan's will roared, but the outcome was decided. He had to escape with his remaining will. Fang Yuan, with your personality, after getting heaven form, won't you deal with me? I am the descendant of Bai Xiang. Heaven form killer move is my fortuitous encounter. Ha ha. Bai Ningbing's will laughed maniacally. This is a great chance. After defeating you here, my entire life will become dazzling and hopeful as a result. One Bai Ningbing did not want to let Fang Yuan's will off. She chased after him. Fang Yuan's will could only escape. What are you all waiting for? Come and help. Bai Ningbing's will roared at Qi Clan's wills. Qi Clan's wills were also heavily damaged. After thinking for a bit, Qi Fa's will shouted. Don't move. There might be a trap. Let them fight it out. Fang Yuan's will was attacked by Bai Ningbing's will and was terribly damaged. It was much smaller than Bai Ningbing's will now. Eventually, she encircled him and fought until he was completely exterminated. To think that the demon Fang Yuan would be the first to fall. No matter how vigilant he was, he could not defend against an internal threat. Ha ha, this is the rise of our Qi clan. This is a great opportunity. Let's go, we must exterminate Bai Ningbing's will too. Qi clan's wills attacked again. Even though Bai Ningbing's will resisted stubbornly, two fists could not rival four palms. She was eventually wiped out as well. We succeeded. Heaven form is ours. Qi clan's wills were drowning in joy. Now that they had no enemies left, they gathered and attacked the Heaven's Will Fortress. Boom. At once, an explosion occurred at the Heaven's Will Fortress. A large amount of Heaven's Will gushed out like uncaged beasts, attacking Qi clan's wills. All along, this Heaven's Will had been defensive in nature. Qi clan's wills were deceived and forgot that it could move freely. Heaven's Will's retaliation was a huge surprise to Qi clan's wills. They suffered huge losses. How can there be so much Heaven's Will? Impossible. Heaven's Will is crafty. It deceived us of its strength. I am unresigned. Quickly resist it. We cannot afford to lose. Qi clan's wills were determined and went all in. From a dangerous situation, they gradually stabilized it and eventually managed to gain the advantage over Heaven's Will. When there was little Heaven's Will left, the core was exposed, awaiting its new owner. We finally won. A moment later, Qi clan's wills were about to cry from joy. They only had a bit of will left, but Heaven's Will was finally gone. I'm afraid not. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's will appeared again. Qi clan's wills were shocked. They started shouting. You were already eliminated, right? Impossible. You already used up your will. Normally, you will need 1,000 years before you can send your will in again. Did you unravel this rank 9 killer move? No way. This is a rank 9 killer move originating from thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Fang Yuan's will snickered, but he did not explain. He attacked. Qi clan's wills were like tiny rabbits. Fang Yuan attacked them like a fierce tiger, easily getting rid of them without much obstruction. And next, Fang Yuan's will replaced Heaven's Will and went into the core area. He was the final victor. Opening his eyes, he saw the 5 Qi Clan Gu Immortals escaping in a panic. Fang Yuan did not stop them. This Immortal Gu house and public blessed land had the 5 Xiangs arrangements. They would definitely stop him if he attacked. Bai Ningbing stood by Fang Yuan's side motionlessly. She did not have any intentions of escaping. Everything that happened was part of Fang Yuan's plan. He purposely orchestrated a show, having Bai Ningbing betray him. He wanted to deceive not just Qi Clan's Gu Immortals, but also Heaven's Will. Fang Yuan had much more experience against Heaven's Will than Qi Clan's Gu Immortals. He deduced that Heaven's Will had a lot of battle strength remaining. Even if he defeated Qi Clan's wills, he would not be the match of Heaven's Will. Thus, he purposely backed off and hid away a portion of his will. Of course, Bai Ningbing's will was truly wiped out. The advantage of this was that other than tricking Qi Clan's Gu Immortals, he could prevent her from doing anything at the most crucial moment. The wills of Qi Clan's Gu Immortals were already weakened by Fang Yuan earlier. Because they were facing huge problems and pressure, they were unable to see through Fang Yuan's plot. It was difficult indeed. When wills thought about things, they would be expended. The smaller the will, the less it could think. Qi Clan's Gu Immortals also had to ensure that they had enough strength left to deal with Heaven's Will. The outcome was as Fang Yuan predicted. He was the final winner. Heaven form was under Fang Yuan's control. At this moment, he did not inspect. He turned to look at Bai Ningbing with a deep gaze. "Oh, Bai Ningbing, are you really not going to run?" Fang Yuan's eyes burst out with killing intent. Bai Ningbing's value had been squeezed out. She was not like shadow sex members. She was not under Fang Yuan's control. Since he obtained heaven form, it was time to settle this problem. The atmosphere was tense. Fang Yuan's killing intent was rising. They were about to fight at any moment. Evidently, Fang Yuan was not someone Bai Ningbing could defeat at the moment. Even though the killer move by Xiang was a powerful move that had once terrorized Southern Border's Gu Immortal world, Bai Ningbing's cultivation level was too low now. Her foundation was far weaker than Fang Yuan. If they fought, Bai Ningbing would die for sure. Chapter 1641. Very interesting. Facing Fang Yuan's immense killing intent, Bai Ningbing smiled as she looked towards Fang Yuan straight in the eye, asking in return, "Why should I run?" After pausing for a moment, she said, "Qi Clan's Gu Immortals escaped. That is because they don't know you. We are both from Qingmao Mountain. With my understanding of you, how could they escape? Hee. Since I cannot escape, what's the point of running? Not only will I not escape, on the contrary, I will join Shadow Sect." Fang Yuan frowned. "I had thought of that, but your Bai Xiang killer move is too amazing. It can free you from almost any alliance agreement." The uniqueness of Bai Xiang was that it turned the Gu Immortal into a unique existence. Even a tiny fragment could regenerate and be reborn. The essence of alliance agreements were information path down marks. Bai Ningbing could make use of Bai Xiang to self-mutilate and get rid of her information path down marks, negating her alliance agreements. Thus, Bai Xiang was also used for healing, to get rid of unwanted down marks in the body. Indeed, facing Fang Yuan's deep wariness, Bai Ningbing laughed, not caring about her own safety. "But isn't that more exciting?" Fang Yuan snorted, saying in displeasure, "I am not you, Bai Ningbing." Bai Ningbing nodded. She stopped smiling as brilliance flashed in her dragon eyes. "Indeed, I have been pursuing excitement all along. This is why I admire you, Fang Yuan. Your life is truly exciting. It is so thrilling. Every time you plot, every time you succeed, or even every time you fail, they are filled with excitement. Especially earlier when you were ambushed by Heavenly Court and had to escape like a dog. It was truly the most thrilling experience. The other Shadow Sect members cannot understand my feelings. Some just want to save Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Some feel fear and panic. Some feel immense pressure. But what I feel is excitement and thrill. The bigger the problems, the bigger the troubles, the more exciting life is, isn't that right? Others might not know me, but I am sure that you understand me, right?" Bai Ningbing stared at Fang Yuan's eyes with a bright gaze. Fang Yuan was silent. Back then, on Qingmao Mountain, he had deduced that Bai Ningbing was a true demon. He was not wrong. That was exactly who she was. To pursue the excitement of life, she could give up anything, even her life. The values and moral concepts of normal people, the complexities of love and hatred, they were all unrelated to her. She was different from the norm. Her worldview was vastly different. She only walked on her own path. She followed her own desires. She did not care about life and death. In fact, Bai Ningbing and Fang Yuan were very similar. They were the same kind, only that they pursued different goals. Fang Yuan pursued eternal life. He was willing to sacrifice anything, including himself. Even if he failed and died along the way, he would feel happy and content. Because he lived pursuing his dreams, he felt a sense of satisfaction and enjoyment towards life. One Bai Ningbing said that Fang Yuan understood her. She was absolutely right. It was the same as how she understood Fang Yuan. The saying goes, heroes admired each other. It was the same for demons. Fang Yuan's killing intent gradually faded away. His killing intent was only a facade. The truth was, he did not really have much killing intent. Why should he kill Bai Ningbing? Fang Yuan's strength far surpassed Bai Ningbing. Her threat was very low to Fang Yuan. Too sometimes, when he saw Bai Ningbing, Fang Yuan could see his own reflection. True demons like them were too rare. Meeting one was a form of luck. It was a form of affirmation towards their goals. Because of their similarity, they recognized each other. They acknowledged each other. Thus, back then, when Bai Ningbing gave up her life to save Fang Yuan, she said her final words, asking Fang Yuan to live in her place and witness the excitement of life. Bai Ningbing had felt that Fang Yuan could take her place to a certain extent. Sometimes, Fang Yuan thought about it. If he and Bai Ningbing exchanged identities, would he have made the same choice as her? Ha ha. Bai Ningbing suddenly raised her head and laughed. I can give all of Baixiang Grotto-Heaven's resources to you. But I want the Gu worms from Baixiang's true inheritance. I am willing to join Shadow Sect because facing Heavenly Court is truly exciting. This was your excitement, but it will become mine as well. In that case, there are 3 possible outcomes. Bai Ningbing squinted, excitement flashing in her eyes. There was a light of insanity. The first possibility, you get killed by Heavenly Court. With your strength, even if you get killed, it will be in an incredible manner. Your struggle before death will definitely be a climax. By witnessing your death, it will be the greatest experience of my life. The second possibility, Heavenly Court gets defeated or even destroyed by you. That is definitely exciting beyond belief. The number 1 force of human history falling like a crashing meteor, it will create the greatest sparks in this world. And the third possibility, the one I anticipate the most, because it is the most thrilling. You and Heavenly Court get into a deadlock. Both sides suffer losses. In that case, I will stay by your side. I will have the supreme chance to find an opportunity. I might even emerge as the victor. Both you and Heavenly Court will become my stepping stones. Fang Yuan looked at Bai Ningbing calmly. He said with a cold and expressionless face, if I kill you now, all 3 possibilities will vanish. Yes, yes, Bai Ningbing frowned. She became a little dejected. Her gaze flickered and her tone became heavy. That is true. If I die now, even though I will resist to the utmost, our strength is too vastly different. There will be little excitement in the battle. But if that is your choice, I will accept it. She smiled, shrugging. I am just too weak. I have to accept that fate. This cruelty of life is also exciting, isn't it? Hee hee hee. Death was not scary for Bai Ningbing. She was a lunatic, but also logical and calm. Such a person was the scariest. But someone even scarier than her was standing right in front of her. One, it was the demonic path overlord Fang Yuan who made both Heaven's will and Heavenly Court helpless to deal with. Fang Yuan smiled as he laughed. Very interesting. Bai Ningbing was a very interesting person. Right now, Bai Ningbing was weak and was subject to Fang Yuan's mercy. She did not try persuading him to spare her. She said the opposite, even exposing her own threat to Fang Yuan. This was because she understood Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was a person who kept a clear mind. He had already analyzed the benefits and costs of keeping her life. Once he made up his mind, it was useless no matter what was said. Even without Bai Ningbing's words, Fang Yuan knew that he needed all the strength he could get to face Heavenly Court and obtain Red Lotus true inheritance. Bai Ningbing was a precious source of battle strength. Even if she was given a chance to betray him, so what? A blade was naturally able to harm oneself. But if he threw this blade away and fought empty-handed, was that not a stupid move? It was up to Fang Yuan's abilities to make good use of this blade and prevent her betrayal. If I am too useless and Bai Ningbing's betrayal succeeds, I can only blame myself, isn't that right? One thinking of this, Fang Yuan laughed. Oh Bai Ningbing, you are truly someone I admire. I will not kill you now. Follow me, witness my failure or success. If I die at your hands, that will be quite a show. But now, display your worth to me. Bring me the heads of Qi Clan's Gu Immortals, and also their Qi Si Grotto-Heaven. 1. Chapter 1642, Blood Revenge inside Rank 9 Killer Move Heaven form. Fang Yuan's will moved like a dragon, coiling in the air as he charged down abruptly. Rumble. Fang Yuan's will descended like a meteor, crashing into the bottom of the Sea of Wills, exterminating a large amount of them in an instant. However, this Sea of Will was truly huge. Fang Yuan's attack only destroyed a small portion of them. Even though I won and occupied the Killer Move's core area, this place is filled with the wills of the 5 Xiang's descendants. Only after I exterminate them all can I truly activate this Rank 9 Killer Move. This Sea of Will was colossal. And the bigger problem was, these wills were affected by the Rank 9 Killer Move and were as sturdy as rocks. Many of Fang Yuan's methods could not work on them. Under the influence of the Rank 9 Killer Move, he had a limited number of methods to use. Fang Yuan suddenly had a thought as he instilled a new tide of will. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The will gathered into swords as countless will swords shot down like rain, stabbing into the Sea of Wills and creating huge pits. In a while, a layer of this Sea of Wills was eradicated. Compared to the earlier Will Dragon, this rain of will swords had far more terrifying power. Fang Yuan saw this and sighed deeply. as expected of rank 8 Immortal Gu Wisdom Sword. He had rank 8 cultivation level now. He could use this Gu. Even though it was a sword path Immortal Gu, it was closely related to wisdom path. Fang Yuan used it as the core to deduce a simple move that could summon a large amount of sword will. Using these sword wills to attack the Sea of Wills was the most effective method that Fang Yuan had tried. But if he did that, his investments would be very high. Wisdom Sword Immortal Gu was a rank 8 Gu. It expended White Lychee Immortal Essence, and the Immortal Killer move with it would cause a lot of Immortal Essence expenditure. But Fang Yuan calculated and found that he could accept this expenditure. After all, he was affluent. His Immortal Aperture management was a rising gold mine. During the battle in the River of Time, even though Fang Yuan escaped and ruined Heavenly Court's plan of killing him, his losses were severe. The destruction of the incomplete Immortal Gu house was extremely painful to him, even now. This incomplete Immortal Gu house was created by Fang Yuan after capturing many Southern Border Gu Immortals and obtaining their Immortal Gu. He went through transactions and negotiations with Southern Border's righteous path, eventually extorting enough Immortal Gu for the assembly. Fang Yuan had spent a lot of effort to do this. Even though he spent so much time on it, it was destroyed. I hope this Heaven Form killer move can be of use to me. Fang Yuan was deeply anticipating what Heaven Form could bring to him. For ordinary killer moves, Fang Yuan could investigate and deduce their abilities. But this killer move was rank 9. It was too profound. Fang Yuan could not comprehend it. This was Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's creation. He was specialized in Space Path and Theft Path. Even if this was not an offensive move, it had an incredible effect for sure. Even though Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable did not explain anything about this move, Fang Yuan could deduce some things from other aspects. Like Shadow Sect's attitude. Shadow Sect's old man, Yanshi, specially helped by Ning Bing for the sake of getting Heaven Form. Old man Yanshi was a Wisdom Path grade expert. He might have found out something. This Heaven Form killer move must be very useful to Shadow Sect. Fang Yuan was the current leader of Shadow Sect. This Heaven Form killer move was definitely going to be beneficial to him. Other than getting rid of the Sea of Wills, Fang Yuan also broke the 5 Xiang seal and obtained the Immortal Gu house at the peak of the mountain, as well as this public Grotto-Heaven. This Grotto-Heaven only opened once in 1,000 years. It had abundant resources. Clan's Gu Immortals were too busy fleeing. They could not obtain any of these resources, so they all became Fang Yuan's resources. Boom. The huge explosion tore Bai Ning Bing to pieces. But at the next moment, her Bai Xiang form gathered again and charged at Clan's Gu Immortals. Clan's Gu Immortals had ugly expressions. They saw how terrifying the killer move Bai Xiang was. Bai Ning Bing had this move active. She was almost undying. Even so, right now, she was not fighting alone. Ying Wuxie and He Lulan were also helping her. Even though Fang Yuan wanted Bai Ning Bing to kill these Clan Gu Immortals, he knew her limits. She did not even have the most crucial Immortal Battlefield killer move. Fang Yuan had already set up an Immortal formation in ambush. Ever since he captured the Southern Border Righteous Path Immortals, he started to love this method. Once Clan's Gu Immortals entered, they were stripped of their freedom by the Immortal formation. They could not escape. They had to fight Bai Ning Bing. With a painful scream, the youngest Clan Gu Immortal was fatally injured by Bai Ning Bing and died. My turn. Ying Wuxie was already prepared. He immediately moved and captured the Clan Gu Immortal's soul, trapping it in the formation. The remaining Clan Gu Immortals shouted in anger as they retaliated fiercely. Bai Ning Bing was broken into fragments again, but she revived in a few breaths of time, reforming into Bai Xiang again. Even though there were many Clan Gu Immortals who had high battle strength, they all revealed expressions of despair now. Because they knew that Bai Ning Bing could not be killed, while they were trapped here, they would eventually lose in this battle of attrition. 3. What do we do? Bai Ning Bing is too troublesome to deal with. And most importantly, this Fang Yuan is too vicious. He actually set this formation near the entrance of our Grotto-Heaven. Clan's Gu Immortals had been very vigilant, but when they were near their base, they were captured. They did not know that Fang Yuan had killed Zai. Even though he did not enter the 5 Xiang Grotto-Heaven, he knew the details of Grotto-Heaven. This Grotto-Heaven was the immortal aperture of Xiang in the past. After being placed in White Heaven, it could not move anymore. It had stayed there all along. Fang Yuan used this intel to set up the immortal formation secretly, managing to trap the clan members. At this rate, we are bound to lose. Stall. I don't believe that her Bai Xiang killer move is so strong. Does it not have any cost or backlash? Don't forget about Fang Yuan. If he gets here, we are not in the Immortal Gu house. The 5 Xiang seal cannot stop him. We cannot break out of the immortal formation. We need to let Ping Su come out and cooperate with us to break this formation. No. Qi Ping Su is the only person left in the base. If he comes out, he will need to open the entrance. Shadow Sect would be able to use that chance. 1. Fang Yuan might be nearby waiting for the Grotto-Heaven to open already, so that he can charge in. Fang Yuan did not come, but his fearsomeness and craftiness was etched into everyone's hearts. The Qi Clan Gu immortals felt deep pressure and started to be flustered. At the same time, in Central Continent, a young man was standing quietly, looking at the Immortal Gu in front of him. This young man had a mature and experienced expression. It showed that he had gone through many hurdles in his life. This was none other than Gu Yufangzheng. Gu Yufangzheng was originally going to be executed by Immortal Crane Sect, but Fang Yuan plotted and faked his death, making him live in Langya Blessed Land. Fangzheng lived in a place where he was ostracized by hairy men. He had experienced a long period of wars and conflicts, being in danger at all times. He was also often in situations where his life was on the line. After all of these experiences, he was no longer the same as before. He had truly matured. After that, when Heavenly Court attacked Langya Blessed Land, because of Gu Yufangzheng's unique identity, he was saved by Feng Jiuge. After that, he returned to Central Continent. If I am not wrong, this is a blood path Immortal Gu? Fangzheng looked at the Gu immortal before him as he showed a mocking smile. You want me to cultivate blood path, become a demonic path Gu immortal, and deal with Gu Yufang Yuan? This is the decision of Immortal Crane Sect, a righteous path sect. One Immortal Crane Sect's rank 6 Gu immortal fan, Shi Lu frowned slightly as he chuckled. Regardless of what strength it is, if you use it righteously, it is righteous. If you use it for evil, it is demonic. Don't you understand this? For example, I cultivate poison path, but I can still help the people of this world. You can do the same with blood path. Gu Yufangzheng shook his head. Me cultivating blood path is only for the sake of dealing with Fang Yuan effectively. After all, we are blood brothers. Even though Fang Yuan had the sovereign immortal body, his time path clone was still blood related to Fangzheng. Fan Shilu nodded. That is the case indeed. Don't you want to take revenge? After all, he slaughtered all of your clansmen in Guyu village. Gu Yufangzheng sighed deeply. Even though he had a young face, his gaze was deep with the vicissitudes of life. So many years have passed. To speak the truth, even though I still hate him, I understand him already. I have thought about it. I was very childish and ignorant when I was young. Fang Yuan had taken care of me greatly. In contrast, my uncle and aunt had treated me as a pawn and made use of me. Should I take revenge for such people? I do not want to. 2. Of course, the clan leader and Gu Yuqing Shu had taken good care of me. They helped to nurture me. I am very willing to take revenge for them. 3. But I am tired now. Sigh. The cycle of killing each other continues endlessly over time. I do not want revenge anymore. Fan Shilu's expression did not change. It seems that these years, you have truly experienced a lot of things. Gu Yufangzheng looked at him. His mocking smile became wider. The irony is that when I wanted to take revenge, the sect did not support me and even wanted to eliminate me. But when I gave up on revenge, you all saved me and supported my revenge. Speaking of this, Gu Yufangzheng looked at the blood path Immortal Gu, having an eerie gaze. And I know that I have no choice. I can only accept this. Fan Shilu assessed Fangzheng once again. A surprise flashed in his eyes as he smiled lightly. Is it really fine to speak so openly about this? Does it really matter? I know that with your methods, I cannot hide any thoughts from you. Isn't that right? Saying so, Fangzheng stretched out his arm, holding that Gu as he asked, what is this Gu's name? Blood Revenge. Chapter 1643, Grotto-Heaven Changes Owners, by Ning Bing. Don't go overboard. Qi Clan's Gu immortal leader Qi Fa shouted in anger. Bai Ning Bing was laughing coldly in her mind. Bai Xiang tore through the sky, flashing past Qi Fa as Qi Jin's corpse was left behind, frozen in ice. His expression of fear before dying was perfectly preserved, vividly shown within the ice. Boom boom boom. Qi Path killer moves burst out endlessly. Bai Xiang dodged a portion of them. Some were intercepted by the immortal formation, while the rest tore Bai Xiang to shreds. But immediately, it regenerated to perfection. This scene made the Qi Clan Gu immortals feel a deep chill down their spines. After an intense battle, 3 of the 5 Qi Clan Gu immortals had died. Only Qi Fa and Qi Kai were left. Damn it, Bai Xiang is too powerful. We cannot deal with it in this situation. Qi Fa gritted his teeth. This super immortal formation is the biggest problem. Without it, we would have escaped already. Qi Kai looked at Qi Fa with bloodshot eyes, pointing out the truth. Qi Fa was silent. Qi Kai was right. Even though the killer move by Xiang was strong, couldn't they simply run from it if they could not beat it? The sky was vast. There was no need to face Bai Ning Bing directly. But it was too difficult to break out of this immortal formation. At least for Qi Fa and Qi Kai, they had been trying since the start, but had obtained no fruits of success. Qi Fa sighed. You are right. Let's call Qi Pingsu to help. Qi Pingsu only had rank 6 cultivation level. He was staying behind to guard Qi clan's base, Qi Si Grotto-Heaven. But now, they had to ask him to come out and join forces with them. As long as they could destroy a bit of this immortal formation, they would be rescued. But if they did that, they would fall into Fang Yuan's trap. Fang Yuan had purposely made sure the immortal formation did not block transmissions. He wanted to lure Qi Pingsu out of the Grotto-Heaven. Qi Fa knew this, so for the entire duration of the battle, he did not want to get help from Qi Pingsu. But now, they were in a desperate situation. If they did not ask him to come out, they would lose their lives. Qi Pingsu was already waiting to move. Once he received orders, he opened the Immortal Aperture's entrance. Bai Ningbing was overjoyed. They finally did it. Saying so, she teleported away using the formation, rushing into the Immortal Aperture's entrance. Oh no! Qi Pingsu had just wanted to go out when Bai Ningbing charged in. Without a choice, he had to retreat. Qi Si Grotto-Heaven was huge. It was covered in white clouds and had strong winds. The moment Bai Ningbing entered, she felt a strong pressure. Her strength was heavily suppressed by the vast Qi path down marks in this place. But Bai Xiang was still extremely powerful. Bai Ningbing and Qi Pingsu fought intensely, and she soon gained the upper hand. Qi Pingsu only had rank 6 cultivation level. His legs were crippled, and he had injuries in his body. He could not beat Bai Ningbing. He quickly retreated with his territorial advantage in this place. He soon vanished into the white clouds. Bai Ningbing furrowed her brows. The situation was slightly troublesome. She did not kill Qi Pingsu earlier. How could she find this person in this huge Grotto-Heaven now? Even if she found him, what if he runs away again? Suddenly, Bai Ningbing raised her head. She saw that a thick sea of clouds had formed above her head. An intense sense of danger alerted her in her mind. A fatal danger. Instantly, Bai Ningbing understood the severity of the situation. She quickly flew down like a falling meteor, descending rapidly. In her vision, the yellowish ground was getting larger and larger. Bai Ningbing's expression became solemn. The sense of danger in her heart was intensifying. Intense winds blew around her. She turned to look at the sky only to find the cloud sea expanding into the horizons. An intensely powerful killer move was nurturing from within it. At the same time, Qi Pingsu, who was in the cloud sea, looked at Qi Si Heavenly Spirit as he said joyfully, Qi Si Heavenly Spirit, you are awake. This timing is truly impeccable. Qi Si Heavenly Spirit had the appearance of a snow-white fawn. Its eyes were golden in color, extremely dazzling. I was roused and woke up. Since the last time I got injured, I needed to seal myself to stabilize my injuries. But this time, I sensed that an incredibly evil and strong existence is coming after the Grotto-Heaven. I had to wake up as a result, but this intruder is not that existence that I felt. Qi Pingsu was stunned. I know who that is. It must be Fang Yuan. Heavenly Spirit, you have sealed yourself for years. You do not know that a terrifying demonic path Gu Immortal had emerged. His name is Fang Yuan. Even Heavenly Court was helpless against him. Qi Si Heavenly Spirit was shocked. Even Heavenly Court was helpless? It must be him. Qi Pingsu pointed at Bai Ningbing, saying in extreme anger, this is Fang Yuan's subordinate. She has already killed 3 of our clan's Gu Immortals. Qi Si Heavenly Spirit was enraged. Killing intent surged in its golden eyes. An eye for an eye. They killed our Qi clan's bloodline. We will end her life as well. Saying so, an intense sound resounded as a huge white Qi pillar slammed down towards Bai Ningbing at a rapid speed from the cloud sea. At this instance, Bai Ningbing was shocked to find that there was a force all around her immobilizing her. She had all sorts of thoughts in her mind, but her body was unmoving, like a bug trapped in amber. So powerful. Even with all my strength, I cannot escape. Bai Ningbing raised her head. A white Qi pillar was slamming down at her like a giant mountain. This attack was clearly at rank 8 level. Even if Bai Ningbing had Bai Xiang, she could not escape. She was bound to die. But at this moment, a jade light sparkled out of nowhere. It burst out into countless spreading jade fireflies, dancing around the area. From within the jade green light, Fang Yuan emerged. It's him. Instantly, Qi Si Heavenly Spirit shook intensely, shouting in shock. Indeed, he is Fang Yuan. Qi Pingsu gulped, swallowing his saliva while feeling extremely nervous. Against the white Qi pillar, Fang Yuan's expression did not change. He only stretched out his finger. Swoosh! With a shrill sound, an intensely sharp and huge sword will surged up and pierced the white Qi pillar, cutting it into 2. The white Qi pillar dissipated. Qi Pingsu opened his mouth as he felt deeply shocked. I'm saved. Bai Ningbing was dazed before her lips curled up. She flew into the air and stood beside Fang Yuan. What move is this? Bai Ningbing looked up above her, saying hesitantly, don't tell me. It should be Qi Xiang's signature killer move, Unlimited Qi Si. This move is grand and vast. It is complex and ever-changing, capable of attacking and defending. Qi Xiang was renowned back in the day because of it. Fang Yuan agreed, having a solemn expression. Unlimited Qi Si was a rank 8 killer move. It used many Qi Path Immortal Gu as the cores, with tens of thousands of supplementary Gu worms. It could absorb all kinds of Qi in the world to increase its power. This killer move was quite unique. It had potential for growth on its own. After Qi Xiang created this move, he collected all sorts of Qi and stored them inside the Immortal Aperture, increasing the power of this move. Thankfully, Qi Xiang had died long ago, even though unlimited Qi Si was left in Qi Si Grotto-Heaven, because it was too powerful and without any rank 8 Gu immortals in Qi clan, the huge quantity of Qi had gradually dissipated. Until now, Fang Yuan was after Qi Si Grotto-Heaven. It alerted Qi Si Heavenly Spirit, and it barely managed to activate unlimited Qi Si. After so many years, it had finally been used again. Even though this move is powerful, Qi Xiang had died long ago. How much power can the Heavenly Spirit unleash with it? Hee. Fang Yuan snickered, suddenly flying into the sky, straight towards the cloud sea. Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth. She wanted to fight alongside Fang Yuan, but she quickly stopped herself wisely, showing regret on her face. She was too weak. She could not participate in a battle of such magnitude. Rumble. Bai Ningbing looked at the sky. The cloud sea was rumbling. After Fang Yuan went in, the waves became more turbulent, as if a tsunami had occurred in the white clouds. At the same time, thunderous explosions resounded endlessly. Life Qi, Death Qi, Sword Qi, Blade Qi, Dusk Qi, Dawn Qi. Bai Ningbing was dazzled from this view. All sorts of Qi gathered into countless forms. They were like plants, blades, swords, halberds, beasts and birds. They were all gathering right outside the Qi Sea, before charging in towards Fang Yuan for an intense battle. Fang Yuan initially felt huge pressure. He could barely move, but soon, he unraveled some of the mysteries of this killer move. Within the sovereign immortal aperture, his time path clone was sitting in front of Wisdom Gu, using the light of wisdom to deduce the information of unlimited Qi Si rapidly. After fighting for a while more, Fang Yuan's brows eased as he laughed heartily, starting his counterattack. Everywhere he went, all sorts of obstacles were taken down and destroyed. He was unstoppable. He charged all the way until he reached the Heavenly Spirit. Qi Si Heavenly Spirit had a tough requirement for ownership. Fang Yuan could not achieve it. That information was obtained from Qi Zai's soul. Meanwhile, Bloodlight Spirit Suppression could not work against a rank 8 level Heavenly Spirit. Thus, Fang Yuan went ahead to kill Qi Si Heavenly Spirit. The moment Qi Si Heavenly Spirit died, the unmanned unlimited Qi Si killer move immediately stopped. I surrender. Qi Ping Su's body shivered. He was completely subdued by Fang Yuan's overwhelming demonic aura. Fang Yuan looked at him coldly. You are quite smart. All right, if you want to live, get Qi Fa and Qi Kai to surrender to. Otherwise, you can all die together. Yes, yes. Qi Ping Su was filled with pressure. He was sent into the formation. Qi Fa and Qi Kai learned that Qi Si Grotto-Heaven was taken down. They lost all their motivation. After some hesitation, they surrendered with pale expressions, stopping their resistance. And now, from the 5 Xiangs bet, the prized rank 9 killer move heaven form, the public Grotto-Heaven of the 5 Xiangs, as well as Qi Si Grotto-Heaven were all obtained by Fang Yuan. Chapter 1644, Big Family, Qi Si Grotto-Heaven. Come, Fang Yuan's main body shouted as he stretched out his right arm, his 5 fingers grabbing at the unlimited Qi Si in front of him. Immediately, an orange-yellow Qi flowed out of unlimited Qi Si. This Qi was extremely special. It was shiny and lively, moving with a long trail behind it. The tip of the Qi had auspicious clouds circling around it. This was Luck Qi, a type of immortal material. Unlimited Qi Si had all sorts of Qi in it. Luck Qi was one of the rarer ones, because even in the 5 regions and 2 heavens, Luck Qi of such a scale was rarely seen. If a Gu immortal could find some, they were very lucky. Fang Yuan was dismantling the killer move Unlimited Qi Si now. This killer move was Qi Xiang's greatest trump card. It was similar to Fang Yuan's Luo Pa Seal and Reverse Flow Protection Seal. This Unlimited Qi Si killer move also used immortal materials. They were the myriad forms of Qi that he gathered. The more types of Qi gathered on large scales, the stronger Unlimited Qi Si was. Of course, not only would this move expend immortal essence, it also used up the stored Qi. Even if they were not used, as time passed, these Qi would naturally dissipate slowly. Thus, Fang Yuan had faced the Unlimited Qi Si killer move earlier when it was not at its peak. It was the 5th day now. Ever since he succeeded in taking down Qi Si Grotto-Heaven, he had been resting here. 2 days ago, he collated all of his gains. He also made enslavement agreements with the 3 Qi clan Gu Immortals, Qi Pingsu, Qi Fa, and Qi Kai. Some of the resources that could be moved into the sovereign immortal aperture were also dealt with by Ying Wuxia and the rest. Meanwhile, his own focus was on the killer move Unlimited Qi Si. This was a Qi Path killer move. It was not usable for Fang Yuan. Dismantling it would give him a vast amount of Qi. That was quite valuable. And most importantly, Fang Yuan could only deal with these Gu worms after dismantling the killer move. Otherwise, if he refined them rashly, he might face the backlash of the killer move. After all, this move was complete and extraordinary. I will need 3 more days to extract all of the Qi at this rate. After that, I will refine these immortal Gu. Fang Yuan planned inwardly. There were many mortal Gu worms used to construct Unlimited Qi Si killer move, but Fang Yuan did not really care about them. His focus was on the immortal Gu. There were 6 immortal Gu that made up this killer move. One was a rank 8 immortal Gu, called Big Qi. It was the core of the killer move. Other than that, there were some rank 7 and 6 Gu worms. Fang Yuan was paying the most attention to a rank 7 immortal Gu. It was called Big Family Qi. This Qi Path Gu worm could store all sorts of Qi, including the Qi of tribulations. The final point was crucial. Fang Yuan had once used many small family Qi Gu to store his tribulation Qi and help him to pass tribulations. As an immortal Gu, Big Family Qi had a much stronger ability in this aspect. With this immortal Gu, I will be able to store and release tribulation Qi. That is a superb method to deal with tribulations. If the calamities and tribulations are powerful, I will use this Gu to absorb the tribulation Qi and weaken it. If it is weak, I will release tribulation Qi to allow myself to gain more Dao marks in the end. Using this Gu, I can even absorb the heaven and earth Qi of the outside world and store it. When the sovereign immortal aperture needs it, I can release this Qi. This prevents me from needing to place my immortal aperture in order to absorb heaven and earth Qi and stabilize the sovereign immortal aperture. Different situations gave rise to different needs. It was not that a higher-ranked immortal Gu was necessarily more helpful to the Gu Immortal. In this case, rank 7 Big Family Qi was much more helpful to him than rank 8 Big Qi. Refining these Qi Path immortal Gu would expend Fang Yuan's time and energy. But there was no difficulty thanks to Fang Yuan's quasi-supreme Grandmaster attainment level in Refinement Path and Theft Path Great Grandmaster attainment level, as well as Great Thief Ghost Hand and other methods like what Fang Yuan anticipated. A few days later, he absorbed all of the Qi here. These Qi were all stored in different ways. Those that Fang Yuan could not keep were sold in Treasure Yellow Heaven directly, not only these Qi. Some of the resources inside Qi Si Grotto-Heaven and the 5 Xiang's public Grotto-Heaven were sold by Fang Yuan to exchange for resources he needed. Normally, he traded goods for goods. There were few transactions involving Immortal Essence Stones. Because Fang Yuan had advanced to rank 8, he had White Lychee Immortal Essence now. 1 bead of White Lychee Immortal Essence was in some sense 100 beads of Red Date Immortal Essence, which was 10,000 beads of Green Grape Immortal Essence. That was to say, 10,000 Immortal Essence Stones could be converted into 1 White Lychee Immortal Essence bead. The conversion rate was simply too bad. Thus, in most cases, rank 8 Gu Immortals produced their own beads of Immortal Essence and stored them. Fang Yuan's sovereign Immortal Aperture had abundant time path resources. He could produce beads of White Lychee Immortal Essence rapidly. He did not need external replenishment from Immortal Essence Stones, especially when this replenishment came at such a high and inefficient cost. Fang Yuan's cultivation resources were mostly traded for immortal materials, because he was going to mass refine Gu now. Right when Fang Yuan was focusing on refining the Qi Path Immortal Gu, Ying Wuxia secretly went to find him. He was no longer in a female body. He had changed to a body belonging to a Gu Immortal from Southern Borders Yang clan. They had compatible soul path Dao marks. In battle, Fang Yuan would also create some pure dream reality seeker physique bodies for him to use. Ying Wuxia said cautiously, "Sect leader, you have already refined all of the 3 Qi clan Gu Immortals Immortal Gu, but you returned and rented them out. That is a good way to control them. But why don't you use it on Bai Ningbing? Even though she is very useful to you now, that is only temporarily. Your ice and snow path attainment will increase in the future. Furthermore, Bai Ningbing possesses the killer move by Xiang. It is very powerful and threatening. Even if she joins Shadow Sect and undergoes the alliance agreement, she can easily break it without a problem. I might be out of line, but you seem to be too lenient with Bai Ningbing." Fang Yuan smiled as he shook his head. "That is because you don't understand her. She is a person who does not fear death. If I try that on her, she would rather die than surrender. Even though I have methods to retain most of her immortal Gu, what is the use of that? You've already seen it in the Battle of Reverse Flow River. I need manpower to restrain Heavenly Court's members. With your current strength, none of you can help me in this." Bai Ningbing, who has the killer move by Xiang, is very valuable. With her identity and circumstances, she cannot turn towards Heavenly Court. At the same time, she needs me to refine yin-yang rotation Immortal Gu and restore her male body. Fang Yuan had refinement path quasi-supreme attainment level, while Bai Ningbing had no confidence in refining the Immortal Gu herself. We are too useless. Ying Wuxia lowered his head. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. I understand your other intention. I will take care of you guys and raise your battle strength. In the past, Fang Yuan only had rank 7 cultivation level. He had to prioritize himself. But now, he was rank 8. Raising Ying Wuxia, He Lulan, and the others' battle strength was icing on the cake for Fang Yuan. Of course, there were other reasons. In the past, Fang Yuan had no time or energy for this, but now as a rank 8, even though he was weak against Heavenly Court, ordinary people could no longer find trouble with him. They even had to avoid him. And with Fang Yuan's powerful methods in blocking deductions, as long as he did not go to the River of Time, he was safe. In such a situation, Fang Yuan could calmly strengthen his subordinates. He had a strong feeling that these people would be useful in the future. Furthermore, raising their cultivation level was easy. He could mainly use time path methods to accelerate the time in their immortal apertures. Even if they had calamities and tribulations, he could help them to pass. Ying Wuxia obtained Fang Yuan's promise and left happily. Next, in his free time, Fang Yuan called He Lulan over. I'll show you someone. Fang Yuan took out the captive Gu Immortal He Cheng. One He Lulan stared with wide-opened eyes. She was furious, wanting to tear He Cheng to pieces. Even though He Cheng was her father, they had deep hatred between them. He Lulan did not act out of line. She watched as Fang Yuan stored He Cheng back into his immortal aperture. She breathed roughly with bloodshot eyes as she gritted her teeth and said, So He Cheng was in sect leader's hands the entire time. Are you thinking of recruiting him? Fang Yuan laughed heartily. Don't worry, compared to him, I hold you in higher regard. As long as you cultivate hard and accumulate some contributions, I am sure you will be able to take revenge one day. I understand. He Lulan looked at Fang Yuan. By now, she had already been far exceeded by him. This difference made her feel extremely helpless. Chapter 1645, Rank 7 Spring Autumn Cicada inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. The Gu refinement was at its most crucial point. The huge cicada was floating in the air, about 5 feet from the ground. The cicada's surface was not smooth, it was hairy and rough, while also having a metallic texture. Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, using his killer move that had been prepared for a long time. Instantly, winds blew around the cicada, dark clouds rumbled in the sky, gathering into one lump and turning the surroundings dim. Howl, howl, howl. Amidst waves of ghostly wails and the ground that was rotting into a pale white color, dark ghost hands emerged from the ground. They were thick and menacing, grabbing at the cicada. The ghost hands grabbed the cicada, but they were only illusory. The ghost hands moved around and took something out of the cicada before clenching into fists and retreating. Hundreds of dark ghost hands continued to extend from the ground, grabbing the cicada and removing the impurities from within it. The cicada was only a half-completed product. It was unstable and became smaller as the ghost hands grabbed at it. The surface slowly became smoother as the metallic surface became sharper and brighter. Fang Yuan had been paying attention deeply. Upon seeing this, he felt greatly satisfied. This method was his unique creation. It used rank 8 Soul Beast token as the core Immortal Gu. 1. In the last few times I refined Spring Autumn Cicada, flaws appeared here. The materials were not processed properly. By doing this now, I can get rid of the impurities, but some flaws will be left behind. The dark winds had stopped blowing. The dark ghost hands shrunk in number until none were left. The dark clouds in the sky became thicker and denser. The cicada was already half of its original size. Its body was shining in a metallic light, giving off a cold feeling. Fang Yuan took out a huge lump of fire calmly. This was the rank 8 Immortal Material Phoenix Song Flame. It was red and yellow in color, with 2 layers. The outside layer was yellow while the inside was red. The inner layer was shaped like a phoenix. It flew around while singing loudly. As the flames continued to burn, it emitted a crisp and wonderful melody. One go! Fang Yuan grunted as he tossed a basin-sized phoenix song flame onto the cicada's surface. Whoosh! A soft sound echoed as the flames spread, surrounding the entire cicada and setting it ablaze. At this moment, phoenix cries resounded in the clouds. Next, the sounds went soft but the flames became brighter, burning the cicada intensely. Fang Yuan held his breath, staring at the cicada without looking away. Traces of ghost chi started to emerge from the cicada's surface, but they were destroyed by the flames. This Gu refinement step was very difficult. The precision needed was extremely high and hard to manage. But Fang Yuan was sufficiently calm and patient. He waited until all of the ghost chi was destroyed and the surface of the cicada melted before he started the next method without panicking. Dragon roars resounded. A huge dragon-shaped blizzard landed on the surface of the cicada. The cicada's flames resisted it, but this dragon blizzard was too huge. Because it had Fang Yuan's support, it quickly gained the upper hand and suppressed the cicada in the middle of it. The phoenix song flame on the cicada was very stubborn. It only dissipated after a few hours. Meanwhile, the dragon blizzard transformed into a piece of ice and sealed the cicada. Currently, the cicada had shrunk to the size of only a palm. When the blizzard stopped, Fang Yuan carefully retrieved the frozen cicada. Next, he breathed out some warm air as the ice melted, revealing the cicada inside. The cicada seemed to be a work of art. It was very exquisite. Fang Yuan pinched the cicada with his fingers. Crack, crack. The cicada's surface started to crack. Next, a rank 7 spring autumn cicada awakened and flew out. Fang Yuan's gaze flashed with joy. It had not been easy. After so many failures, I've finally refined spring autumn cicada to rank 7. At this point, Fang Yuan had modified almost all of the refinement methods already. The Ghost Hand Purification method was created by fusing Great Thief Ghost Hand Killer Move and Soul Beast Token. Even though this method had great effect, it would easily leave Ghost Chi behind. Thus, Fang Yuan chose the rank 8 Immortal Material Phoenix Song Flame to get rid of the Ghost Chi and also temper the cicada. Eventually, he used the Dragon Blizzard, which was also not normal. It was actually a modification of the Slumbering Lightning Python Killer Move. Refinement Path had 4 publicly recognized strongest Immortal Killer moves to deal with immortal materials. One of them was Slumbering Lightning Python. Fang Yuan modified it into a Dragon Blizzard. It suited him more and was better for the Spring Autumn Cicada refinement. With all these reasons, his hard work paid off in the end. Fang Yuan succeeded in obtaining rank 7 Spring Autumn Cicada. With rank 7 Spring Autumn Cicada and my Time Path Great Grandmaster attainment level, I can totally use Spring Autumn Cicada as the core to deduce an immortal killer move and prevent getting into Heavenly Court's trap. Fang Yuan's gaze flickered with uncertainty. Last time, when he entered the River of Time, he was ambushed by Heavenly Court because they had used a method to deceive Spring Autumn Cicada. Back then, Spring Autumn Cicada was only rank 6. Now it was rank 7, and if he had a relevant immortal killer move, even if Heavenly Court used a rank 8 method to deceive Spring Autumn Cicada, they would not succeed easily. The best situation is to use rank 7 Spring Autumn Cicada as the core, along with a supplementary rank 8 Spring Gu, to create a rank 8 immortal killer move. When I enter the River of Time, I will not fear Heavenly Court's trap while also expanding my search range. Of course, the most straightforward way was to raise Spring Autumn Cicada to rank 8, but it was too hard. Currently, Fang Yuan could not refine rank 8 Immortal Gu. On one hand, even though he had extremely high refinement path attainment level, his foundation was shaky. His refinement path methods needed practice. On the other hand, he lacked finances. Back then, old ancestor Shui, who had expended all his wealth and the entire foundation of Snowy Mountain before he was able to try and refine rank 8 Immortal Gu fortune rivaling heaven. Of course, Fang Yuan's foundation was very deep now. Not to mention his countless fortuitous encounters, just his wealth after extorting the southern border experts and the inheritance of the 5 Xiangs. It could be said that his foundation rivaled some super forces now. One, he had many Immortal Gu. Even though he lost the incomplete Immortal Gu house, he still had dozens of them left. He had ample cultivation resources too of varying types. He did not just focus on one path. The only shortcoming was his weak subordinates. When He Lulan and the others reached rank 7, along with the 3 enslaved Qi Clan Gu Immortals, Fang Yuan would finally match a true super force. Even though he could not compare to Southern Borders Wu Clan or Western Deserts Fang Clan, he would still be first-rate, surpassing ordinary super forces, leagues above Chu Du's Chu tribe. I can give some rank 6 and 7 resources to Ing Wu Xie and the rest. Other than nurturing them, I need to refine Immortal Gu next. Most of the Immortal Gu that Fang Yuan was using extensively were still at rank 6. For example, Self-Strength, Pulling Mountain, Pulling Water, Strength Chi, Unravel Mystery, Dogshit Luck, Chi Luck, Luck Inspection, Connect Luck, Time Luck. And most importantly for now, Landscape as before, Man as before, and Day Gu. If he raised the ranks of these 3 Time Path Immortal Gu, Fang Yuan's battle strength in terms of Time Path would surge greatly. His current focus was truly on Time Path. Even though Sword Path, Soul Path, Wisdom Path, and others had huge room for improvement, when he fought in the River of Time, he would need Time Path methods. It is a pity that Langya's sect went to Longevity Heaven. My refinement path methods still need lots of work. If those Hairy Man Gu Immortals can help me refine Gu, I can save a lot of time and energy. Fang Yuan expressed deep regret towards this. He had made use of Lang Yi's sect too conveniently in the past. Now that they were gone, he had to work hard and expend great effort. Even though Fang Yuan did not mind the trouble, too much of his time was used, he was no longer as free as before. And refining Gu has a problem: the success rate. The refinement to raise an Immortal Gu's rank had low success rate. The higher the rank, the higher the chances of failure. Fang Yuan wanted to refine rank 7 Gu. It would be harder than creating rank 6. Once he fails, the original rank 6 Immortal Gu might even be destroyed. In that case, he would need to start over and refine the rank 6 before trying for 7 again. If the Immortal Gu is refined by someone else during the period of its destruction, he would truly lose everything. Chapter 1646. Fang Zheng's Immortal Ascension Central Continent. The sky was dark and gloomy. There was no wind. Gu Fang Zheng stood at a mountain peak. Looking at the sky, he felt a bit of nervousness thinking about his upcoming Immortal Ascension tribulation. Sensing his emotion, Fang Zheng laughed to himself, thinking, "Why am I nervous? Immortal Crane sect should be the nervous one, or rather, the heavenly court behind them. On the surface, there is only one rank 6 Gu Immortal in charge of guarding my ascension, but there must be many eyes watching me in secret. With these people around, what is there to worry about?" Even though Fang Zheng did not know why Central Continent wanted to support him, he had confirmed that he was valuable and of use to them. One in the past, he would not accept being a pawn like this. Back in Qingmao Mountain, Fang Yuan had hinted that he was used by his uncle and aunt as the tool to fight for the inheritance. This made Fang Zheng very angry. But now, Fang Zheng no longer felt anger towards this. In the last decade or so, Fang Zheng had experienced the war in Lang Yi Blessed Land's 3 continents. In order to nurture the most elite hairy man Gu immortals, the black-haired land spirit disregarded the price and made the hairy men of the 3 continent fight in an intense war. Fang Zheng was implicated. Surrounded by schemes and plots, bloodshed and war, Fang Zheng had made use of people and was also made use of. He gradually understood that sometimes becoming someone's pawn and being used was not a bad thing. At the very least, it proved his worth. If a person did not have value to even be a tool, then he was in danger. He would be discarded like a faulty tool. Of course, even though Fang Zheng had rank 5 Gu master strength, he also had experiences of being abandoned and betrayed. As a human living among the hairy men, it was natural to be ostracized and isolated. "We can begin." At this time, Fan Shilu's voice resounded in Fang Zheng's ears. Fan Shilu had rank 6 cultivation level. He was sent over by Immortal Crane sect to help Fang Zheng undergo tribulation. Fang Zheng nodded. He calmed down and looked inside him. His aperture was quickly seen. It was filled with primeval essence that showed his great talent, but his walls were filled with cracks. Anyone would feel nervous upon seeing it. After all, the aperture was the basis of a Gu master's cultivation. With so many cracks, it was definitely a severe issue. Fang Zheng was relatively calm now. His nervousness had vanished. In fact, during a battle in Lang Yi Blessed Land, he had used a forbidden technique while in a desperate situation. Even though he survived, his aperture was severely damaged and filled with cracks. His great aptitude fell to be great. Fang Zheng was saved by Feng Jiugu. After returning to Central Continent, his injuries in the aperture were healed. He returned to having a great aptitude. But the cracks in his aperture walls still remained. It was not that Heavenly Court could not heal him, but they left those for him to undergo his Immortal Ascension tribulation more easily. Fang Zheng observed his aperture. He had once felt extremely proud of his great talent, but after these life experiences, he no longer cared about aptitude so greatly. Right now, his gaze was stuck at the cracks in his aperture. To him, these were his achievements. He had gained these wounds from bloodshed and war. It was his glory. "Goodbye, my aperture," Fang Zheng muttered. As he willed, the primeval essence in his aperture surged and crashed into the surrounding walls. There were cracks in his aperture to begin with. It was not sturdy. Soon, the cracks intensified as holes formed. The complete aperture finally connected to the outside world. A mysterious power was forming. This power drew in the heaven and earth chi of the outside world. At once, dark clouds rumbled in the sky. The earth was shaking. Dust clouds were forming. At the same time, a formless heavenly power held up Fang Zheng and allowed him to float into the sky. Heaven's will. Fan Shilu, who was watching in concealment, sensed abundant heaven's will. Fang Zheng's tribulation had drawn the attention of heaven's will, far beyond normal. The calamities and tribulations started forming. A large amount of blood chi was converted from the heaven and earth chi. The dark clouds in the sky were quickly dyed red. The scale was huge. They could be seen from an enormous distance. Blood path tribulation. Joy flashed in Fan Shilu's eyes. The blood path tribulation was what the higher-ups wanted to see. Fang Zheng's aura started to spread out. This was his human chi. Every person had their own human qi. The scale was decided based on their foundation, talent, and abilities. Fan Shilu observed Fang Zheng carefully. Soon, he had a look of surprise on his face. Fang Zheng's human qi was extremely dense. It showed how much life experiences and foundation he possessed. One heaven qi was raining down while earth qi was bubbling up, both intertwined in the air with human qi. Fang Zheng had a solemn expression. He tried to control the three qi and balance them. The three qi had just started interacting, and now was the best time to get used to controlling them. Fang Zheng had received Fan Shilu's guidance. He was aware of this. But at this time, the calamities and tribulations were completed. A large amount of rain fell. These raindrops were all blood droplets. They were extremely bloody. As the blood rained down, white fog started to appear in the air. The white fog was quickly dyed red by the rain, turning the entire mountain into an eerie red color. Fang Zheng started to undergo tribulation. He put up his defenses and activated Gu worms to resist the blood rain. At this time, whenever he used a Gu worm, he would suffer a backlash. Soon, his Gu worms died from the backlash. This was also why Gu masters would often lose all of their Gu worms after Immortal Ascension. But Fang Zheng was supported by Heavenly Court and had deep preparation. He did not lack Gu worms. He calmed down and defended himself, not panicking. During Lang Ye Blessed Land's wars, he had experienced far more dangerous situations. He was adequately prepared for this. Fan Shilu was much more nervous than Fang Zheng. He stared at Fang Zheng without blinking. Rank 5 Gu masters usually had a lot of difficulty in their Immortal Ascension, because they not only had to deal with the calamities and tribulations, but also control the three qi and maintain balance between them. I can help you to block this blood rain tribulation for a while, but the balancing of the three qi will depend on you. Fang Zheng. Before the tribulation, I had given you ample training. You cannot fail at the crucial moment. Fan Shilu thought to himself as he started to disrupt the blood clouds, affecting their size and influence. Even though this blood rain tribulation was huge, it was not too overbearing. It seems that heavens will had done this intentionally. Fang Zheng's tribulation was peaceful, be it internally or externally. When the three qi fused properly, scenes of the past flashed in his mind as his body became tempered and elevated. Next, during the heaven and earth resonance, he entered the most crucial moment of this Immortal Ascension. During this period, he could gain natural inspiration and communicate with heaven and earth. This communication was extremely beneficial to any Gu master. Fang Zheng realized at this moment that blood path really suited himself. Time passed. The three qi condensed and formed into a lump of qi. Fang Zheng suddenly opened his eyes. He breathed in deeply and tossed a rank 5 blood path Gu into the lump of qi. Boom! A shocking sound exploded around him. The qi lump burst out and turned into an immortal aperture. Instantly, Fang Zheng's mind became blank. He was completely defenseless at this moment. A moment later, he regained his senses. He started to put his vital Gu and important Gu worms into his immortal aperture. The first one he put in was Blood Revenge Immortal Gu, of course, followed by a large number of Blood Path Mortal Gu. Within the immortal aperture, the three qi were conditioned and balanced. The world gradually stabilized. He obviously gained a high-grade blessed land. There was also a lot of heaven and earth qi remaining. Fang Zheng was overjoyed. These heaven and earth qi could raise his vital blood path mortal Gu into an immortal Gu. Even though this was dangerous and there would be following calamity or tribulation, Fang Zheng was courageous enough to choose this option. Fang Zheng, quickly let me in. I will help you with the tribulation. Fan Shilu transmitted. Fang Zheng frowned, showing displeasure. The immortal aperture was the most private area of the Gu Immortal. Fan Shilu was infringing on it. Fang Zheng felt a sense of anger. But immediately, Fang Zheng relaxed his brows. He opened the immortal aperture door and said plainly, "Sure, Fan Shilu, please enter." Fan Shilu was surprised. Fang Zheng had just become an immortal. The process was not over yet, but he had already changed his manner of speech with such a natural attitude. However, Heavenly Court seems to be nurturing Fang Zheng greatly for the sake of dealing with Fang Yuan. I am actually quite envious of him. Several hours later, Fang Zheng's tribulation was past. Fan Shilu's envy rose again. It was because Fang Zheng's vital Gu was successfully refined into his second blood path, Immortal Gu. Cold Blood Immortal Gu. Several days later, Immortal Crane Sect announced to the Gu Immortal world that Fang Zheng succeeded in his Immortal Ascension. He was once harmed by the vicious demon Fang Yuan. He was saved luckily and would now become one of the main forces of dealing with the demon Fang Yuan. Comment: due to Heavenly Court's intentional propagation, news spread throughout the 5 regions. Fang Yuan's reputation was hit. His situation of being deserted by family and kin was highlighted, while Heavenly Court promoted its own magnanimity. Several days later. Spirit Affinity Fairy, goodbye. Above the clouds, Fan Shilu smiled as he spoke to Zhao Linyun. Zhao Linyun smiled. Thanks for hosting. She heard that Fang Zheng succeeded in his tribulation, so she came to visit him. Unfortunately, Fang Zheng was not meeting anyone. He was hidden by Immortal Crane sect. Fan Shilu did not dare to be rude to Zhao Linyun. She was the current generation fairy of Spirit Affinity House. Even though she had rank 6 cultivation level, she controlled rank 9 Love Gu. One Fan Shilu assured. I will definitely pass your gift to Fang Zheng personally. Zhao Linyun nodded as she thanked him and flew away. Chapter 1647. Joint Suppression. Fang Zheng Blessed Land. His space path and time path resources were higher than normal. This was a high-grade blessed land. The terrain of the blessed land was mostly flat, but across some distance, there would be several tall, erected mountains. Fang Zheng's focus was currently fully on a valley. This valley was covered in weird rugged rocks. It was completely blood red. Upon entering it, one would notice that the valley was filled with bloodflower trees. There were tens of thousands of such trees. They were different from ordinary trees. They bore fruits before flowers. The fruits were the size of a baby's fist, round and smooth. The flowering only took an instant as the fruit shell would explode into a huge flower that was white and red. The flower was white at the base while the core of the flower resembled splattered blood. Each of these blood flowers had different colors and shapes. In Central Continent, there was once a time where Gu masters cultivated these blood flower trees on large scales. Each time they bloomed, the scene would be grand. There were even huge ceremonies just to lure these Gu masters to see them. But later, blood path was created and caused great problems to the world. Bloodflower trees were a basic Gu material in blood path. They were banned from being planted. Fang Zheng's bloodflower trees were all provided by Immortal Crane sect, or more accurately, by Fan Shilu as a proxy. This was the trick of the righteous path. Fang Zheng was already used to it, feeling no surprise. In the current 5 regions, blood path was outlawed by the righteous path, but ironically, the ones who truly researched blood path were these righteous path forces. These bloodflower trees are all mortal Gu materials, but as long as their numbers go up, I can use them in huge quantities. They will be equivalent to immortal materials. This is blood path's most unique advantage. These bloodflower trees that I have are also a source of immortal materials in a way. But now, I already have rank 6 blood path Immortal Gu Cold Blood and Blood Revenge. They need mortal blood path Gu to supplement them and form immortal killer moves. Fang Zheng understood that his focus now was to refine blood path Mortal Gu and practice the blood path immortal killer move that Fan Shilu imparted him. Because he had just ascended, the immortal aperture was very different from his original aperture. He needed time to adapt to it. After looking for a while, Fang Zheng retracted his attention to the real world. The joy and feeling of achievement from looking at his immortal aperture slowly faded. They were replaced by a feeling of pressure in his mind. Fang Yuan. Back in the real world, Fang Zheng could not help but think of his brother. These last days, he had not only undergone his immortal ascension, he had also obtained information about Fang Yuan from Fan Shilu. The information was much more detailed than what circulated in the outside world. It was from Heavenly Court. Fang Zheng learned about Fang Yuan's situation. As for the fact that Fang Yuan did not die, he had known that when he was saved and returned to Central Continent. But strangely, when he learned the truth, he did not feel any rage from being deceived. In contrast, the more he learned, the more sadness he felt in his heart. It turns out, I have never truly understood you. Fang Yuan. Otherworldly demon. Spring Autumn Cicada. Rank 8 cultivation level. The more he knew, the more minuscule he felt. The more he could feel Fang Yuan's terrifying strength. Thinking that he had to face such a person in the future, he felt a bit of depression and also a hint of despair. He faced the despair deep in his heart. He did not deny it or try to avoid it. Humans often said that a youth knows no fear. When one is young, they fear nothing and have strong drive and motivation. But after a person experiences a lot, they would learn about their own fears. Tigers would eat people, tiger claws would harm people. One's own strength was not as strong as they think. Imagination was wonderful, but only after facing reality would one feel pain, understanding the world and themselves during this painful process. When I was a rank 5 Gu master, I was engaged in the Hairy Man War in Langya Blessed Land. I lived a difficult life wandering about. But now as a Gu immortal, I am stuck between Fang Yuan and Heavenly Court, becoming a pawn. Even though my strength has grown greatly, my freedom has dwindled. I am facing greater danger now. I can die if any mishaps occur. Thinking of this, Fang Zheng smiled bitterly to himself. Even now, he did not know what value he had for Heavenly Court to put so much focus on him. Soon, he thought of Zhao Linyun. When he ascended, he received some congratulatory gifts. This was the custom of the 5 regions. Whenever a Gu master becomes an immortal, their friends and family, or even the forces they were friendly with, would send them gifts. Fang Zheng's gifts mostly came from Immortal Crane sect. Zhao Lianyun's one was quite memorable as a result. From Immortal Crane sect's information, Fang Zheng gained a deep understanding of Zhao Lianyun. You are also an otherworldly demon, although not completely. You look for me so proactively. I assume you want to join up and deal with Fang Yuan. Zhao Lianyun's gifts included a letter that expressed her goodwill, but she did not say much. Fang Zheng could tell what she wanted from her subtle words. Zhao Lianyun gave him one of the cultivation methods for growing a blood-type plant resource. It suited Fang Zheng. She even described her own cultivation experiences. Fang Zheng was very mindful of a certain paragraph. In Gu Immortal cultivation, combat is the path of domination, while Immortal aperture management is the path of supremacy. The two are complementary and necessary. Without enough battle strength and dominance, no matter how well the Immortal aperture is developed, one will only get bullied. They will hand over their hard-earned spoils to others. But if one has great battle strength and lacking Immortal aperture foundation, they will be like a blazing flame, only able to stay lit for some time. When they run out of firewood, they would only end up as smoke. Fang Zheng nodded to himself, thinking, other than this, her descriptions of the calamities and tribulations are also very useful. I can see that this Zhao Lianyun is very sincere. It is a pity that Immortal Crane sect is not allowing us to meet. What a pity indeed. Don't you think so, Fang Yuan? Saying so, Fang Zheng's gaze froze. In his early years, he was accompanied by his master Lord Sky Crane. Inside Langya Blessed Land, he was together with Fang Yuan's fake will. But now, in Central Continent, he was alone. Unknowingly, Fang Zheng had gotten used to accompaniment. Without you, I am not used to it. Fang Zheng shook his head and smiled bitterly. An indescribable sense of loneliness permeated in his heart. Heavenly Court. Fairy Wei smiled in joy. Fang Zheng has become a Gu Immortal, but he needs to raise his cultivation level to become a useful counter against Fang Yuan. Fairy Wei knew about Zhao Lianyun's intention. After all, even though Ma Hongyun died, his soul was still kept by Fang Yuan. Fairy Wei frowned. The true problem is still Fang Yuan himself. Ever since Fang Yuan broke out of the river of time's encirclement, he had vanished, no longer appearing in public. Fairy Wei would prefer that he went around scavenging for resources. At least in that case, he would leave behind many traces, and she would deduce many useful things, and even find a way to break his wisdom path defenses. In Fairy Wei's view, Fang Yuan was very strong in battle strength, but the more terrifying thing was his management skills. Every time he stayed secluded for a while, he would experience a huge rise in strength. His speed of progress was simply very shocking. This was the result of his skillful management. Because he had such a sturdy foundation, it could support his terrifying growth in battle strength. Right now, Spectral Soul is slowly losing his control. We are getting more and more information that is of high importance. In the River of Time, the Time Path Immortal Gu house has been repaired. We have 4 in total now. The earlier Time Path formation needs to be modified further. At the same time, we cannot let Fang Yuan live comfortably. I should contact Wu Yong. Some days later, intense winds blew. Fang Yuan pushed forward with his palm. The strong force of the killer move went into the Immortal Aperture's entrance and permeated Lu Lan Blessed Land. Hei Lu Lan's tribulation was destroyed instantly. Hei Lu Lan's eyes twitched slightly, but her expression was unchanging. She stood in her Immortal Aperture as she thanked Fang Yuan, who was outside. No need to thank me. Fang Yuan looked at Lu Lan Blessed Land. It was quite poor. It could not be compared with the sovereign Immortal Aperture. Even though Hei Lu Lan had high aptitude, she had never truly developed her Immortal Aperture properly. This was what Fang Yuan wanted. He could give Hei Lu Lan cultivation resources. She had to rely on him for this. It was a form of control over her. In fact, Ing Wu Xie, Bai Ning Bing, and the rest were all in similar situations. 1. Quickly leave. My wisdom path methods can only block them for some time. Moreover, each time, the tribulations will greatly influence my methods. Fang Yuan urged. Okay. Hei Lu Lan nodded. She did not dare to be careless, quickly storing her Immortal Aperture and entering the sovereign Immortal Aperture. Fang Yuan used fixed Immortal travel to leave immediately. Wu Yong and the rest who came at full speed failed to catch him. Damn it. He escaped again. This lingering aura. Someone underwent tribulation again. The southern border Gu Immortals had ugly expressions. Some were furious, some were solemn, while some were fearful. This is the 4th one. Evidently, Fang Yuan is helping his lackeys undergo tribulation to raise their cultivation levels. If this continues, the situation will not be good. Comment Wu Yong had a grim expression. A cold light flashed in his eyes as he said slowly. Fang Yuan has fixed Immortal travel. He can escape rapidly. We can only set up many beacon towers and work together in Treasure Yellow Heaven to restrict his businesses and reduce his profits. Eventually, This will become our advantage. Jade light flickered in Chi-Si Grotto-Heaven as Fang Yuan appeared out of nowhere. We are safe for now. They are starting to target my businesses in Treasure Yellow Heaven, Fang Yuan snickered. He did feel pressure, but because he had recently devoured the 5 Xiangs public Grotto-Heaven and Chi-Si Grotto-Heaven, he gained a vast amount of resources. Even if his businesses were suppressed, there was no issue. But this was obviously Heavenly Court and Southern Border working together. If he allowed them to continue, Fang Yuan would not be able to endure it. He had obtained a lot of resources from the Southern Border Gu immortal captives, but precisely because they knew about these resources, they could target these businesses efficiently. I need to think of a plan. Fang Yuan's gaze flickered with consideration. Eastern Sea. Swish, swish, swish. Waves crashed onto the rocks by the island shore, bursting into white bubbles upon impact. Wicked winds howled. The sky was dark. This uninhibited island was not eye-catching in the huge Eastern Sea, but it actually hid 4 Gu immortals. Ren Xiaoping, you are too much. Miao Mingshun shouted angrily with bloodshot eyes. He was injured, expressing intense anger and hatred in his eyes. He was a famous lone cultivator in Eastern Sea, having rank 7 cultivation level and cultivating space path. He had a method to increase the size of immortal apertures. He did that as a way of living, expanding the immortal apertures of many Eastern Sea Gu immortals. He was quite popular. Miao Mingshun was neither tall nor short, neither fat nor thin. In terms of appearance, he looked ordinary. Only his flat and wide nose left a heavy impression on others. In terms of appearance, he was unassuming. But he was an ambitious person, being very good at building relationships. He had a lot of charisma. 3 Eastern Sea lone immortals, Immortal Hua Dai, Feng Jiang, and Gu Yi all looked to Miao Mingshun as their leader. The 4 were a group of Gu immortals with common interests. But now, Gu Yi was unconscious. His body was covered in a poisonous purple color. He was in great danger. Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai, who were standing beside Miao Mingshun, were in bad states too. They had evidently gotten injured from a serious battle. Lord Miao Mingshun, what do we do? Gu Yi was hit by the ice poison starfish. We do not have the way to heal him. Immortal Hua Dai was very worried. Not long ago, the 4 of them had fallen for Ren Xiaoping's plot. Ren Xiaoping had rank 7 peak cultivation level and was an enslavement path Gu immortal. He wanted to assassinate Miao Mingshun using the ice poison starfish. But at the crucial moment, Gu Yi blocked this fatal attack from Miao Mingshun. Miao Mingshun reacted and quickly brought the unconscious Gu Yi, as well as Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai, out of the trap through a fierce battle. Feng Jiang's expression was cold as ice. The ice poison starfish might have a troublesome poison, but I've heard that Su Chun and Fairy Jiu can heal it. Su Chun was a member of the Super Force Su clan. He specialized in healing and was famous in Eastern Sea. He was quite a kind person. Meanwhile, Fairy Jiu was a lone cultivator. She was cold and aloof. The price was high if they wanted to get her help. Miao Mingshun shook his head. I am not going to turn to these 2. Su Chun is from Su clan. While Fairy Jiu has some relationship with Ren Xiaoping, others might not know, but I am certain of this. I am highly suspicious that Fairy Jiu might be a trap set by that old scoundrel Ren Xiaoping. Then, Immortal Hua Dai did not know what to say. Miao Mingshun smiled forcefully. Have you forgotten? Ice poison starfish's poison can be removed with underworld yellow water. Feng Jiang stared with wide eyes. Underworld yellow water is a rank 8 immortal material. Even in Eastern Sea, it is very rare. Lord, you have it? Miao Mingshun shook his head. Of course not. I am going to use the extreme time pole to exchange for it. Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai understood at once. Extreme time pole was a rank 8 time path immortal material. Miao Mingshun had obtained it long ago. He could not bear to sell it. Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai knew this. Immortal Hua Dai's expression changed. She said with pity, Extreme time pole is an extremely rare rank 8 time path immortal material. Why don't we use other rank 8 immortal materials to exchange for the underworld yellow water? Miao Mingshun shook his head again. Rank 8 immortal materials are usually exclusively traded with each other. If I use other things to request for the underworld yellow water, others will not want to exchange it for my immortal material. And even if someone wants my rank 8 immortal material, they might not have underworld yellow water. But now, you all know that Heavenly Court and Southern Border are trying to stop Fang Yuan from doing his business. They are also gathering Time Path immortal materials and buying them out. Time Path immortal materials are now very high in demand. The price is rising sharply. Heavenly Court has a deep foundation. They definitely have underworld yellow water. I will definitely get it if I offer the extreme time pole. Lord. Feng Jiang was hesitant. He remembered that Miao Mingshun had almost died when he obtained this extreme time pole. He paid a huge price. Miao Mingshun laughed loudly, patting Feng Jiang's shoulder. How can I let him die in front of me? So what if I have to give up the extreme time pole? Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai were very moved. They did not follow the wrong leader after all. As expected, the situation went as Miao Mingshun predicted. Once his extreme time pole appeared, Heavenly Court took notice and the two sides soon traded. Miao Mingshun obtained a huge amount of underworld yellow water. He used the underworld yellow water to cleanse Gue Qi Ye's body. He used just the right amount. After all, this water was also corrosive on an undefended Gu immortal body. After meticulously cleansing him, the ice poison starfish's poison was fully neutralized. Not long ago, Gue Qi Ye woke up and opened his eyes. After learning that Miao Mingshun had paid such a huge price to save him, he felt extremely moved. However, he was not an expressive person. He kept his gratitude inside him and said to Miao Mingshun, "Lord, that old scoundrel Ren Xiaoping suddenly attacked us. He must be after the blue dragon whale." One Miao Mingshun sighed. "I think so too." Ren Xiaoping had always wanted to work together and enter the blue dragon whale to excavate the hidden paradise Earth true inheritance. But his price is simply not sincere. This time, he actually attacked us. I was truly caught unguarded. What idea do you have, tell me? Gue Qi nodded. "Lord, you know the blue dragon whale's location. This secret has already been exposed. It is too hard to guard this secret anymore. We should invite people to explore the blue dragon whale instead. When we gain the inheritance inside and increase our strength, we can deal with that Ren Xiaoping. Otherwise, with our strength now, we cannot defeat that guy. He also has a bunch of lone immortals helping him. As a crafty person, once he senses something amiss, he might spread the news and lure more people to us." Miao Mingshun's gaze flickered. Instead of waiting for that to happen and letting Ren Xiaoping gather his people, we should seek reinforcements now. This idea is good. It is our only choice. It is a pity. If I had rank 8 cultivation level, we would be able to explore it ourselves. Gue Qi added, "Lord, we need to choose our reinforcements carefully." Miao Mingshun nodded. He looked at the three immortals, asking, "Of course I know. What recommendations do you have?" The three immortals gave their suggestions. Miao Mingshun nodded at times while shaking his head occasionally. He chose a few of them that were suitable and eliminated some more from among them for safety. The most important thing was dependability. But this way, they had few people. Even if they worked together, they could not break the first hurdle. They would not be able to enter the blue dragon whale's inner world. At this time, Immortal Hua Dai voiced, "I have a suggestion. Does Lord remember this person called Chuing?" "Chuing." Miao Mingshun's eyes shined. "Brilliant. This person has rank 7 cultivation level and cultivates transformation path. He even has grudges with Ren Xiaoping. But he is truly too secretive. I have not found any more information on him since then." Saying this, he showed hesitation again. Chapter 1649. Regret, Paradise Earth's True Inheritance. Within 5 Xiang's public Grotto-Heaven, Fang Yuan received Miao Mingshun's letter, inviting him to join the exploration of the blue dragon whale. A light of pondering flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes. Miao Mingshun had actually clashed with Ren Xiaoping. He decided to explore the blue dragon whale ahead of time. This was out of Fang Yuan's expectations. In the memories of the 500 years of his previous life, this was too early. Maybe it was because of the increasing influence of my rebirth. Miao Mingshun and Ren Xiaoping's conflict turned out earlier than expected. Maybe the 500 years of memories were tampered with to begin with. After all, Heaven's Will was lurking inside Spring Autumn Cicada. It could act very easily if it wanted to. There is another possibility. Heavenly Court plotted and deduced my relationship with Miao Mingshun, so they used this chance to deal with me. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan calmed his mind and closed his eyes, starting his deduction. A while later, he opened his eyes, gaining his conclusion. With all the clues that I have, there is little possibility that Heavenly Court planned this against me. It seems I have to go Eastern Sea now. Right now in the 5 regions, Northern Plains and Central Continent, had Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven. They were extremely dangerous for Fang Yuan. For the remaining 3 regions, Fang Yuan was most familiar with Southern Border, especially since he had stayed in Wu Clan for some time and had captured many Southern Border Gu immortals. He knew a lot of information about their super forces. There was another reason. Shadow Sect's headquarters were set in Southern Border. They had the most operations in Southern Border with many natural immortal formations set up in secret. These were all hidden and unexposed. With many of the above reasons, Fang Yuan chose to stay in Southern Border. Even when He Lu Lan and the rest underwent tribulation, they were in Southern Border. Even though the 5 regions had different heaven and earth chi, forcefully undergoing tribulation outside the home region would harm the immortal aperture. But Fang Yuan did not want them to develop their apertures well anyway. He took care of their cultivation resources. It gave him great control over them. During this period of time, Fang Yuan had already refined the many immortal Gu from Qi Si Grotto-Heaven. They were usable to him now. The resources in Qi Si Grotto-Heaven and the 5 Xiang's public Grotto-Heaven were also starting to be absorbed. The remaining rank 9 killer move Heaven form was very stubborn. It resisted Fang Yuan's refinement. But he was still making progress. In time, he would definitely be able to use it. Fang Yuan was troubled now because his businesses in Treasure Yellow Heaven were obstructed by Heavenly Court and Southern Border's righteous path. They succeeded in becoming an obstacle for his economic profits. Fang Yuan thought of many ways to compete with them, but the results were not good. Be it Central Continent's Heavenly Court or Southern Border's righteous path, they were rich and had deep foundations. Fang Yuan's capital could not match them. The easiest way to solve this problem was to engage in a monopoly business like Guts Gu. But that required countless Guts Gu. Fang Yuan lacked souls. Even though Dang Hun Mountain was repaired, the production could not be raised. His plan in Green Ghost Desert had fallen through. If he had succeeded, right now against Southern Border and Central Continent, he would not have any problems. Qing Chou had gone missing. While the rest of the Western Desert super forces were now finding trouble with Fang Clan, they had a hard time raising their statuses. Fang Yuan had thought of using Fang Clan, but he had reservations about this, because his Swan Bujin identity was already exposed by Heavenly Court. His decision to plan for Green Ghost Desert was correct in hindsight. It was a pity that the situation turned out quite different from his expected results. This way, Fang Yuan's income started to dwindle. And worse was that Central Continent's Heavenly Court was buying all the Time Path Immortal materials they could find. As long as there were Time Path Immortal materials, Heavenly Court would basically pay them whatever they wanted. During this time in Treasure Yellow Heaven, Time Path Immortal materials were extremely popular. This was problematic for Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's income had already fallen. He wanted to refine Time Path Immortal Gu to raise his battle strength in the River of Time. But now, Heavenly Court was oppressively stopping him. Heavenly Court had been created since the remote antiquity era. After countless years of accumulation, how could Fang Yuan contest them? Fang Yuan's improvement in Time Path was very marginal. While Heavenly Court obtained a lot of Time Path Immortal materials, they might even be able to refine a 5th Immortal Gu house. In this situation, Fang Yuan's hopes of obtaining Red Lotus True Inheritance were dwindling. I need a lot of Time Path Immortal materials to refine Time Path Immortal Gu. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was an Earth Path Venerable. The Paradise Earth True Inheritance inside the Blue Dragon Whale might not have many Time Path Immortal materials. But even so, I must go. This was an uncertainty. Nobody could say what he would gain. Even if there were no Time Path Immortal materials, the Paradise Earth True Inheritance was definitely going to have some good things. Southern Border's Rank 8 Gu Immortal Lu Weiyin is the current generation inheritor of Paradise Earth. If I can obtain this Paradise Earth True Inheritance, I might gain a way to deal with him. The more important thing is that according to my memories, the Blue Dragon Whale seems to contain the Rank 8 Immortal Gu Regret. In my previous life, Miao Mingshun explored many times and did not obtain Paradise Earth's True Inheritance, but he still gained a lot. Because there were many participating Gu Immortals, rumors of Immortal Gu Regret spread out. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable used Immortal Gu Regret as the core to create an immortal killer move famous throughout history, Regret and Repent. Using this move, he caused many demonic Path Gu Immortals to change sides and realize their mistakes. They turned from evil to kind. This move had incredible achievements. Immortal Gu Regret was naturally a Wisdom Path Immortal Gu. Wisdom Path had 3 elements of thoughts, wills, and emotions. Immortal Gu Regret was part of the emotion branch. Because future Gu Immortals created a small path known as Emotion Path, Immortal Gu Regret was also part of Emotion Path. In the long history of humanity, Immortal Gu Regret had appeared many times, sometimes rank 6 or rank 7, held in the hands of Gu Immortals of the 5 regions. When it went into Red Lotus Demon Venerable's hands, it seemed to have been refined to rank 8 for the first time. Afterwards, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable also obtained rank 8 Immortal Gu Regret. Fang Yuan had investigated deeply into Immortal Gu Regret, because he wanted to recreate Regret Pool. Speaking of which, other than tributaries of the River of Time, Immortal Gu Regret was the core of Immortal Gu House Regret Pool. But unfortunately, back then in Eastern Sea, the Regret Pool left behind was half complete. It did not have Immortal Gu Regret. If this Paradise Earth True Inheritance has rank 8 Immortal Gu Regret, with this Gu, I will be able to replicate a portion of Regret Pool's power. It will help in refining Gu. This was what moved Fang Yuan the most. In fact, Regret Pool was part of Fang Yuan's plans. He had extorted Southern Border's righteous path and painstakingly created the incomplete Immortal Gu House. He had some anticipation towards this. Unfortunately, the incomplete Immortal Gu House was destroyed in the River of Time. Fang Yuan could not retrieve any of the Gu worms. Several days passed in an instant. Eastern Sea. Miao Mingshun looked around. he was surrounded by 8 Gu immortals. Of course, Fang Yuan was among them. Everyone, Miao Mingshun said solemnly. I have already explained the details of this expedition. I gave you all some time to consider. This is my first trip too. The risks are unknown. We might possibly die. If anyone wants to give up now, you can leave. I will definitely not stop anyone. I understand from the bottom of my heart. Sea winds roared by everyone's ears. Miao Mingshun looked around again. Nobody moved. Paradise Earth's true inheritance was too valuable. Even though there were few Earth Path Gu immortals in Eastern Sea, with only one Earth Path Gu immortal among everyone here, nobody wanted to give up. Humans die for wealth and birds die for food. Furthermore, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was the kindest venerable in history. He had never harmed a single person's life. His immortal inheritances were also known to be safe. If anyone gave up this chance, they would be a fool. All right, since everyone wants to join, let's make the alliance agreement. Miao Mingshun was very excited. For this trip, he had made ample preparations. Zheng Luozi, please go ahead. Miao Mingshun cupped his fists as he spoke. Zheng Luozi stepped forward. He wore a white robe and had a skinny face. He had convex cheekbones and his eye bags were deep. Bright light shined in his eyes. He cultivated information path and was rank 7. Miao Mingshun had talked to him long ago. He immediately said now. This is the alliance agreement that we are going to set. Everyone, take a look. Zheng Luozi said that as many Gu immortals shook, looking slightly surprised. It turned out that the alliance agreement's information appeared in their minds at the same time. Zheng Luozi's action was a show of strength, affirming his superior status among the group. This Paradise Earth True Inheritance expedition had just started, but the Gu immortals were already starting to compete between one another in the dark. Chapter 1650. Chu Ying's death. Miao Mingshun's expression did not change, but his eyes were carefully observing. Zheng Luozi's action was part of his arrangements. He wanted to collect more valuable information. Zheng Luozi's information path attainment was impressive even to Miao Mingshun. With Zheng Luozi's move, Miao Mingshun observed everyone and gained quite some insight. We have 8 people, other than myself, Gui Qiyi, Feng Jiang, and Immortal Hua Dai. There are also Zheng Luozi, Tu Tua, Tong Hua, and Chuing. Other than Zheng Luozi and Miao Mingshun, Tong Hua and Tu Tua were also expressionless. The rest had some sort of change in their expression at least. Miao Mingshun trusted Gui Qiyi, Feng Jiang, and Immortal Hua Dai the most, but in this trip, he did not inform them about this, so their reactions were genuine. Miao Mingshun had lots of interaction with Zheng Luozi, Tu Tua, and Tong Hua. He knew about their background. They were all rank 7 experts that were rare in Eastern Sea. In Eastern Sea, there was the highest number of lone immortals who were superior to those of other regions, because Eastern Sea was the most affluent in resources. Miao Mingshun's concern was Chuing. He had met this secluded cultivator several times. He left a deep impression on Miao Mingshun. The truth was, Miao Mingshun did not want to invite Chuing. But because Chu Ying and Ren Xiaoping had a conflict long ago, because he saved the lives of Feng Jiang and Hua Dai, and most importantly, because he seemed to have an abundant amount of lifespan Gu, all these reasons made Miao Mingshun inclined to invite Chuing for this trip. He was the only one who knew the location of the blue dragon whale. Therefore, all of the people he invited owed him a favor. Miao Mingshun wanted to cooperate more deeply with Fang Yuan. Forget the rest. Just the amount of lifespan Gu that Fang Yuan had was extremely alluring to Miao Mingshun. Zheng Luozi's action made Chu Ying's expression change too. As for Tu Tua and Tong Hua, it was unsure whether they were unaffected or pretending to put up a front. Miao Mingshun looked at everyone as he laughed heartily. Zheng Luozi, you have good methods. Tu Tua snorted while Tong Hua gave Zheng Luozi a cold stare. Fang Yuan looked at Zheng Luozi with a surprised expression, but he was laughing coldly inside. Zheng Luozi's gaze swept past Chu Ying. Before meeting with Tu Tua and Tong Hua's gazes, he laughed heartily as he tossed out some information path Mortal Gu. The information path Mortal Gu recorded the fine details of the alliance agreement. After inspecting them, the immortals nodded their heads in agreement, while also suggesting some changes. Of course, these changes were small and negligible. Miao Mingshun took charge as the leader, and after coming to an agreement, they signed it using Zheng Luozi's methods. Once the alliance agreement was made, everyone laughed as the atmosphere became less tense. It is time, let's go. Miao Mingshun moved at lightning speed as the immortals followed him. Miao Mingshun flew in the sky for a while before diving into the sea. We can't hide in the sky. It is easy to find us. If Ren Xiaoping learns of this expedition, he would not wait aimlessly. If we enter the sea, that means we are going to use the undercurrent. Fang Yuan speculated inwardly. As expected, after a while, Miao Mingshun led everyone to the bottom of the sea. They saw a huge python-like undercurrent crossing the trenches in the sea. Miao Mingshun's speed gradually slowed down until he arrived before the undercurrent. Miao Mingshun looked at Zheng Luozi. Before entering the undercurrent, for our safety and to ensure we will not be separated, Zheng Luozi, I would like you to use that immortal killer move to mark us and allow us to sense each other's location. This was another way to control them. But Miao Mingshun did not say it before the alliance agreement. He had said it before entering the undercurrent. Nobody could rebuke his sensible words. Miao Mingshun, are you sure? Zheng Luozi pretended to hesitate. Miao Mingshun smiled. We have already made the agreement. We need to work together sincerely. How can we not trust each other when exploring Paradise Earth's true inheritance? He said in a serious tone, Tu Tu Tua, Tong Hua, and the rest nodded in agreement without objection. Zheng Luozi looked around. Then everyone, don't be nervous or defensive. My move has no offensive capability. Fang Yuan mentally rolled his eyes as he said, Go ahead and do it. Let me go first. Feng Jiang stepped forward at once. Zheng Luozi first used the Immortal killer move on Feng Jiang before the rest took turns. After a while, all of the Immortals were affected by the Information Path killer move. They could sense each other's locations. It is fine now. Please follow me. The undercurrents are extremely fast. If you are slow by a step, you will be thrown far behind. Miao Mingshun said as he entered the undercurrent. Fang Yuan and the rest followed after him rapidly. Eastern Sea's deep-sea undercurrents did not have fixed paths. They were always changing and had various lengths. It was a display of the great power of nature. Moving along the undercurrent, the Immortals were faster than some movement Immortal killer moves, and most importantly, they saved a lot of energy, only having to put up defenses. If there were Water Path Gu Immortals who had methods to move rapidly in the undercurrents, they could even defend themselves while fighting enemies here. Fang Yuan was towards the rear of the group. He found that this group's formation was quite specific. For example, Immortal Hua Dai was right beside him, talking to him constantly. Fang Yuan entertained her on the surface while secretly inspecting his information path Dao marks. After a while, Fang Yuan relaxed. These information path Dao marks were not hard to get rid of. Fang Yuan had lots of methods. He even had immortal killer moves like self-cleansing to resist these information path restrictions. But now is not the time. Everyone, we are about to go out. Follow me. Ahead, Miao Mingshun suddenly spoke. After several breaths, he left the undercurrent. The rest followed. Nobody was left behind. After leaving, Fang Yuan found that he was in an ordinary nameless sea area. In the following journey, the Immortals used several undercurrents to travel. If there were no undercurrents, they would travel under the sea as well, being extremely low profile. Even if they met desolate beasts or ancient desolate beasts, they avoided them. If they saw any resources, they would ignore them. After several days of traveling, the group became more cohesive. Miao Mingshun was very skillful in human interaction. He solidified his position as the leader. He was smiling when he suddenly froze, saying, We are near. The Immortals were energized. Fang Yuan felt a little suspicious. He had used several investigative killer moves, but could not sense anything. He could not see what method Miao Mingshun had used, or why he was so confident. The blue dragon whale's existence was known to everyone, but its exact location was a mystery. Miao Mingshun must have a unique method to know its location. Fang Yuan had rank 8 cultivation level with immense battle strength. It was possible to kill Miao Mingshun and search his soul. But there were risks involved. Gu Immortals had all sorts of mysterious methods. If he possessed some strange abilities, there might be mishaps occurring. Thus, Fang Yuan continued to lurk. It would not be too late if he attacked after getting into the blue dragon whale. As they got closer, the Immortals started to sense the peculiarity. The seawater became more turbulent ahead. If earlier was a drizzle, it was a storm now. The obstruction was far greater. Desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts increased in numbers. They could not help themselves in this huge storm. Fang Yuan and the rest had to fight while moving, slaughtering a bunch of desolate beasts before they carved out a bloody path to move on. At this time, everyone's strength was displayed. Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai had the lowest battle strength. They were soon the ones who needed protection. Miao Mingshun was leading the group as the vanguard, facing the greatest pressure. Behind him were Tong Hua and Zheng Luozi. Tu Tu Tua was an Earth Path Gu Immortal. His battle strength was greatly restricted in this place. Next was Fang Yuan. He had already turned into a tiny seahorse that was palm-sized. He moved like lightning speed. His strength was only mid-tier in the group. It was nothing impressive. The journey ahead was getting tougher. From the groups of beasts, figures of immemorial desolate beasts started to appear. The Immortals could no longer move forward so casually. The strongest Miao Mingshun was merely rank 7. Following Miao Mingshun, they flew out of the sea, arriving in the sky. Rumble. Intense tornadoes surged in the sky. Lightning flashed continuously as thunder rumbled. Dark clouds extended to the horizons. Waves surged from the sea. They were thousands of feet tall. The situation was just as dangerous as underwater. Countless flying birds and eagles fought intensely amidst the thunder and lightning. Blue charm lightning shadows flickered in the dark clouds. They were hunted down by immemorial desolate beast Thunder Phoenix. Seeing the tail of the Thunder Phoenix flash by, Miao Mingshun and the rest breathed in deeply in shock. "Quick, follow me," Miao Mingshun transmitted. His body was covered in sweat. He flew forward rapidly. The Gu Immortals all had their hidden methods, but this situation was too chaotic. The safest solution was to get away from this place as quickly as possible. The Thunder Phoenix screeched as it discovered Fang Yuan and the rest, diving down. The seawater erupted as an immemorial octopus large as a mountain moved its countless tentacles, treating Miao Mingshun and the rest as prey for food. Damn it, damn it. Miao Mingshun's expression was distorted. He almost broke his teeth from gritting too hard. Even before meeting the blue dragon whale, they were already in a desperate situation. The aura of death was close. Split up and run. After hesitating for a while, Miao Mingshun screamed. The Gu Immortals quickly split up and ran. Crack. The Thunder Phoenix was extremely fast, arriving before Fang Yuan in the blink of an eye. Chewing. Immortal Hua Dai was dragged along by Gue Chi Yi. Upon seeing this, she screamed in fear. "Save me," Fang Yuan shouted with a look of despair on his face. Next, the Thunder Phoenix arrived in a flash, burning him to a crisp by lightning as he died on the spot. Chewing. Seeing this, the remaining 7 immortals were shocked. They escaped in an even greater panic.